reports on his work. A group of brigade commanders stood on both sides of the street, reporting to Lu Yuan on horseback. Lu Yuan took a quick look around and felt as refreshed as if he had taken a sip of ice lay-by in the dog days of summer. The prisoners had been stripped of their armor and were only wearing underpants, shivering in the cold wind. Kneeling at the front were the stripped generals Li Quniong, Chen Yuan and others. Lu Yuan, you bastard, a gentleman can be killed but not humiliated. Kill me if you have the guts. Li Quniong's eyes were full of anger when he saw Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan, what kind of heroism is there in a sneak attack? If you have the guts, just attack the city openly, Chen Yuan cursed. And the generals started cursing. Emmet, you dare to scold the master. Hawkeye took the bloody wolf-tooth club and walked forward in 3 or 2 steps, hitting every one of them without making a sound. Bang bang bang. With just a few hits, the heads of several generals exploded, and red and white blood splattered all over the ground. The warm blood splattered all over Chen Yuan and the other man's faces, shocking the others so much that they dared not say a word. Seeing that Hawkeye was about to take action, Lu Yuan spoke out to stop him, and Hawkeye stopped reluctantly. Lu Yuan got off his horse, walked up to the 2 men, took out his cigarettes, stuffed them into Li Quniong and Chen Yuan's mouths, and lit them for them before saying, "Warfare is a game of deception only a fool would try to fight head-on." Hearing this, the anger in Li Quniong's eyes quickly dissipated. Yes, he has fought in wars all his life. How could he not know the essence of marching and fighting big battles? I underestimated my opponent, Lu Yuan. I have never admired anyone before, but you are one of them. Li Quniong said, since you won, can I ask you a question? Explain. Is your man really in heaven? Lu Yuan held the cigarette, exhaled the smoke, and nodded. After getting a positive answer, Li Quniong showed a half-crying, half-smiling expression. No wonder Biaoliang County has been able to grow and develop in just a few years. Chen Yuan gritted his teeth and said, Lu Yuan, even if you break through the Great Xia Pass, it doesn't mean you are invincible. The Great Xia Army has millions of troops and hundreds of thousands of cavalry. If the imperial court takes real action, you will definitely not end well. When two people meet on a narrow road, the bravest will win. What's the point of barking when you lose? Lu Yuan dusted off his cigarette ash, then stood up and said to the captives, do you want to survive? I'll give you a chance. Each of you will give them a knife, and I'll let you live. Lu Yuan, you are so despicable. Chen Yuan's eyes were red as he looked at the soldiers. Don't be fooled by him. I, Lu Yuan, am not a bloodthirsty person. What I admire most are the soldiers who defend their country. But we are enemies, not friends. I also want to take you into my trap. But if I let you go, who knows if you will stab me in the back. You also know what kind of life the people of Biaoliang live. As long as you are willing to join Biaoliang, I can promise that you can live the same life as them. Li Quniong stared straight at Lu Yuan at this moment. The young man in front of him made him extremely frightened. This young man deserves the title of hero. He couldn't help but ask, Lu Yuan, what exactly do you want to do? Do you really want to fight to the death with me? Daixie? Chapter 16 Sign, are kings, princes, generals, and ministers of different species. Haven't you seen what I want to do? Lu Yuan said calmly. You are my spoils of war, and Daixie Pass is also my spoils of war. Lu Yuan, how dare you? Chen Yuan said with a ferocious look on his face. Do you know what the consequences will be if you take away Daixie Pass? Lu Yuan scratched his ears and said, are you annoying? Why didn't you think about the consequences when you came to cause trouble for Biaoliang Prefecture? I, Lu Yuan, am a businessman and I always value harmony. It's you who are taking advantage of me and think I'm easy to bully. Now that you can't win the fight, you're just going to resort to verbal attacks, right? I really told you, not only Daixie Pass, I also want Dajing Pass. How much money can this save? All we need to do is renovate the old city, and then there will be 3 strong passes that can be used for attack or defense, and they can also protect Biaoliang Prefecture. Lu Yuan felt safe just thinking about it. Is this what Da Qian meant? Li Quniong frowned. As far as I know, Da Qian is in dire straits right now. Do you still have the guts to provoke Daixie? I am me. Da Qian is Da Qian. Don't mix them up, Lu Yuan said. Oh Li, I think you have some ability. How about you come to my account and be a flute boy? No, how about a veteran commander? Li Quniong closed his eyes. Go ahead, Li Quniong, there is no surrender, only death in battle. Lu Yuan liked this kind of tough guy, so he had the 2 guys pulled down, and then looked at the hesitant Daixie soldiers and said, everyone, if you enter my Biaoliang Prefecture, you don't have to pay taxes or perform co-RV labor. You can share the land equally, everyone can have food. And everyone can have a new house and new clothes. All of you descendants will have the opportunity to study, and after you finish your studies, you will all have a future. You are military households who have guarded the border for generations, and you have never been eligible for any of the court's benefits. In this world, when there is danger, it is the world of the common people. But in times of peace, you have no share of any of the benefits. Why? Li Yuan's words why were like the sound of a huge bell ringing in their ears, making everyone look surprised. Just because they are born nobles, we are born inferiors? Li Yuan looked at all the captives, clenched his fists and raised them high, saying loudly, Li Yuan, never believe in this. Are kings, princes, generals and ministers of different species. Wow! This sentence was like a bomb, exploding in the crowd and sweeping everyone. The soldiers' breathing became rapid. Yes, why do those officials enjoy a good life while these military households have to guard the border for generations? Didn't their ancestors shed blood? Why should I work so hard but have no way out in my life? Why should my descendants only be soldiers for their whole lives? Why? Are you born bastards? Are you born inferior to others? How long will you remain numb? Think about your wives and children. It's been a long time since you bought them new clothes. Think about yourselves. How long has it been since you had a piece of meat or a bowl of wine? Think about how long it has been since your military pay was paid. If you would rather be humble and sink into the dirt, and be a lowly creature that everyone can step on, then just pretend that I, Li Yuan, never said such a thing today. From now on, you will work until you die in Biayang County. If you want to be a superior person, want your family to have good food and drink, and want to create a way out for your descendants, let me see your attitude. Li Yuan jumped on his horse, threw a knife on the ground, and stopped talking. All the Biaoyang guards looked at him in awe. They couldn't help but straighten their backs. Once upon a time, they also humbled themselves to the ground. They live from day to day, have no food to eat, are displaced, and their lives are worthless. It was the master who gave them new life, gave them hope, and gave them a future. The entire Diaxia Pass was indescribably quiet. The relatives of the military households were crying there. They all wore coarse linen clothes and had rough skin, like a desert. Their faces were pale, and the children in their arms were timid and dared not move. That numb heart began to beat at this moment. Fuck the immortal, I won't work for Diaxia anymore. A captive stood up in the crowd. I want to drink big bowls of wine, eat big mouthfuls of meat, give my parents, wife and children delicious food and spicy drinks, and let them wear the best clothes. The man walked past many captives and came to Li Yuan. Master Lu, I just want to ask you one question. If I join you, can I eat meat and drink wine with big mouthfuls? If you can't do it, I'll chop off your head and let you kick it like a ball, Li Yuan said. I understand. The man picked up the knife on the ground and walked directly to a man. Deputy General Shu, you insulted my wife, beat my parents, and kicked my child today. I am here to take revenge. Deputy General Shu's face was filled with fear. No, if you kill me, your entire clan will be killed. Before he could finish his words, the sharp knife had already pierced his heart. The man was still not satisfied, so he stabbed dozens of times before stopping. Then suddenly stuck the knife into the ground. Then he roared loudly, Are kings, princes, generals and ministers of different races? At that moment, he felt indescribably refreshed. The pain of being oppressed for many years was finally released. What's your name? Li Yuan asked. I'm Diergo Yu. Please take me in. Sir, Diergo Yu knelt on the ground, tears streaming down his face. Take it in, give him clothes, give him food, bring his family out, and bring them to live and settle in Biaoyang Prefecture, Li Yuan said. Diergo Yu kept kowtowed. Thank you, master. Who doesn't know that Biaoyang Prefecture is like a paradise on earth? I admire you when the time comes. Report to the military headquarters. Li Yuan threw a bottle of liquor from his waist to him. Take a sip to get rid of the cold. Diergo Yu carefully unscrewed the lid and took a big gulp. The spicy liquor flowed down his throat into his stomach, and he couldn't help but say, Good wine, refreshing. Thank you, master, for the wine. When the people around saw this scene, they also became eager to take action. Soon, more and more people stood up and said, I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck Diaxia, fuck the military households. I want to be the best. I want my family to live in a new house, wear new clothes, and eat meat. Are kings, princes, generals, and ministers of different species. At that moment, everyone around stood up as if they were bewitched. They swarmed forward, picked up the knives on the ground, and stabbed the hundreds of generals in front of them into pieces. Chen Yuan shouted loudly at the side, but was powerless to save the situation. Li Quniang closed his eyes in despair. What a noble general, Lu Yuan. Oh Li Yuan, you are the biggest enemy of Diaxia. With just a few words from him, all the soldiers and civilians of Diaxia Pass were captured without bloodshed. How many people in the world have such ability as him? He looked at the angry Diaxia Guan soldiers. If they had not been taken away, he would probably have been one of the pair of rotten meats at this moment. Chapter 70 Triumph. Li Yuan looked at these Diaxia soldiers at this moment. They seemed to have been baptized. Unlike the barbarians, these people have been military households for generations and are the best source of soldiers. It only takes a period of training, and they will become elite soldiers. Taishan County and Diaxia Pass both need garrisons. Therefore, conscription can be started. Lu Yuan said, all brigade commanders, come out and recruit soldiers on the spot. The minimum number for each corps is 3,000 and the maximum number is 10,000. You guys decide for yourself. As soon as these words came out, everyone was all smiling. Oh my god, the overwhelming wealth is finally here. Wang Dabiao hurriedly shouted, join my infantry battalion. You will get 3 taels of silver per month. Not only will you be arranged a new house, but you will also get 10 kilograms of meat coupons, 50 kilograms of rice coupons, 3 taels of tea coupons and a bicycle. That's nothing. Join my cavalry battalion. You will get 5 taels of silver per month, a new house, 15 katais of meat coupons, and 70 katais of rice coupons every month. Ji Ian Shu, you are going too far. Ji Ian Shu, I know your cavalry brigade has money, so you should give your brothers some soup. All the brigade commanders started cursing. Ji Ermao said complacently, I have money, I am arrogant. When have these Diaxia soldiers ever seen such a scene? Such a high moon, rice flour, oil, bicycles. Everyone was so excited that they rushed over to respond to the call. Chen Yuan hung his head and said, it's over. Completely over. Li Qunian closed his eyes in despair. Li Yuan's ability to manipulate people's hearts is too powerful. Li Yuan also nodded in satisfaction. But why am I becoming more and more like a rebel leader? At this moment, Xia Hongmei stepped forward and said, Commander, the wounded have been properly treated, and the seriously injured have all been transported back to the mansion. Thank you for your hard work. Li Yuan nodded. And then asked people to repair the damaged city gate and collect all the remaining food in Diaxia Pass. More than 70 of the military rations were burned, and the remaining food was only enough to feed these people for 3 or 4 months. Most of those weapons are old, but they can be melted down. There are also various types of materials that are included in the statistics. Anyway, this time, they sent it. Commander, although we have captured Diaxia Pass, how do we arrange these people? Wang Dabiao asked. New recruits will be placed among the veterans and will be transformed for 3 months. If they fail the transformation, they will be eliminated directly. For those who would rather die than surrender, let them build the city, and it would be better to let the people participate in it in this way. They will cherish the hard-earned peace more. The existing food will be distributed according to the monthly schedule you promised. Send 10,000 men to guard Diaxia Pass. The victims will be arriving soon. I will go and take charge. What about Da Jingwan? Even if they have 10 courage S, I still won't dare to cause trouble. Let S first take over Diaxia Pass and build the city wall of Taishan County. With these 3 cities, we are already invincible. Li Yuan was also very high-spirited this time. The army was expanded to 100,000. With these people, he was not afraid of anyone. At this point, Li Yuan added, count all the contributions clearly, and reward them according to their merits. When we return, the meeting is adjourned. After everyone left, Li Yuan breathed a sigh of relief. He hadn't slept for a whole day and night. At this moment, he felt sleepy and his eyelids were drooping. After saying something to Honggu, he leaned back in the chair and fell asleep, almost within a cup of tea. A deafening shout came from the chair. Honggu covered him with her cloak and looked at the man in front of her with heartache. Only she knew how much pressure Li Yuan was under. As arrogant as he is during negotiations, he works as hard behind the scenes. Biao Yang's trump cards were all accumulated by him with great effort. If not, how could we break through the Diaxia Pass relying on these people? She carefully protected Lu Yuan's head until dawn. The next day, Li Yuan left behind 10,000 defenders and left with his army. At this time, the news of the defeat of Diaxia Pass had spread in Biaoyang Prefecture. The people of Biaoyang Prefecture were extremely excited. That was the #1 country in the world, Daxia. And hundreds of thousands of troops were captured by them. Who dares to imagine? The people celebrated and told each other the news. Yesin couldn't believe it and said, no way, they took Diaxia Pass in one night. Is that true? Wu Sun said helplessly. There is no need to lie. With the strength of Biaoyang County, it is not impossible to blow down the city wall with that gunpowder. The Great Xia Pass, which stood for 200 years, has changed hands today. The desire for revenge in their hearts is becoming weaker and weaker. To be precise, it is fear. 30,000 guards are unstoppable. What if it's 100,000? Wouldn't that mean you are invincible? If the people from the main vein come over, can they defeat the enemy? They have lost confidence. Even if they come, will they, to useless people, be reused? Just when they were daydreaming, Master Cao asked everyone to go out and welcome the return of the master. Almost everyone in Biaoyang Prefecture was mobilized. Li Yuan escorted a small number of prisoners into the city, with high-spirited soldiers behind him. They sang loudly, "We, soldiers, what's the difference? A loud singing made the people around them sing along subconsciously. It's different, but it's actually the same. Li Yuan did not walk in the front, but let the soldiers who fought bravely walk in the front to accept the cheers and encouragement from the people. Inside the prison car were Chen Yuan and Li Yunian. Unexpectedly, they entered Bai Liang twice in 3 days. They leaned on the railings like lost dogs, watching the people singing military songs with the soldiers, and couldn't help but think of a saying: the military and the people are one family. And you see such a scene in Diaxia? While Li Yunian was stunned, they began to praise Li Yuan again. The moment Li Yuan showed up, the whole city, young and old, men, women, and children, were excited. Long live the master! Master! You have worked hard. Li Yuan also waved to them happily. After the parade, Master Cao also went to deal with the aftermath. As Li Yuan's deputy, he was both a master and the director of the logistics department. He was the most tired after every battle. Brother Li Yuan, Aninger will take off your armor for you. Xi Yining, wearing JK, ran over and skipped. Aninger wishes brother Li Yuan a triumphant return. Wu Sun and Yesun also knelt on the ground. Your servant respectfully welcomes the master back. Li Yuan opened his arms and let Xi Yining serve him. Li Wuyu knelt on the ground with tears in his eyes. Lu Lang, King Jiangxie is Wuyu's third great uncle. He is old. And you let him go for my sake? Li Yuan said with a smile. You don't have that much face. Li Wuyu was heartbroken. And how can Lu Lang let his third great uncle go? It's impossible to let him go unless he works for me. Li Yuan said calmly. I don't have the habit of letting tigers go back to the mountains. It's not that Li Yuan must kill this old man. If Li Yunian was killed, Diaxia would fight to the death. It's not that he is afraid of Diaxia, but he doesn't want to waste time on endless war. Biaoyang Prefecture is far from invincible and still needs more time to develop. If the old man surrendered, things would be different and a lot of trouble could be saved. Li Wuyu bit her lip and said, how about I help you convince your third uncle? Chapter 71 Persuasion. It's up to you, Li Yuan said and ignored him. Li Wuyu knelt there with a sad face. Even his third uncle had lost. Who else in the world could stop Biaoyang? If I had known this would happen, I would never have threatened Li Yuan at all. She pulled herself together and found the empress in Li Yunian. Third uncle, Li Yunian, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, heard the voice and opened his eyes. He was also surprised when he saw the girl wearing rabbit ears in front of him. Princess, you were also captured? No, I'm here to see you. Li Wuyu shook his head. Li Yunian breathed a sigh of relief, but when he saw Li Wuyu wearing such clothes, he couldn't help sighing. Diaxia is a civilized country, and not to the point of being so immoral. Princess, I am incompetent and cannot save you from danger. I don't blame you. Li Wuyu sighed. I came here this time to persuade my third uncle to surrender. Li Yunian was stunned. Princess, you are confused. I'm not confused. If you continue to resist, you will lose your life in vain. It's better to pretend to surrender first. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Li Yunian felt that Li Wuyu had been brainwashed by Li Yuan. Otherwise, how could he say such crazy things? Third uncle, don't get excited. Listen to me first. Li Wuyu said, Biaoyang is already a big deal. It is powerful, it has population and territory. It has it all. But I know Li Yuan quite well. As long as we don't provoke him, he will not continue to attack. Diaxia has been planted, but Dajing has not moved yet. Li Yuan is vindictive and it is only a matter of time before he attacks Dajing. As long as the third uncle surrenders, we can take the opportunity to attack Dajing, and use Biaoyang's strength to wear down Dajing. We may be able to cooperate in the future and get rid of Dajing together. Moreover, the greater your contribution, the more influence I will have in front of Lu Yuan. Although he has a wife and daughter, he has no children. Such a large Biaoyang must have an heir. I have confidence in myself. In time, as long as I can conceive Lu Yuan's child, Biaoyang will be mine. Li Yunian fell into deep thought. But if I surrender, the court. Today, Li Yuan was able to take over Diaxia Pass, and he will dare to attack the interior of the pass tomorrow if we continue to allow the relationship between the two sides to deteriorate. Is this what third uncle wants to see? Even an army of 300,000 cannot defeat Biaoyang. Does that mean my father wants to mobilize the entire country to attack? If it succeeds, it's fine. If it fails, the consequences will be disastrous. Hey, the people from Lu Yuan can fly. Li Yunian smiled bitterly and said, well, if I don't figure out how they flew up there, I will die with regret. Let alone an army of 300,000, even an army of 500. Zero would probably fail. Li Wuyu frowned. What can fly? Li Yunian gave a general description of the course of the war, which made Li Wuyu stunned. Can someone really fly? It's absolutely true. Otherwise, Li Yuan wouldn't be able to break the city so easily. Li Yunian recalled that night and still felt scared. Well, I will betray my master today and bear all the infamy. Did the third uncle agree? Or the princess? And for Diaxia, I am willing to give everything, said Li Quniang. I'm sorry for putting you through this. Li Wuyu heaved a sigh of relief. What about General Chen? The old minister will persuade him to surrender. Third uncle is so kind. Li Wuyu bowed deeply. I am grateful to you. Li Quniang didn't dare to stand it and quickly moved aside. This old man was really convinced by you. Li Yuan looked at Li Wuyu curiously. How did you convince him? I said you will marry me, and I will give birth to a son for you, and let him stay to help me cooperate with Diaxia and eliminate Dajing. Li Wuyu said. You, Li Yuan gave a thumbs up, you really went all out to seduce me. Lu Lang, I'm already like this, who do you think will dare to want me after I go back? Li Wuyu knelt in front of Lu Yuan, tapping his legs and said, I do have my own selfish desires, but who dares to say I don't? As long as I don't harm Bai Liang's interests. Isn't that enough? Moreover, if you marry me, I will be devoted to you. I don't like to mix feelings and interests. Li Wuyu chuckled. I was born in the Great Texia Palace, and I knew from birth that there is no love without reason in this world. It's like parents' love is selfless, but you try to understand what's happening if you don't provide for them in their old age. Your brother is a good person, try asking him to borrow some money. Your wife is a good person, but try being mean to her family. You are very nice to the child, but the child is indifferent to you. Li Yuan sighed. He had to admit that what this woman said was very realistic. I dare not touch you. I'm afraid that one day, you and your son will pull out my trachea, Lu Yuan said. Although he didn't know what removing the trachea meant, Li Wuyu still guessed a little. Would it be that Xiao Ji and Jia's child will not survive? Li Yuan was a little annoyed. It's not your turn to interfere in what's going on between me and her. I am indeed not qualified. But what I want to tell Lu Lang is that feelings and interests are not in conflict. Li Wuyu said this and stopped talking. Li Yuan smoked a few cigarettes in a row, and when he saw Honggu holding a saber beside him, he suddenly understood. I have lived in poverty for 5 years, and have been a coward for 5 years, just to swallow my anger? Marriage is good, but what I want is to be happy and to have my thoughts clear. There are so many people who believe in me, love me, and are willing to give everything for me. Why shouldn't I find someone who believes in me as much as his life? Li Yuan laughed. When I started to plan, I fell into your trap. Li Wuyu, you not only have big breasts but also a smart mind. Li Wuyu's face turned slightly pale. Li Yuan stood up and said to her, even if I want to take a concubine, there is no place for you. If you are willing to be a bed warmer, I am willing to support you. You can refuse, but from now on, you won't even be able to be a bed warmer. Li Wuyu's thoughts were seen through and she pursed her lips. This man was really too difficult to deal with. Restraint, forbearance, rationality, intelligence, it's really perfect. I'm willing to be a bed warmer, Li Wuyu said again. I didn't force you, did I? Li Wuyu shook his head. No, I did everything voluntarily. You are a ruthless person. Li Yuan gave a thumbs up again. You will do anything to achieve your goal. Are you scared, Lu Lang? Li Wuyu smiled charmingly, and the rabbit tears on her head trembled, which made Li Yuan's heart tremble. Damn, I was laughed at by a woman. He is afraid of nothing. Honggu, go release Li Quniang and Chen Yuan, and let them learn from the new recruits for 3 months. Honggu didn't say much and turned and left. Only Li Yuan and the other person were left in the room. Looking at Li Wuyu's flaming red lips, a strange look flashed in Lu Yuan's eyes. Chapter 72, Relatives Meet. Li Wuyu left Li Yuan's study with a red face. It's just that man is too unkind to women. Is it cheat? She is the princess of Diaxia. But what about the princess? A phoenix in trouble is no better than a chicken. How could she survive if she didn't humble herself? Besides, it is not shameful to submit to a man like Lu Yuan. At the same time, at the border of Zongshu, inside the carriage, Lu Lingzhi looked at the bodies lying on the roadside. Her pretty face turned pale with fear, and she could not help but lean on her mother's shoulder. I didn't expect that the disaster outside the capital would be so serious. These people are so pitiful. Suexi held her daughter in her arms and felt uncomfortable. Lu Yang said angrily, what are those people in the court doing? Are they blind? It won't be long before disaster sweeps the world and the people will have no place to live in this world. Only Biaoyang County is a paradise, Liu Su said. Sister Liu Su, is Biaoyang really as good as you said? These days, Lu Lingzhi has been hearing Liu Su talk about how good Biaoyang is, but in her impression, Biaoyang is the most desolate and poorest place in Daqian. When my eldest brother first took office, my mother was worried for half a year and cried every day. It was not until she received a letter from my eldest brother half a year later that she felt relieved. Sister Liu Su, you won't lie to us, will you? Lu Yang was very suspicious. Liu Su smiled and said, it will be better than what I said. You will know when you get there. After hearing this, Suexi and the other two were extremely curious. Fortunately, they have reached the border of Zongshu, and beyond that is Biaoyang Pass. which can be reached in 2 days at most. The next day, they arrived at Bialiang Pass. When Shang Wei learned that Suexiyue and the others had arrived, he put down his military duties and went to greet them immediately. "Hello, Auntie. I am Shang Wei. I welcome to Bialiang Pass. Madam, this is General Guan Shang of Bialiang," Liu Su introduced. Suexiyue was also stunned. How could the mother of a county magistrate like her be personally received by the general? "General Shang. Thank you for your concern." Suexiyue also hurriedly returned the greeting. Shang Wei didn't dare to accept the gift, and quickly stepped aside. "Aunt, you are embarrassing me. Brother Li Yuan and I are as close as brothers, and his mother is my mother. My Li Yuan must have caused you a lot of trouble on a daily basis." Suexiyue thought the other party was just being polite. "You are wrong, I have caused a lot of trouble for Brother Lu." Shang Wei smiled bitterly and said, "If it weren't for Brother Lu, I would have died long ago." Seeing Shang Wei's sincere look, Suexiyue finally believed that he was not being polite. Liu Su also smiled and said, "The elder master has a close relationship with General Shang, madam. Please relax a little. We are all family here at S. Very safe." Li Yong and Li Ling Zichai were also moved. They didn't expect that their elder brother was doing so well in Biayang County. He actually calls the general his brother. However, they were concerned about the disaster victims in Biayang Pass. "Why are there so many disaster victims here?" Hearing this, Shang Wei explained, "These are the disaster victims from Zongshu. They couldn't survive, so they were led to Bialiang by Brother Lu. My job here is to help screen them, take away all the sharp weapons they carry, and then send them to Bialiang County. They are lucky to be here." "Did Big Brother bring them here?" Lu Yang was dumbfounded. Bialiang County only has a few thousand people, but there are at least tens of thousands of people here, right? Can he afford to support them? "A few thousand people," Shang Wei laughed. "Little Brother Lu, you are wrong. Bialiang County has a population of 1 million. A few days ago, Brother Lu even broke through the Diaxia Pass. Now the population of Bialiang County. No, Bialiang Prefecture is approaching 2 million. Leon was confused. "People? 1 million people? Shang, General Shang, don't lie to me just because you think I'm young." "Sister Liu Su, General Shang was just teasing me, right?" Liu Su smiled and said, "No, Bialiang does have a population of 1 million, and they did capture Diaxia Pass a few days ago." Wow, not only Lu Yong, but also Lu Ling Zichai and Suexiyue were stunned. This is a joke, right?" Lu Ling Zichai stuttered. "Sister Li Su, why didn't you tell me before?" "You didn't ask," Liu Su said with a smile. "Anyway, once you enter the city, you will know how powerful the master is." Li Yong felt like his brain was not enough. What exactly has my elder brother done in the past 5 years since he came to Bialiang County? Millions of people? There aren't so many people in Biau Kyoto, right? He really wanted to say that this was fake, but there was no need for Liu Su and General Shang to lie to him. After having lunch at Bialiang Pass, Liu Su took them away from Bialiang Pass. The roads here are smoother and wider. Liu Su told them that this is called a cement road. And only Bialiang in the world can produce it. Once it is built, it will not be damaged for decades. There were many disaster victims on the road. Walking forward in groups, Lu Ling Zichai asked, "Sister Liu Su, why don't you send someone to pick them up? Look, they can hardly walk." Liu Su explained, "People don't always cherish things that come easily, and only cherish things that they get through hardships. The land of Bialiang cannot support so many people. If you want to survive, you have to work hard. Bialiang can provide them with shelter and feed them, but it is not free. Only after passing this test will you be accepted by Bialiang." Lu Ling's EHI nodded, not quite understanding. Lu Yang suddenly realized, a pinch of rice is a grudge, a peck of rice is a favor. Liu Su nodded. Soon, they arrived at Bialiang City in the evening. The tall and majestic city makes people have to look up. The mother and her 2 children were shocked by the scene before them. "Is this the dilapidated and deserted town that Dad mentioned? Isn't this more magnificent than Biu Jingji?" Liang's heart was trembling. Suexiyue held her daughter's hand tightly. "Liu Su, is this really Bialiang County?" "Yes, madam, but now it is called Bialiang Mansion." Liu Su also looked proud. Just then, a group of people rushed out of the city. The barbarian laborers who were carrying supplies also knelt on the ground in a hurry. Pedestrians on both sides of the road also made way. Leading the group was a tall, handsome man. Who else could the person coming be if not Lu Yuan? Seeing the carriage parked at the city gate, Lu Yuan was overjoyed. He stopped his horse, rushed forward in 2 or 3 steps, and knelt on the ground. "Unfilial son Lu Yuan. Kao to your mother. Greetings, old lady." Behind Lu Yuan, a group of brigade commanders also knelt down to pay their respects. Suexiyue looked at her son whom she hadn't seen for several years, and tears instantly welled up in her eyes. "Shuoan, my son, you think so hard about me. Chapter 73, You Bastard. Kneel down in front of me. Suexayui went forward and hugged her son, crying uncontrollably. Li Yuan also felt a pang of sadness. Li Yong and Lu Ling Zhi also cried and hugged him. Brother, I miss you so much. Li Yong has had a good relationship with Li Yuan since childhood. He took his brother as his role model and now he cries with joy when he sees Li Yuan. Lu Ling Zhi burst into tears. Brother, I thought I would never see you again. Holding them, Li Yuan finally felt that he was not alone, and that he had more things to care about in this world. From now on, I will never let you suffer any injustice again. Son, you must have suffered a lot these years. Right? Suexayui touched her son's face. She remembered that her son's face was still very childish when he left, but now he has grown into a real man. It's not bitter, everything will be sweet now that you're here. Li Yuan let go of his mother and picked up Li Yong. Good boy. You've grown so big. Putting Li Yong down, he pinched Lu Ling Zhi's face again in his memory. When he left home, she was not even as tall as his shoulders, but now she has grown into a slender young lady. Took out a few candies like a magic trick. Girl, this is your favorite crispy candy. Seeing that her elder brother still remembered her favorite snacks, Lu Ling Zhi cried even harder. Li Yuan wiped her tears and coaxed her softly. Okay, I'm fine, come on. Come home with me. As he spoke, he carried Lu Ling Zhi on his back, holding his mother with one hand and his brother with the other, just as he remembered. After entering the city, the mother and her two sons could not even see the prosperity of Biaoyang Prefecture, and only had Li Yuan in their eyes. The three of them pulled Li Yuan aside and asked him about what had happened over the years. Li Yuan also answered every question. Your father is a stubborn old man, he insists on going with the emperor and no one can persuade him. Suexayui said angrily. Li Yuan also knew everything from Liu Su's letter a long time ago. He agreed with everything Liu Su did in the capital if anyone dared to touch his family. His entire family would be killed. However, Lao Lu is not that kind of old-fashioned loyal minister. He just has his own persistence and bottom line. He still remembered that when he came to Biaoyang to take office, the words he said to him overturned his perception of Lao Lu. Dad will be fine as someone is secretly protecting him, Li Yuan sighed. But old Lu was taking too risky. This time, Daqian was completely divided, and would soon descend into chaos. Faster than he had imagined. What bothered him most was Xiaoji and Ji and her daughter, who disappeared as soon as they entered the capital. Prince Duan was captured. Xiaoji and the empress escaped, and Liu Su asked people to check the relatives of all officials in the Ministry of Revenue, but Xiaoji and Jia was not found. This woman seemed to be deliberately avoiding him. If I had known this would happen, I would never have let her take my daughter away. Liu Jingji is not a big person, but not a small person either. If she intends to hide, it would not be easy to find her. I heard from Liu Su that you are married, Suexayui asked suddenly. Li Yuan was stunned for a moment, then nodded. It's not a marriage, it's a long story. He didn't hide it either. Upon learning that Lu Yuan had bullied someone, Suexayui slapped Li Yuan on the head. You bullied a girl and got her pregnant. She traveled thousands of miles with her baby to find a husband, and you just let them go? If something bad happens, can you sleep well? Li Yuan was slapped and said with a bitter face, I can't keep her. You knew it was so dangerous out there, but you had to stay. She gave birth to a daughter for you regardless of worldly concerns, and you did this? Suexayui was so angry, no wonder Liu Su was so secretive about this matter. So this is what happened. Li Yong also said seriously, brother, this is not what a gentleman does. Lu Ling Zhi also said, brother, I can't speak for you this time. If anything happens to my sister-in-law and niece, you will never be at peace for the rest of your life. Li Yuan was scolded so much that he couldn't even raise his head. I will find them, mother and daughter. I promise. Suexayui was originally very happy, but now she was furious. I'm telling you, if anything happens to my granddaughter, you will no longer recognize me as your mother. Seeing Li Yuan was unhappy, Suexayui sighed. I am also a woman. If I had given birth to you and your siblings before marriage and raised them, how much gossip and jokes would I have to endure? Even children will be ridiculed and regarded as bastards. She has endured for 5 years, and I am letting you down by scolding you a few times. Li Yuan nodded. You are teaching me a lesson. And I will not argue. I will let you hold your granddaughter as quickly as possible. Suexayui's expression eased a little. She knew her son well and knew he was definitely not the irresponsible type. She just wanted to tell Li Yuan that no matter who he was, he had to have a clear conscience. Just like what Lu Qiushan said before he left, if he was not that kind of person, she would never marry him. Even though she kept cursing him, she knew he was doing the right thing, so she supported him in her heart. However, the mother's teachings did not dilute the joy of reunion. It is a blessing for children to be properly educated by their parents at least. Li Yuan thinks so. After entering the house, Li Yuan introduced everyone around him to them. When Xianing and Li Wuyu saw Suexayui, They became even more attentive. Even Luo Bing took out the clothes she had prepared in advance. Madam, this is the clothes I made by myself. Please accept it. Madam, this is the jewelry I prepared for you. They are all made of the finest 100 gold. Angu also handed over a whole set of jewelry with a blushing face. Isu also took out her favorite perfume at this moment. Madam, this is a rare perfume in my collection. It suits you very well. Xi Yuan also said, Madam, I have recently learned a new massage technique. You are tired from the journey. How about I give you a massage? Even Xi Hongmei blushed and said, Madam, I don't know if you like tea. This is the tea I made myself. Wang Dabiao and others were dumbfounded when had they ever seen the big sister with such an embarrassed expression. At this moment, she was hesitant, just like an ugly daughter-in-law meeting her mother-in-law for the first time. Xi Ning and Li were not qualified to sit at the table. Seeing this scene, they suddenly felt a lot of pressure. The competition is more intense than they imagined. Li Yuan didn't think much about it. But Su Xiu's eyes were questioning, as if she was asking Li Yuan again, which one is my daughter-in-law? Mom, these are their thoughts, please accept them, Li Yuan said with a smile. Su Xiu was stunned. Could it be that these were her son's girlfriends? No wonder my daughter-in-law insisted on leaving. She must have been pissed off by that brat. She didn't get angry at the table, but accepted the gift with a smile. After everyone left the table, Su Xiu called Li Yuan over. Li Yuan didn't understand what was going on. He walked forward and heard Su Xiu angrily say, You bastard, kneel down. Chapter 74. Is it despicable? Seeing his mother's angry expression, Li Yuan did not dare to say anything more. He knelt down with a plop and said, Mom, I was wrong. Su Xiu asked angrily, Tell me the truth. Are all those women at the table today related to you? Yes, but it's a superior-subordinate relationship. Li Yuan. Su Xiu raised her voice. If we are just superiors and subordinates, do we need to be so attentive? Those women look at you like a turtle looking at a mung bean. I, your mother, am not that old and blind. Li Yuan smiled bitterly and said, Mom, if I really had an affair with them, I would have had many children. Why would I have been alone for so many years? Su Xiu was stunned, and then she realized that she had wronged Li Yuan. She snorted, Why are you so loud? Li Yuan looked aggrieved. I was wrong, mother. Although your father and I are not old-fashioned. Marriage is a matter of life and death, and your parents must give their approval. You are now at the age of starting a family, so it is only natural for you to find a woman. Su Xiu's tone became gentler, but the premise is that you find my daughter-in-law and granddaughter. As long as my daughter-in-law agrees to your taking a concubine, I have no objection. Li Yuan had a lot to say, so he had to nod and agree, which made his mother happy. The next day, Li Yuan got up early, and after breakfast, he took his family to visit Biaoyang Prefecture. Although Biaoyang Prefecture has a population of 1 million, its area is not as large as Biaojingji. It is divided into 12 districts in total, with a population of about 80,000 to 90,000 in each district. In order to save space, the residential buildings are mainly 5 to 7 stories high. It's not that Lu Yuan yearns for the steel forest, but he wants to save trouble. Classical architecture is beautiful, but it is time-consuming and expensive. In Li Yuan's dictionary, there is only the word practical. However, even so, the mother and her 2 children were dazzled. Brother, did you really spend 5 years to build this? Li Yong said, and realistically, it's like a dream. Even Baiyu Kyoto is not this beautiful. Why, do you think I'm bragging? Li Yong took a deep breath and said, It's just incredible, such a huge city, let alone 5 years, even if it can be built in 50 years. It is a great thing. Brother, you must have had a very hard time these past 5 years. This is family. Others will only see your current glamour and never care about the scars behind you. Lu Lingzhi hugged Li Yuan's arm and said, distressed lie, I told Mom last night that it's not easy for Big Brother. If we had known this, we should have come earlier to help you share the burden. When Su Xiu heard this, her eyes turned red again, looking at the hustle and bustle of traffic outside. She couldn't help wiping away her tears. Li Yuan coaxed the baby for a long time before he calmed down, and then took his family shopping. Everything in Biaoyang Prefecture is constantly refreshing the worldview of the 3 people. Li Yuan took them to eat a lot of food that was only available in Biaoyang Prefecture, and bought a lot of Biaoyang specialties. It was not that he didn't have them at home, he just enjoyed spending time hanging out with his family. When the group was tired of strolling around, Li Yuan took them to the Pear Garden. It happened that Biaoyang's top singer Mu Rongwang was singing on the stage, and the audience below were fascinated by her. Su Xiu was smiling. She was the kind of parent who would not spoil the fun. She said with relish, You know what? Biaoyang Prefecture is really different from other places. Not only is the food delicious, but even the brothels are different. Mom, this is not a brothel. The singers here are all from decent families. They sell their art but not their bodies, Li Yuan explained with a smile. Everyone then understood that this opera garden was a place where men, women, old and young could come. Li Yuan is a man who has gotten rid of vulgar tastes. Soon, Mu Rong W Wanking finished singing and the audience burst into applause. Lu Yang looked away with a lingering feeling. Outside the long pavilion, beside the ancient road, the grass is green and endless. It's so beautiful, big brother. Is this a song you wrote? Well, I guess so, Li Yuan nodded. This opera house has special songwriters and composers once hired. Not only will you get the songwriting fee, but you will also become famous after your song is sung in the opera house. A record company will also include the lyrics and music, and then sell them to the whole world. Don't those scholars feel lowly? Li Yang asked in surprise. Li Yuan frowned slightly. Writing poems to win the smiles of the nobles is called elegance, but writing lyrics for the common people to enjoy is called lowliness. Brother, that's not what I meant. Seeing that his brother's face looked strange, Lu Yang hurriedly explained. There is no best. Lu Yuan said, in my eyes, writing poems and articles that are appreciated by both the elite and the masses is the best. It appeals to both the refined and the popular. Lu Yang frowned slightly. Brother, I don't agree with you. Some things are not suitable for ordinary people. As a person, you should never aim to high scholars, should be down to earth. There are many students in Biaoyang Prefecture who never think that being a scholar is something to be proud of or great. They only understand that reading is to understand the truth and to help the weak. They use their knowledge to earn money, support their families, and entertain the public. And that is not lowly. Lu Yang felt a little embarrassed. Suexiyui said, your elder brother is right. I don't see how well you study, but you have a lot of bad habits. Your father is not around, so you have to listen to what your elder brother says. He won't harm you. It's not that Li Yuan likes to scold people. As the eldest master of Biaoyang Prefecture, his family is bound to benefit from it. Do we want Lu Yang to be a self-important intellectual, who only knows how to moan and groan without reason? He must have wanted to train him up and share the burden with him. Taishan County and Diaxia Pass, which one doesn't need management? No matter how good outsiders are, can they be as reliable as relatives? Li Yuan poured a cup of tea for his mother, and then said, I won't argue with you about this. You are so old now, you should think clearly about what you should do in the future. The same goes for Ling Zhi. We can't let her wait to get married. I give you two choices. Either you continue your studies in Biaoyang Prefecture and take part in the spring exam next year. Once you pass the exam, you will be assigned a job by the government. Otherwise, just follow me and learn. I will be several times stricter than others in asking you to do the right thing. Lu Yang lowered his head and remained silent. He had admired Lu Yuan since he was a child, and he admired him even more now. But he was just a young boy who had not experienced much of the world. Seeing Lu Yuan achieve such a great career, he was indescribably shocked and admired him. But what followed was the young man's stubbornness and reluctance to accept. He didn't want others to think that he was looked up to because he was Lu Yuan's younger brother. Lu Ling Zhi said without thinking, Brother, I choose to continue my studies and take the spring exam. Lu Yuan nodded and said, in Biaoyang, women can not only study, but also engage in business, politics, and medicine. Continuing your studies is a wise choice. I look forward to your success in next year's spring exam. Really? Lu Ling Zhi's eyes sparkled. Brother, your Biaoyang mansion is too good. Li Yuan patted her head lovingly, then looked at Lu Yang. What about you? What do you choose? Chapter 75. I want to feed everyone. Lu Yang didn't want to follow Li Yuan, nor did he want to be arranged by the government. Just when he was about to speak his mind, the door of the box was knocked, and a clear voice came from outside. Master, Mu Rong W Wanking wants to see you. Li Yuan frowned, but Lu Yang beside him couldn't help but look towards the door with a hint of anticipation in his eyes. Li Yuan was having dinner with his family and didn't want to open the door, but after seeing this scene, he changed his mind. Ongu opened the door. Soon, Mu Rong W Wanking came over. She was a classical beauty, wearing a specially made performance costume, like a beauty walking out of a painting. She doesn't wear any makeup, yet she still looks pretty. Especially those watery eyes, which seemed to contain stars and made people unable to take their eyes away. On stage, she is glamorous and dazzling, and off stage, she is even more beautiful. That graceful figure makes people drool. How did you know I was coming? Li Yuan said inferently. This box is exclusively for you. The windows are usually closed. I look forward to it day and night, hoping that this window will be open now. It finally comes to my mind. Mu Rong W Wanking said with a smile. She was the princess of the now defunct small kingdom of Yan. These small kingdoms were eliminated first in the face of turmoil. There were dozens of small countries like Yan around the Three Kingdoms period. After the fall of the state of Yan, she asked for help from both countries, but no one paid any attention to her. Finally, a team that asked for help came to Biaoyang County, where they were abducted by the barbarians. It happened that Lu Yuan led his troops to fight against the barbarians, and he rescued her. Then he stayed in Biaoyang. This woman was originally devoted to restoring her country, but now she has been trained by Li Yuan. She glanced at the other people at the table being smart. She quickly discovered the clue and said hurriedly, "Oh, this lady is the old lady, right?" Suexayui glared at Li Yuan secretly, then said with a smile, "Mr. Murong, you sang very well just now. I don't deserve the title of master," Murong King said humbly. "It's all because of the master's good training." Hearing this, Suexayui got angry again. Li Yuan laughed dryly and drank tea hastily to hide his guilty conscience. "Madam, I'll offer you a glass of tea instead of wine." After Murong King toasted Suexayui, she turned her gaze to Lu Lingziechai and Lu Yang, and found out their identities in no time. Young Master Lu is a handsome man, and Miss Lingziechai is even more beautiful. The eldest master and his family are all blessed by nature and are favored by heaven and earth. All right, Lu Yuan waved his hand impatiently. "Go down first, I'll have someone send the new lyrics and music over in a few days." If Murong King's admirers saw Li Yuan's impatient attitude, they would tear him to pieces. Murong King didn't dare to say much. She just sighed softly with a somewhat resentful look in her eyes. Was she caring about the lyrics? "Don't you just want to spend more time with this man? I seldom came to see her. Every time he came, he made her feel very uncomfortable and never gave her any explanation. The last time, she was so aroused that she had erotic dreams for several nights in a row. It's just terrible. Master, I'll take my leave first." Murong King left feeling aggrieved. The room fell into silence again. Li Yuan felt that the look in his mother's eyes was a little scary, so he quickly changed the subject. "When she was here just now, I didn't dare to look at her. Now that everyone is gone, what are you looking at?" Lu Yang blushed. "Ms. Murong is like a white lotus emerging from the water. You can only admire her from afar, but not get close to her. You are just a repressed person. You say no, but you really want it in your heart." Li Yuan exposed him mercilessly. "I hate people who pretend to be noble the most." Li Yang lowered his head even more, feeling a little unconvinced. "I'm not pretending to be noble," Li Yuan said calmly. "No, you are just pretending to be noble. Many people study for themselves, but you are always talking about family, country, people, benevolence, righteousness and morality." "I study for the sake of my country and the people," Li Yang said unconvinced. "Lie, if you can do it I can do it too." "Xiao Yang, who told you to talk to your brother like that?" Suexayui said angrily. This is what Lu Yuan was waiting for him to say. "Mom, it's okay if a man is not frivolous when young, he will be wasted. I'll talk to him." He gave his mother a look, then said to Lu Yang, "Then I will give you a chance to prove yourself. Taishan County is under construction, and I will let you supervise the construction and take charge of logistics as long as you can do it. From now on, I will never care about you again." Lu Yang was a little shocked. Building a county town? Is that something he can do? Back then, when I came to Biaoyang County, the population was less than 2,000. The rammed earth walls had collapsed and no one was repairing them. The barbarians came to plunder every now and then. With the help of more than 1,000 people, I gradually rebuilt Biaoyang County into its current state. Now, the barbarians have been destroyed by me, but there are still more than 100,000 barbarian laborers in Taishan County participating in the construction. We have the people, money and materials. It can be said that everything is more than 10 times better than what I had back then. With such a high starting point. If you can't prove yourself, then just listen to me. I won't lose." Li Yang clenched his fists. "Okay," Li Yuan nodded. "You are quite courageous. Starting tomorrow, you will go to Taishan County. I will notify everyone. But you have to remember that the people under me will not look at you differently just because you are my brother. If you are wronged or bullied, don't come to me and cry." "I definitely won't," Li Yang said confidently. Suexayui looked at her eldest son. How could she not know that he was training Lu Yang? This kid has never suffered any hardship, yet he dares to challenge his elder brother. The purpose is to make him suffer. The next morning, Li Yang packed up and stood at attention, then said goodbye to his mother when he saw Li Yuan. He didn't say a word, and left in a carriage with Master Cao. Suexayui said with some concern, "The second brother doesn't know anything. He won't be a burden to you, right?" "Mom, I'll take care of everything." Li Yuan smiled, and then took Lu Lingziechai to report to Biaoyang Academy. "You have been studying with me and Dad since you were a child, so you skipped the literacy class and advanced class." Biaoyang took the pragmatic route. The subjects are mainly divided into 6 categories: engineering, law, mathematics, business, agriculture, and medicine. Engineering majors specialize in science and technology, but they need to be blacksmiths, which are basically done by men. Needless to say, the law can help poor people in litigation. Mathematics is arithmetic, and business is doing business. The state-owned enterprises in Biaoyang Prefecture need professional talents and have good prospects. Agriculture is the most basic line of defense for national peace. Medicine is medicine, just die in Fuso. Talents in these 6 major subjects are what Biaoyang needs most urgently. Which subject are you most interested in? Brother, I am interested in agriculture, Lu Lingzhi said. I don't have the strength to forge iron. I am not as good as others in law. I am not smart in mathematics, and I can forget about doing business. Studying medicine is good, but it is not the most important thing. On the way from the capital to Biaoyang, I saw too many victims who starved to death. So, I want to learn agriculture, and I want to make sure everyone has enough to eat. Chapter 76. News reaches Lijiang. Learning agriculture is not any easier than working as a blacksmith. You have to face the lowest and deal with fertilizers every day. The sun will tan you black. And you can't wear a pretty skirt to work in the fields. That's not important. The most important thing is that I can help big brother. Lu Lingzi's bright eyes curved into 2 crescents. Revealing her white little fangs, she was indescribably adorable. Li Yuan felt warm inside. You can choose what you like. When we were little, you took care of me. Now it's my turn to take care of you. Lu Lingzi pretended to be an adult and patted Lu Yuan on the shoulder. Brother, I will protect you from now on. Li Yuan scratched her nose and said, okay. And I respect your choice. Thank you, big brother. Lu Lingzi held Lu Yuan's hand and suddenly said, actually, second brother didn't mean to quarrel with you. He just wanted to help you to the best of his ability, but he didn't know how to start. Last night he knelt in front of his mother and cried, saying that he felt so sorry for her. He also didn't let me tell you. Li Yuan was stunned. That brat, did he do it on purpose? On the other side, Li Yuan came to Taishan County and was shocked when he saw the barbarian laborers working hard. In order to save resources, workers from Biaoyang County are building a cement plant and an ironworks according to construction drawings. The barbarians have several mining areas. Although they are poor mines, they have solved Biaoyang's current urgent needs. Li Yang had just arrived and had no idea where to start, although people around him were communicating with him with a smile. No one took him seriously. Master Cao, my eldest brother asked me to supervise the work and be responsible for logistics. Can you tell me what to do? Young Master Lu, you just watch from the side. You can't do such rough and heavy work if anything goes wrong. How can I explain to the master? Said Master Cao. During this, Lu Yang stopped talking, took off his coat, and walked aside to help the workers move bricks. A first batch of disaster victims has arrived in Biaoyang, and it is said that their number is as high as 130. It only took my brother 2 days to properly deal with this group of disaster victims. The method adopted was work for relief, which shocked Li Yang greatly. Not only did they provide food to the victims, they also gave them dignity, allowing them to earn a living with their own hands. It also accelerated the progress of the project. This was much better than the relief they saw on the road. Master Lu, please stop. You are a scholar. How can you do such rough and tiring work? Master Cao advised hurriedly. Master Cao, I'm not little Master Lu. I'm just an ordinary person from now on. You should call me Lu Yang. Lu Yang wiped the sweat from his forehead. What's wrong with being a scholar? Who said that scholars can't move bricks? Aren't you making things difficult for me? Master Cao said with a bitter face. I just want to experience the difficulties that my elder brother went through. Lu Yang smiled. Don't worry about me, just do your thing. Seeing that Lu Yang refused to listen to his advice, Master Cao was helpless. He thought that Lu Yang was just a flash in the pan and would naturally give up when the time came. But what he didn't expect was that Lu Yang not only did not back down, but instead became uncontrollable. For 7 or 8 days in a row, Lu Yang was busy at the construction site and ran almost all over the site whenever he had some free time. He would ask the workers how to do the construction. He did not even miss mealtime with steamed buns in his hand. He ran to the barbarian labor site to supervise the work and see how others were doing it. After a few days, I actually became friends with those people. Master Lu rolls around in the mud every day. And his hands and shoulders are covered with blisters. No matter how I try to persuade him, he won't listen. Look. Li Yuan smiled with relief. Don't worry about him. I moved a lot of bricks in the past, so I just take it as physical exercise. He thought he had a good eye for people, but he was wrong about his own brother. If this kid can be polished well, he will definitely be a rough diamond in the future. At the same time, the news of Li Qianyang's defeat had spread back to Lijiang, Diaxia. Emperor Xie was furious, but also extremely horrified. Uncle Wang was defeated together with the civilians who accompanied him. There were as many as 300,000 people. He was defeated so thoroughly. Emperor Xie walked around anxiously in the council hall. Looking at the civil and military officials who were all mute, he shouted angrily, "Are you all mute? Tell me how to solve this problem. Who dares to speak at this time?" Even the undefeated military god was defeated. Who dares to say that he is more powerful than Li Qianyang? Now that my uncle has been captured, the Great Xia Pass has been breached. Wu Yu is still in Lu Yuan's hands, and Great Xia lost all its face. Emperor Xia was furious. This was definitely the most embarrassing moment in his imperial career. At this time, Wuxiang Shongying stepped forward at this time. He had to stand up and speak. Your Majesty, I think there must be something behind the breach of Diaxia Pass, Shongying analyzed. According to the people who came back, the Northern Liang army descended from the sky and burned the military rations. In my humble opinion, this is pure nonsense. If the Northern Liang army had such capabilities, Daqian would have unified the world long ago. There must be an internal traitor who set the fire, took the initiative to spread rumors, and disrupted the morale of the army. The Northern Liang army launched another surprise attack and finally broke through the Diaxia Pass. Ding Jianxia and Dajing Fangzheng reached an agreement to go to war together, but Lu Yuan did not attack the weaker Dajing, but instead raided Diaxia Pass. I think Dajing must have set us up. Minister Shang's words make sense. I second your proposal. Yes, that must be the case. After a while, most of the court officials agreed. When the noise died down, Shongying continued, right now, our dynasty has suffered heavy losses, and we really shouldn't make any more enemies. Instead, we should send another envoy to negotiate with Lu Yuan and take back Diaxia Pass. Excluding the conscripted civilians, a loss of soldiers exceeded 100,000. Even Dao Xia, which had 1,000,000 elite soldiers, could not afford such a loss. Moreover, Diaxia Pass is the gateway to Diaxia. Once it is lost, the enemy can attack the pass at any time, threatening Li Jing. Lu Yuan treated the princess like a maiden, demanded compensation from our dynasty now that we have won the battle. He will certainly ask for a lot. Minister of Culture Cai Yongshu stood up and said sarcastically, if we agree to all of it, we will lose both face and money. If you have any ideas, don't be so sarcastic, Shan Lai sneered. Put pressure on Dajing and ask it to withdraw its troops. This way, Lu Yuan will have one less person to rely on. However, Biaoyang County has nearly 150 Zara troops at Biaoyang Pass behind it, so we have to be cautious. Therefore, the best way is to put pressure on the Daqian court. Now that they are the victorious party, will the Daqian court withdraw its troops? Cai Yongshu smiled faintly. Do you remember the palace coup in Daqian 5 years ago? I received reliable information that the Prince of Daqian wanted to seize the military power but was defeated by Yang Ji, and the Empress of Daqian fled and disappeared. Now Daqian is leaderless. If you were Yang Ji, what would you do in the face of pressure from Diaxia? Chapter 77. Xiao Jianjia's growth. Yang Shu, is the news accurate? Emperor Rex Ia frowned. Your Majesty. It is absolutely true, Cai Yongshu said. As long as we put pressure on the Daqian court, we will definitely be able to force Biaoyang to return the princess and King Jiangxie. In that case, I'll leave this matter to you, Emperor Rex Ia said. I not only want Wu Yu and Uncle Wang to return safely, but I also want the goods in Diaxia Pass to be returned to their original owners. At this time, Xiao Jianji and his group had already arrived at the border of Tongshu. There is a temporary dark spot for the secret guards here. After running thousands of miles, everyone was exhausted. Xiao Jianjia pulled herself together and asked, Grape, how is the situation in Tongshu? Not good, Xiao Pudeo said solemnly. A disaster has completely spread. Although the Maitreya sect has been destroyed, the Wu Sheng Lao Mu, the pagoda bearing Heavenly King, and the Changsheng sect in Zongshu have spread rapidly. How so? It has something to do with the Edict of Repentance issued by Yang Ji, Xiao Pudeo smiled bitterly. Only the emperor could issue an Edict of Repentance, but Yang Ji not only issued it, he also announced it to the world. Not only that, he also slandered Prince Duan and accused him of treason, which directly affected Xiao Jianjia's status. After all, it was Prince Duan who recommended Xiao Jianjia to be the emperor. Therefore, Yang Ji labeled Xiao Jianjia a false emperor because she was immoral because she gave birth to a child before marriage. Later, he decided to promote Xiao Jianjia's brother, Prince of Jin Xiaoyi, as emperor. He will ascend the throne in 2 months, and the day Xiaoyi ascends the throne will be the day Prince Duan will be beheaded. These are exactly the same as what Lu Qiushan had deduced at the beginning. Xiao Jianjia was extremely anxious and turned to look at Lu Qiushan. Lu King, what should we do next? Yang Ji wants to behead Uncle Wang. Lu Qiushan did not panic. He thought for a while and said, otherwise, let alone rescuing Prince Wan, even survival will be a problem. There are still 2 months before the false emperor ascends the throne. He must gain a firm foothold and eliminate Tongshu within 2 months. The reason why the thief Yang dealt with Prince Wan on the day when the false emperor ascended the throne was for only one purpose, to lure your majesty out. Otherwise, he would have just chopped Prince Wan to death with a knife. Why did he publicize it so loudly? Then Lord Lu, do you have any way to rescue my father? Xiao Ji was also extremely anxious. If it really doesn't work, just rob the execution ground. That's the dumbest way. Lu Qiushan shook his head. If you want to save Prince Wan, killing the fake emperor or killing Yang Ji is better than this. But how easy is it to kill them? Xiaoji's eyes dimmed. Unless Liu Su and the others take action. Lu Qiushan was thinking and didn't hear what he said next. Until now, Lu Qiushan didn't know that Liu Su killed more than 2,000 people for him overnight. Xiao Jianjia was very hesitant. Should she really ask that bastard for help? Everyone fought hard. Even Lu Qiushan couldn't find a solution for the time being. After everyone left, Ma Sanbao felt distressed when he saw the exhausted Xiao Jianjia. Your Majesty, please take a rest first. Sanbao, I can't sleep, even though she was very tired. She couldn't sleep when she thought of Prince Duan's suffering and Bia Yujingji. If it really doesn't work, let Xiaoji ask Li Yuan for help. They have such a good personal relationship. Li Yuan will definitely not stand idly by, Ma Sanbao advised. He saved my life, so he doesn't owe me anything. Xiao Jianjia said, but Uncle Wang's life is more important than face. If we can't find a solution within 7 days, I will go to Biaoyang County myself. Ma Sanbao was surprised. Your Majesty, wouldn't it be better to let Prince Xiaozhou? I caused this trouble, so I will take the responsibility myself. Xiao Jianjia said in a muffled voice. Before, I was too naive. But now I have to take on the responsibilities of an emperor. Wadawan is following me now without a stable place to live, living in fear. And I really can't bear to see her suffer with me. She gently stroked the child's head, her face full of tenderness after these days of running around. Even young and strong people would complain bitterly, let alone a child. But this child was so sensible. Every time he said he was not tired, he would massage her shoulders and back obediently. It's because she is a useless mother that she has to suffer so much. Therefore, she must work hard to grow up to be able to stand on her own. And one day, she will take Huan back. What if our little ancestor gets wronged when he goes there? Ma Sanbao was reluctant to let him go. No, Lu Yuan will be a good father. But if Lu Yuan knew your identity and knew that you killed his mother and sister-in-law, would he still be good to the child? Ma Sanbao knelt beside him, looking at Huan who was sleeping soundly. What if he was bullied? Xiao Jianjia's delicate body trembled. And she said bitterly, then never let him know. If he knew, I would probably be gone by then. Lu Qiushan likes Huan so much. If he knew that Huan was his granddaughter, he would definitely protect her. At this moment, Ma Sanbao finally understood why Lu Qiushan had to be Huan's teacher, and why Huan was not allowed to call him teacher, but had to call him grandpa instead. It's all because of my incompetence. Ma Sanbao pounded his chest in pain. I'm so ashamed of the late emperor. For several days, the situation in Tongshu could not be improved. Lu Qiushan thought of several solutions, but the risks were all too high. Moreover, they were seriously short of manpower. So Lu Qiushan volunteered to recruit soldiers. The emperor's banner can no longer be used. If the rebels in Zongshu knew that Xiao Jianjia was here, they would definitely rush over like crazy. Even with just a few hundred of them, they are not enough to fill the other side's teeth. Therefore, Lu Qiushan changed his plan and invented a character called Holy King. The slogan was welcome the Holy King. When the Holy King comes, there will be no taxes or co-RV, and the land will be evenly distributed. Wait until the time is right to recruit her, which will not only ensure Xiao Jianjia's safety, but also enhance her prestige. The secret guards and the imperial guards are all good fighters, and they are no match for the guerrillas in Tongshu. Lu Qiushan started from the countryside, killing all the nearby gentry and powerful people, and raised a large amount of food and military equipment. In just 3 days, he captured the territories of 2 towns and the population under his command reached 3,000. The first thing to do after conquering a town is to distribute land, exempt people from co-RV in grain taxes, and distribute grain. Although the drought in Tongshu was severe, it did not cause the river to dry up. Lu Qiushan waved his hand and started having people dig reservoirs and deep wells to store drinking water. Your Majesty, I have recruited 500 young men next. We will capture all the rural towns and villages around Fuan County. Then, we will attack Fuan County and use it as a base. Lu Qiushan kept talking about the plan. And Xiao Jianjia felt very strange. He is obviously a loyal minister, but his style of behavior is unorthodox and even more rebellious than that of a traitor. Mr. Lu, I believe in you, but I have to go on a long journey tomorrow. Can you take charge of everything on my behalf? Chapter 78 Return to Biaoyang. On the way to Biaoyang County, Xiao Jianjia's mentality was very different. After this incident, Xiao Ji also matured. The 2 of them arrived at Biaoyang Pass under the escort of the guard. Shang Wei came to pick them up personally after seeing Xiao Jianjia. He immediately expressed his attitude. Your Majesty, no matter what, everyone in Biaoyang Pass only recognizes your Majesty. Xiao Jianjia didn't believe it, nor did she disbelieve it. He just said calmly, I understand. Shang Wei secretly guessed the emperor's attitude and thought, if it weren't for Lu Yuan's face, the empress would have been arrested long ago if she dared to come here so openly. Anyone with a discerning eye knew that Da Qian was on the brink of collapse. If Shang Wei was a little more ruthless and captured the empress to claim credit for it, it would be a great achievement. If he had ambition, he could set up a new court in an instant. With an army of hundreds of thousands under his command, he might be able to rule the world. But with Li Yuan around, he had no idea at all. Send me to Biaoyang County and tell me what has happened in Biaoyang County these days, Xiao Jianjia said bluntly. After leaving the customs, Shan Wei told Xiao Jianjia what happened after she left. Yumi Yuan fought 1 against 2 and directly broke through the Diaxia Pass, capturing the Diaxia military gods Li Quniang and Chen Yuan. Xiao Jianjia was shocked. That was the Diaxia Pass, known as the most important pass in the Three Kingdoms, which was far from comparable to Manziyu. Yes, it was conquered overnight. And all 300,000 soldiers were captured. I don't know what method Brother Li used, but he managed to subdue Li Quniang and Chen Yuan. Now Diaxia Pass has been renamed Song's Han County. Isn't he going to return the Diaxia Pass? Will Diaxia tolerate it? Xiao Jianjia was puzzled. Isn't this bastard afraid of losing anything? So what if I can't tolerate it? Shang Wei licked his dry lips and said with a bitter smile, the two countries have 600. Zero troops. Fang Zheng he is now too scared to go out. Even Li Quniang has surrendered. Diaxia has lost the favorable time. Place and people. Will it be of any use to send another 300,000 troops? It would be fine if we win. But if we lose, I'm afraid the fate of the great Hexai nation will be ruined. Therefore, I have concluded that Diaxia dares not and cannot send out troops again. He had only one way, and that was to run to Biaoyang and ask for peace from Brother Lu. As for Da Jing, he lost the Battle of Pashan 2 years ago, and is still in labor reform in Biaoyang. He will most likely admit his mistakes. Other Lu is already invincible with an army of 30,000, now that he has expanded his army to 100. Zhao, even Diaxia and Da Jing will have to kneel down and hold their noses, Xiao Ji said with admiration, as expected of Master Lu. He is so strong, relying on a city. He made Diaxia and Da Jing bow their heads as so powerful. Xiao Jianjia bit her lip, still not daring to believe it. Li Yuan claimed that with only 30,000 soldiers, he could annihilate the Manchus, build a second city in the barbarian gathering place, and then break through the Diaxia Pass and dominate northern Liang. During the 2 months that I was away, this bastard actually did such a big thing without making any noise. She sighed secretly in her heart. If Li Yuan was willing to help her, why would she? She dispelled the unrealistic thoughts in her mind and looked at Shang Wei's convinced expression. She understood that even Li Yuan's fart smelled better than her own words. The reason why he was respectful to me was not because of his status as an emperor, but because, Li Yuan. Tell me, what methods did Li Yuan use to provide relief to the victims? Xiao Jianjia asked. Work for relief. Shang Wei knew all about this. After all the victims had to pass through Biaoyang Pass first. Women and children do handicrafts, those under 6 years old are given free food, and the young and strong are subject to arrangements and have 3 meals a day. Or they would be hired as servants by some wealthy families, not the kind that would involve signing a contract to sell themselves. The number of disaster victims who fell into my care these days exceeded 150,000, and the number is still increasing. They all fled from the big states such as Zongshu and Tongshu. They are lucky to be able to escape here as long as they are hardworking, loyal and honest, and join Biaoyang. Their good days will come. Shang Wei couldn't help but sigh. But when he glanced at Xiao Jianjia, he hurriedly said, if it were your majesty, you would definitely be able to do better than this. Can I do better than this? Xiao Jianjia laughed at herself. The disaster in Zongshu occurred a long time ago. What did you do? If she could come up with such a clever idea as work for relief, would such a thing still be able to happen in Zongshu? Xiao Ji looked outside and saw that snow had already begun to fall. It's winter now, and the people are having a harder time. Soon, the carriage entered Biaoyang Prefecture. At this time, Li Yuan was still inspecting the greenhouse. Biaoyang has a cold climate, so greenhouses are directly related to the dinner plates of all the people in Biaoyang. The temperature outside has dropped below zero, but the temperature inside the greenhouse is above 20 degrees. It was so hot that Li Yuan had to take off his coat. Master, this year 40 of the glass produced by the glass factory is supplied here. Apart from the original 2,000 mu of greenhouses, a total of 600 mu of new greenhouses have been built this year. The farm has recruited 60 new people this year. And this quarter, it is estimated that it can produce 1.5 million kilograms of vegetables, said Yang Taishu, the person in charge of the greenhouse. It's still too little if the 1.2 million is evenly distributed among the people. The average amount per person per quarter is only a little over 1 kilogram. Although every household has stockpiled vegetables in advance at this time of year and the government has also stored vegetables, it is still not enough. Now we have Taishan County and Song's Han County. With a population surge of 700,000, there will be more disaster victims pouring in the future, so it would not be too much to double the production capacity. Li Yuan was worried. A large population, and a large territory meant responsibilities and obligations. Although Biaoyang Prefecture is not a big pot meal now, In order to ensure the safety of the people, the land is cultivated uniformly by the Bialyang government. Bialyang County could not grow enough food to feed more than 1 million people, so Liu Yuan tried to improve the grain varieties and imported large quantities of it. Just build greenhouses, set up farms and make fish and meat to increase residents' oil and water and reduce their consumption of rice. But it is far from enough. Yang Taishu was a little panicked. Master, it's not that we don't want to expand, it's just that the glass factory can only squeeze out so much finished glass. Seeing that he looked nervous, Liu Yuan patted him on the shoulder and said, "Don't be nervous, Taishu, I'm not blaming you. I just want to tell you that Bialyang County must ensure that the grain supply is stable." This was not something Yang Taishu could resolve after all. There were so many industries in Bialyang that were operating at full capacity. 1 million people might seem like a lot, but if you divided the population among the factories, there would be a severe shortage of workers. If there are not enough people, the output cannot be increased. Moreover, glass greenhouses are expensive to build, and the alkaloids used in making glass have always been the key factor limiting production. If only plastic could be developed, we wouldn't be so restricted. Liu Yuan was secretly annoyed. There were many agricultural students not far away. When they saw this scene, they were so nervous that they didn't dare to speak. Lu Lingzhi was also among them. She could understand how much pressure Big Brother was under. The jobs of more than 1.7 million people were in his hand. Could he not be anxious? At this moment, a voice came from outside. "Brother Lu, are you there? Brother Shang?" Liu Yuan turned around in surprise. Why is he here? When he walked out of the glass greenhouse, he saw Shang Wei, Xiaoji, and Xiaoji and Jia and Wan Huan. "From now on, you will be the treasurer of the Lu family. A temperature difference is too big, causing brain nerve disorder?" Liu Yuan blinked. But before he could react, he saw Xiaoji and Jia put Wan Huan down, and then the little girl opened her arms and ran over excitedly. "Daddy? I'm Huan Huan." At laughter, as sweet as a silver bell, melted Liu Yuan's heart. "It's really them." Liu Yuan was overjoyed, rushed over to pick up Huan Huan, and then held her tightly in his arms. "Girl, why are you here?" Huan Huan hugged Liu Yuan's neck and kept kissing him on the face. "Daddy? Huan Huan misses you so much." "Girl, Daddy misses you too." Liu Yuan couldn't eat or sleep for the past 2 months, and his mind was full of this girl, which almost worried him to death. Now seeing the little girl, he was almost crazy with joy. He hurriedly wrapped the child in a cloak, and then put their foreheads against each other's foreheads and noses against each other. The father and daughter looked at each other as if there were no outsiders, and they were just pushing each other like this. It was so warm. Xiaoji and Jia pouted in dissatisfaction. This little girl had never been so close to her. Shang Wei also looked at her with a silly smile. "My daughter is like this too." The students in the greenhouse all had bright eyes and kept saying, "Look, that's the master's daughter. So cute. The lady is also very dignified and beautiful. She and the master are a perfect match made in heaven." Lu Lingzhi widened her eyes. Are these the sister-in-law and niece whose whereabouts are unknown? If she hadn't been afraid of revealing her identity, she would have rushed forward long ago. The father and daughter stayed together for a while. Seeing that they had no intention of paying attention to her, Xiaoji and Jia said coldly, "Liu Yuan, the child is here. I'm leaving, you have to treat her well." Liu Yuan reacted, "Wait." He quickly stepped forward and grabbed Xiaoji and Jia's hand. "Where are you going?" "Leave Bialyang." Xiaoji and Jia wanted to shake off Liu Yuan's hand, but Liu Yuan held her tightly. "This is Bialyang, you can come and go as you please," Liu Yuan said with a straight face. "Come home with me." "Who wants to go home with you?" Xiaoji and Jia frowned and said, "I sent Wan Huan here because it's not safe outside. I will come back to pick her up when things settle down. She is your daughter too. It should be okay for you to take care of her for a while, right?" "No wonder my daughter has lost weight," Liu Yuan muttered. But when Xiaoji and Jia heard this, it sounded like a reproach. "Just tell me, do you want to take care of the child?" "Yes," Liu Yuan replied without thinking. "I want the child too, and I want you to it. It's not safe outside, you should stay here. You and I have different paths and cannot work together. Even if you can keep me, you can't keep my heart," Xiaoji and Jia said calmly. Liu Yuan didn't want to force it in front of so many people, so he said, "You can leave, I'll take you to see someone. And you can explain it to her yourself, so that I won't be scolded every day." "Boo, you'll know when you see me." As he spoke, Liu Yuan opened his cloak and pulled Xiaoji and Jia into his arms. Then he said angrily, "Are you stupid? You come here wearing so little clothes, or ain't you cold?" Xiaoji and Jia tried her best to push Liu Yuan away, but he held her waist tightly. Her pretty face suddenly turned red. "You bastard, let go." Liu Yuan ignored her and said to Shang Wei and Xiaoji, "Let's go. His is not the place to talk." The two nodded and hurriedly followed. In the carriage, Xiaoji told Liu Yuan what he and Xiaoji and Jia had planned. "You are so thoughtful, you saved the mother and daughter." Liu Yuan didn't say much. Just said, I know about brother Duan Wang's situation. I will arrange people to rescue them right away. You stay with me, and I will pick them up when the time comes. The court is basically finished, and the empress has no chance of turning the tables. All it takes is a fuse, and the ship of Da Qian will sink. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Yuan felt a pain in his ribs. He looked down and saw Xiaoji and Jia punching him angrily. He grimaced in pain. Is it wrong for me to tell the truth? Don't say bad things about the empress, Xiaoji and Jia said angrily. Zhang Wei and Xiaoji pretended not to see anything. This couple is really interesting. One refuses to tell anyone and the other can't guess when they start to make a fuss. It's like they are flirting and they are determined to get this thing to death. Master Lu, I can't stay here. I have to go and assist His Majesty. Xiaoji didn't dare to miss the opportunity to show his loyalty. But he still knelt down and kowtowed 3 times to Li Yuan respectfully. Thank you Master Lu for saving my life. As he said this, he burst into tears. No one knew what he had endured these days. He didn't even ask for help, but Li Yuan took the initiative to rescue his father. That kind of touching feeling was definitely not just talk. Get up, Lu Yuan pulled him up. Brother Duan Wang and I are close friends regardless of age difference. I will not stand idly by when he is in trouble. If you can't make it in the future, I will always be open to you and your son. Chao Jin nodded heavily. Soon, Li Yuan brought the mother and daughter back home. As soon as he entered the door, he shouted loudly, Mom, come out quickly, look who I brought here. Mother? Not to mention Xiaoji and Jia. Even Xiaoji was stunned. Wasn't Master Lu's mother burned to death in a fire set by the new party members? Why is there another woman here? Could it be that Master Lu has a godmother in Biaoyang? How come he hasn't heard of it? Xiaoji and Jia was also confused. Just then, a middle-aged woman came out and asked, What are you yelling about? Li Yuan hurriedly said to Huan Huan, Girl, that's your grandma. Huan Huan looked at Suexayui and smiled sweetly. Grandma? Suexayui was stunned. She looked at the little thing in Li Yuan's arms, shuddered, and covered her mouth in disbelief. She is Huan Huan. Li Yuan nodded and said proudly, Mom, I told you that I would definitely find them. Look, isn't that what I promised? Oh, Grandma's baby. Suexayui was so excited that she ran up quickly and carefully hugged Huan Huan. She was so surprised that she kept staring at Huan Huan. It looks alike. It really looks like Ling Zhi when he was a child. He is very cute. You can tell at a glance that he is from our Lu family. In fact, Suexayui still had doubts about what Li Yuan said. After all, the probability of getting it right in one go was too low. But now that I see the child, that slight doubt is gone. How could she not see that it was her own child? She was also moved to tears. But boy, Grandma has finally seen you. As she spoke, she looked at the woman beside Lu Yuan and said, You must be Ji and Jia, right? I heard from Shuoan that it was our Lu family who let you down and made you suffer. Suexayui held her hand, unable to stop crying. What a good child, you have suffered so much in the past 5 years. Don't worry. From now on, you and Huan Huan are the treasures of our Lu family. If this brat dares to bully you, I will sever the mother-son relationship with him. Chapter 80, A Belated Confession. Chao Ji stood there in a daze. Chao Ji and Jia was even more confused. Didn't Lu Qiushan say that his family members had been burned to death and that he buried them with his own hands? So who is this woman? Come on, child. Come in quickly. Suexayui pulled Xiaoji and Jia walked in. She was sensitive and felt uncomfortable when she thought of the grievances Xiaoji and Jia had suffered over the years. When Xiaoji and Jia came back to her senses, her first thought was that Lu Qiushan had deceived her. But if you think about it carefully, the fire is real. Then there is only one reason. A new party set fire, and Liu Su arrived in time to save Suexayui. It is true that Lu Qiushan was heartbroken, and it is also true that Liu Su wanted revenge. The reason for concealing it is very simple, to protect the family. It's all over. Xiaoji and Jia felt a little nervous, even more anxious than meeting Lu Qiushan. How are your family members? It's so chaotic outside right now. If they are still there, bring them all to Biaoliang, Suexayui said. Don't be embarrassed. We are all family. My parents are both gone. Xiaoji and Jia's eyes dimmed. What a poor child. Suexayui felt even worse. From now on, I will take care of you as if you were my own daughter. This sincere emotion made Xiaoji and Jia a little overwhelmed, but she still said, Aunt, thank you for your kind. I'm not like what you think. I just happened to have a child with him, and I have no feelings for him at all. This time I sent the child here because Biaoliang is safe. Now that the child has been sent, I will leave tomorrow. Suexayui was stunned, and then looked at Li Yuan with unfriendly eyes. Stinky boy, why don't you come over and comfort me? Li Yuan stepped forward with a bitter face. It's useless. I can't persuade her. She has the temper of a cow. She is so stubborn. You said no before I even tried to persuade you. Do you understand that a good girl is afraid of being pestered by a man? In the Lu family, the father has always been kind and the mother is strict. If Suexayui said she would fight, she would really fight. She slapped Li Yuan in anger and said, I'm telling you. Jia is leaving from now on. Don't call me mom, I'm leaving with her. Li Yuan took a deep breath and said to Xiao Jia, I want to keep you here, not only because you are Huan's mother, but also because I have you in my heart. During the 2 months you were away, I couldn't eat or sleep. All I could think about was you and the kids. I was so upset when I let you go last time. I thought about you for 5 years, but when you appeared in front of me, I never confessed my love to you seriously. You don't know what I mean. It would be inappropriate to stay here rashly. At this point, Li Yuan paused. Now, I promise you in front of my mother and everyone else that I, Li Yuan, just want to marry you and take care of you and your children for the rest of my life. If you can't accept it for the time being, I can give you time to understand me. I have waited for you for 5 years, and I am not afraid of waiting for another 5 years. You and I are still young, and we have many more 5 years to spend together in the future. I, Li Yuan, swear to heaven that what I just said is from the bottom of my heart. If I lie, I will be struck by lightning. Chang Wei and Xiaoji looked at each other and couldn't help laughing. Onggu curled her lips, held the saber with red eyes, and turned her head away. Suexayui nodded in satisfaction. That's more like it. Men of the Lu family should be brave enough to take responsibility for their actions. These sincere words of love swept into Xiao Jianjia's heart without any warning, creating a storm. Xiao Jianjia suppressed her jealousy. And for a moment, she really wanted to nod. In fact, Li Yuan was really good to her. He was not on guard, had no suspicion, and did his best to be good to her and the child. Do you remember what I told you before? Xiao Jianjia said calmly. I said, as long as you are willing to help Da Qian and really be your wife, I am willing to. Now, everyone is here, I just want you to tell me the truth. Do you want to be a rebel or uphold justice? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present couldn't help but look at Li Yuan. Especially Shang Wei and Xiao Ji. Li Yuan's next words were related to their future attitude towards Biao Yang. Shang Wei actually didn't care. The Da Qian chariot had been running for 200 years and had already reached the point of collapse. It was harder than ascending to heaven to uphold justice. Even if it is supported. Will it be the world of Da Qian or the world of the new party? Is there any way out for these military generals? No, most of his fear of Xiao Jianjia was just pretend. In his heart, he even secretly hoped that the world would be in chaos. With Li Yuan's strength, if he really reaches that level, it will be easy for him to conquer the world. Shang Wei was not destined to be an emperor, but he could be a loyal minister in the future. He might be granted a title of nobility, appointed as prime minister, or be crowned a king. But Xiao Ji was different. He begged in his heart, Master Lu, please, don't go against my sister. Onggu suppressed the sadness in her heart and couldn't help but snorted coldly. This woman really knows how to think. Doesn't she think that she is really more important than Bai Liang? Even if Li Yuan agreed, the people below would not agree. The vast majority of the people in Biaoyang County are the people who are oppressed by the world and cannot survive. Why should they be loyal to the court? Where was the court when they were freezing and starving? Where was the imperial court when they were burned, killed and looted by the barbarians? Where was the imperial court when the disaster victims were displaced? Li Yuan was silent. Suexayui was so angry. Why don't you speak? Why are you hesitating at this time? Li Yuan sighed and shook his head. Sorry, I can't do what you said. Chan Wei was overjoyed. This was the result he wanted. Xiaoji's face was also filled with pain. He covered his face and asked, why? Honggu even laughed. Suexayui was stunned. Stinky boy, what do you want to do? After hearing this, Xiao Jianjia was also extremely disappointed. I understand. From now on, you go your way and I go mine. Li Yuan's answer broke her heart. It felt like he had given her hope, but then destroyed it with his own hands. It made her broken and tired heart even more weary. Biaoyang County is what it is today. Not with a single cent from the Da Qian court. It was built brick by all the Biaoyang people, with their blood and sweat. When they fled here, it was not them who abandoned the court, but the court that abandoned them. You asked me to be loyal to the emperor and the court, but I can't do it. However, I don't want to be a traitor, but I don't want to get involved in Da Qian's mess either. Li Yuan said seriously. So you can rest assured that I will not take advantage of the empress's misfortune, let alone those poor people. But if one day the Da Qian court really collapses, I don't know whether the new court will take action against Biaoyang. No matter who it is, if they dare to attack Biaoyang, they must be prepared for destruction. Biaoyang just wants to live a good life. The lives of outsiders have nothing to do with us. But whoever dares to offend me will be killed by me. Are you satisfied with this answer? Chapter 81. We are all your backers. Xiao Ji quickly stepped forward and knelt on the ground. Master Lu, please help Da Qian. Looking at Xiao Ji kneeling on the ground, Li Yuan sighed. Da Qian's illness is so serious that it's useless to save him. Unless you start over again. And start over again, then you will be the greatest hero of Da Qian, Xiao Ji said. Li Yuan shook his head. Reorganizing Daqian is more difficult than conquering the world again, do you understand? The Xiao family has an unshakable responsibility for the world becoming what it is today. Xiao Ji, I once taught you that this world does not belong to one family or one surname. If your family cannot rule the world, someone else will always take over. I have already said that I will not extend my hand to Biaoyang Pass. This is not only because of our old friendship, but also because I don't want my compatriots to go to war. Of course, I know you won't stay and will return to the emperor. You have your position and I have my responsibility. I understand you, and please understand me. He helped the sad Xiao Ji up and said, however, you can still cooperate with Biaoyang and buy the supplies you need from Biaoyang, not just daily necessities but also profitable goods. As long as the price is right, I can sell weapons to you. Xiao Ji was stunned for a moment, then he tightly grasped Lu Yuan's hand. Really, Master Lu, are you still willing to support me? Although the world is in chaos, business still needs to be done. This is all I can do, Lu Yuan said. Thank you. Xiao Ji hugged Lu Yuan tightly. Xiao Ji and Jia also had a blank expression on her face and refused to help either side. This was Lu Yuan's attitude. Although it was not what she expected, at least she would not be backstabbed by Lu Yuan. Once Lu Yuan enters the game, Daqian will fall apart in an instant. Moreover, they can continue to do business with Lu Yuan and purchase the weapons and supplies they need from Biaoyang. This means that they have a stable channel to grow themselves. Zhang Wei is intimidated by Lu Yuan and will not rashly turn against him, so they have a stable situation in Tongshu. With that in mind, the situation is improving. Okay, Lu Yuan, I believe you. If you stab His Majesty in the back, I will hate you forever. Xiao Ji and Jia raised her hand. I-5. Lu Yuan looked at Xiao Ji and Jia, who was serious. I actually don't want to tie feelings and interests together. Do you really have to force me? Do you want me to feel that this is a deal between us? Xiao Ji and Jia didn't dare to look into Lu Yuan's eyes. I have no feelings for you as long as you keep your promise. I thank you. Oh, the court is more important to you than me and our family. I understand. Lu Yuan stepped forward and patted her hand heavily. As you wish. The moment the two palms came together, Xiao Ji and Jia felt that Lu Yuan suddenly changed. You are the same, saying one thing and doing another. Where do you put me? Xiao Ji and Jia looked at Lu Yuan stubbornly. In fact, you and I are both equally stubborn. You have your responsibilities. And I have my persistence. Lu Yuan looked at the thin Xiao Ji and Jia, who was much thinner than the last time he came. There were two more panda eyes on her flawless white face. I changed my mind. Xiao Ji and Jia's breathing stagnated, and she clenched her fists in anger. Lu Yuan, are you a man? You even go back on your word in front of your aunt? Isn't it clear to you whether I am a man or not? Lu Yuan smiled faintly. I don't want to contact Xiao Jiji when doing business in the future, so you can do it. Zhang Wei sighed imperceptibly. He thought Lu Yuan had changed his mind. Xiao Ji breathed a sigh of relief, then secretly winked at Xiao Ji and Jia. This was a good thing. Lu Yuan is a man of principles. Even if it is them, he will never show mercy to those who deserve to be killed. But facing Xiao Ji and Jia, he couldn't be cruel. Xiao Ji and Jia snorted. I'm not from the imperial court, how can I do business with you? Lu Yuan did not expose her. Liu Su checked all the officials in the Ministry of Revenue, but did not find anyone named Xiao Ji and Jia, so either Xiao Ji and Jia changed her surname, or she was not a family member of an official in the Ministry of Revenue. Then I don't care anyway, I only recognize you. Lu Yuan said, the child is still so young. You won't not come to see the child for several years, right? Well, okay. Xiao Ji and Jia nodded reluctantly. Seeing that the discussion was almost over, Su Xiuyue said, all right, let's not talk about this anymore. Today is the happy day of our reunion. I'll cook. She did not ask Lu Yuan whether he would continue to be loyal to Daqian or start a new business. She is not stupid. She sees everything that happens in Biaoyang Prefecture. This is beyond the authority of a county magistrate. Just at this moment, Lu Lingzhi also came back and rushed in as soon as she entered the house. Mom, brother, where are my sister-in-law and niece? Here it is. Su Xiuyue said hurriedly, look at our little baby. Lu Lingzhi was also very excited. She first walked to Xiao Ji and Jia and bowed. Hello, sister-in-law, I am Lingzhi. Xiao Ji and Jia couldn't help but smile when she saw this innocent little girl. I'm Xiao Ji and Jia. Lu Lingzhi hugged her directly. Sister-in-law, I've wronged you over the years. As he said this, he actually started crying. Xiao Ji and Jia was a little at a loss. If Su Xiuyue was like this, why was Lu Lingzhi also like this? Are all the women in the Lu family so light-eyed? But they are crying for themselves. Why do I feel inexplicably moved? Stop crying, it's over. It was hard for Xiao Ji and Jia not to like this mother and daughter no matter what Lu Yuan was like. They were sincere to her. Father, if you treat my sister-in-law badly in the future, I won't forgive you. Lu Lingzhi raised her fist, then walked to Huan crying. Huan baby, I am your aunt. A little guy was not afraid of strangers at all. Instead, he comforted Lu Lingzi. Auntie? Be good and don't cry. My mother said that children who cry a lot are little bastards. Lu Lingzi was amused by her, pinched her cheeks, and said with shining eyes, so good. Then, the mother and daughter couldn't stop surrounding Huan and asked Lu Yuan to cook for them. Just at this time, Lu Yang, who had not returned from Taishan County for a few days, also came back. Before he could figure out what was going on, Suexiyue kicked him into the kitchen. The two brothers stared at each other. Brother? Who is that outside? My sister-in-law, my niece. Well, don't just stand there, wash the vegetables, Lu Yuan said depressedly. Liang scratched his head and laughed foolishly. Hey, I have a little niece. Lu Yuan's cooking skills are pretty good, and it was his cooking that became popular in Biaoyang. Soon, a table full of dishes was prepared. Xiao Jianjia's bowl was filled with dishes, all of which were picked by Suexiyue. The enthusiasm was overwhelming for her, yet also extremely heartwarming. She grew up in the palace and had never experienced such a humane dinner party. The last time this happened was more than 10 years ago. Jianjia, the child's father is not here, I will say something for him, Suexiyue said. We in the Lu family only recognize you as our daughter-in-law. No matter how good others are, we will not recognize them. From now on, this is your home. We are all your supporters. Chapter 82, I'll cut out of you and let you see. Thank you, Annie. It would be a lie to say that I wasn't touched. Who doesn't want to be treated sincerely? Even that bastard Lu Yuan couldn't deceive me. Suexiyue smiled. Huan, who was standing beside her, held a chicken leg in one hand and a pig's trotter in the other. Grandma aunt, eat. You greedy little cat, why is your mouth full of food? Suexiyue hurriedly took out a handkerchief to wipe Huan's mouth. Seeing the little guy being loved by everyone, Xiao Jianjia also breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that she had come to the right decision this time. As Suexiyue and Lu Lingzi taking care of her, Huan would not be left alone even if Lu Yuan was busy. She is indeed not a qualified mother. She often leaves her child alone and doesn't even notice when the child is being bullied. This meal was warm and satisfying. That night, Suexiyue and Lu Lingzi took the child away, saying that they wanted to cultivate their relationship. Now they no longer have Lu Yuan and Lu Yang in their eyes. Being alone with Xiao Jianjia, Lu Yuan felt a little nervous. Except for the first time we met, it seemed like I was with Huan all the time. Sleeping? Xiao Jianjia was so angry that she just told Lu Yuan to get lost and went back to her room. Lu Yuan slapped himself in anger. What a good opportunity, I just missed it. Lu Yuan couldn't sleep that night. But Xiao Jianjia put aside the heavy things in her mind and slept soundly. Huan played wildly with grandma and aunt until late at night before falling into a deep sleep. The nights in Biaoyang are very cold, but the room is as warm as spring. The next day, Xiao Jianjia and Xiao Ji left, and although they were reluctant, they did not delay. Because in the future, she will do business with Biaoyang on behalf of the Daqian court. In the future, the number of round trips will increase. Royal sister, actually Master Lu asked you to contact him because he wants to help you, Xiao Ji said. I know. Xiao Jianjia leaned back on the cushion and closed her eyes. She had long since replaced her carriage with a high-end one produced in Biaoyang. It was spacious, sturdy, stable, and could be used to make tea around the stove. So no matter how cold it was outside, it would not affect the inside. Lu Yuan's small gesture inadvertently warmed her heart. Even she herself didn't know why she was so happy. Chang Wei has ulterior motives. We must be careful of him, Xiao Jianjia said, before we turn the tide. We must not provoke him. Xiao Ji nodded. This time he came to Biaoyang, there were huge changes. Northern Liang is independent. Chang Wei stopped pretending and this time, he did not escort them and stayed alone in Biaoyang. In fact, it is exactly as Xiao Jianjia said. Chang Wei met Lu Yuan alone and knelt on the ground. Lu Yuan was startled. Brother Shang, what are you doing? Brother Lu, I have something to ask of you. We have such a relationship, is it necessary to do this? Lu Yuan hurried over to help him, but Shang Wei was unwilling to get up. Brother Shang, and tell me what's the matter. I will try my best to do what I can. If I can't do it, don't blame me. Shang Wei's been taken care of by Brother Lu over the years. If not for this, Biaoyang Pass would have collapsed long ago. He was saved by his younger brother during the previous barbarian attack. At that time, I vowed to serve you. Now, Daqian and Diaxia are about to collapse, and only Biaoyang is a paradise. Shang Wei begged Brother Lu to accept Biaoyang Pass. As he said this, Shang Wei actually kowtowed directly. Lu Yuan frowned. Brother Shang, you also heard the conversation between Jianjia and I yesterday. By doing this, aren't you making me break my promise? I surrendered to you, not Brother Lu. How could you break your promise? Please have mercy on the hundreds of thousands of soldiers and their families at Biaoyang Pass. In this chaotic world, Only you can lead us out of this predicament." As he said this, Shang Wei knocked hard again. "Other Shang, aren't you harming me? If you don't tell me and I don't tell you, who will know?" Shang Wei asked. "Do you really have to wait until the day when Da Qian is destroyed before you are willing to take us in?" He was also complaining in his heart. This couple was really interesting. One became a traitor but still put up a memorial archway for herself, and the other was on the verge of losing her country but was still unwilling to bow her head and ask her husband for help. For a moment, he told Li Yuan the truth regardless of everything. But thinking that the two of them would eventually sleep in the same bed, according to the attitude of the old lady of the Lu family, she would pamper the empress to the sky. One dare not offend, the other cannot afford to offend. It really tortured him to death. Da Qian is doomed anyway. And there's no future in relying on the empress, so it's okay to rely on the empress's husband, right? As a result, his head was about to be cracked, but Li Yuan was still reserved. "If you don't agree, I will die here." Shang Wei took the risk and started knocking his head against the wall. "Brother Shang, are you serious?" Seeing Shang Wei knocked unconscious on the ground, Li Yuan was also confused, and hurriedly moved him to a recliner beside him. "Brother Shang, why are you doing this?" Shang Wei said in a daze. "Brother Lu, I am the same as you. I am unwilling to work for this damn court. And my brothers are also unwilling. But if you ask me to defect to the enemy country, I don't want to be a traitor. I proclaimed myself king. And I knew my own capabilities. If I ruined the lives and future of my brothers, I, Shang Wei, would be a sinner for all eternity. Please be kind, I'll take it as a request from you." Li Yuan was also tangled. Okay. Isn't it enough for me to promise you?" "Really?" Shang Wei was excited. Li Yuan nodded and said, "On weekdays, everything will go on as usual. I will slowly shift the resources secretly. You should slowly reform according to the pace of Biaoyang Prefecture, and when the time is right, Biaoyang Pass will be an important town under the command of Biaoyang Prefecture." "Okay, that's great," Shang Wei nodded. Li Yuan finally agreed. If the empress called for him in the future, he would have the confidence to refuse. Let the couple quarrel. It had nothing to do with him. He rolled over and got off the recliner, kneeling on the ground again. Shang Wei kowtowed to the master. This time, Li Yuan did not retreat and accepted his bow. This bow also determined the identities of the two people. Li Yuan is the master and Shang Wei is the minister. In fact, Biaoyang Li Yuan was also very conflicted, and it would be a lie to say that he was not jealous. Now the little ice age has begun to take effect in Da Qian, and it is only a matter of time before problems arise in Diaxi and Dajing. By then, the world will be in complete chaos, with warlords dividing the country. And the chaotic times will most likely continue for decades. Where will Shang Wei go? Just let him dominate right under your nose? At that time, let alone being brothers, we will have to be on guard against him stabbing us in the back at any time. After taking Diaxia Pass and Biaoyang Pass, only Dajing Pass remained. By then, surrounded by 3 towns, Biaoyang Prefecture will be the safest place in the world, easy to defend but difficult to attack. Without a million-strong army, there is no way to break through. Hurry up, Lao Shang. Li Yuan no longer called him brother, but changed it to a more intimate yet respectful name. Hurry up, take Lao Shang down for treatment. Chapter 83. You are going too far. In this era of great strife, Li Yuan must make plans early. Biaoyang County is a good place. But when viewed from a high vantage point, it is just a small basin surrounded by mountains. This place is extremely barren. Therefore, having only 3 important cities is not enough. Biaoyang must be developed near water and the sea. There are no rivers passing through Biaoyang Pass and Diaxia Pass, but Dajing Pass has a large Jingyang River that flows directly into the East China Sea. Biaoyang has all kinds of troops except navy. This is a shortcoming that must be made up. Li Yuan looked at the map, and the more he looked at Dajing Wan, the more envious he became. Not only did the Jingyang River flow into the East China Sea, it was also very convenient for trade. Fisheries can also be developed to enrich the residents' diet. But you can't get fat in one bite. Biaoyang Wan needs to digest the dividends of this war. He also wanted to see how the great Xio court would react. After the Diaxia Pass was broken, Emperor Xi immediately sent envoys to Dajing, and then entered Da Qian from Dajing. In the palace, Prime Minister Yang Ji, who was also the regent, received the envoys from the 2 countries. The envoys on this mission were Gong Sunming, the Shao King of the Honglu Temple of Diaxia, and Zhang Xian, a man from Ping'an County of Dajing. The 2 envoys have come from far away. I am sorry for not welcoming you in person. Yang Ji bowed and apologized. But he was extremely alert in his heart at a time like this. What good could come from the envoys of the 2 countries coming together? Lord Yang, I'm here on behalf of His Majesty to congratulate the new emperor on his accession to the throne. Gong Sunming smiled. When he was on a diplomatic mission to Dajing, he persuaded the emperor of Dajing, which led to Zhang Xian coming along. The pressure from the two countries was more deterrent than that from Diaxi alone. Thank you, Lord Gong's son, Yang Ji smiled. Please give my regards to the Emperor of Diaxia. Your Majesty has not been doing well lately. Gong Sun Ming's smile slowly faded, and he tapped his fingers on the table. Does Lord Yang know why? Yang Ji was confused. There had been no war in the Three Kingdoms in the past 2 years. Even if there had been, it was just a minor friction at the border. How is it bad? Master Yang, don't pretend to be ignorant when you know the truth. Gong Sun Ming snorted coldly. Don't you know what your Dakian did? Master Yang, we are all smart people. Some words will become meaningless if we explain them too clearly. Zhang Yexan put down his teacup and said unhappily. Yang Ji frowned. You two can speak directly if you have anything to say. I really don't know how I have offended the emperors of the two countries. In recent years, the Three Kingdoms have been living in peace. Could it be that the two of you have come all the way here just to blackmail Dakian? Dakian was not brought up to be scared. Even though he looks tough now, he is actually very nervous inside. How could he not know what the current situation in the country is? Gong Sun Ming and Zhang Yexan looked at each other and became even angrier. Lord Yang, even if you are the victorious party, you can't look down on us like this, right? Diaxia is not a soft persimmon that you can manipulate at will. Yes, now the two countries have reached an alliance and are united against external foes. Lord Yang, no matter how powerful your Dakian is, you can't fight the two countries alone, right? Zhang Yexan said. Yang Ji had a bewildered look on his face. He looked at the cabinet ministers behind him. The others also had puzzled expressions on their faces. What winning side? What are they all talking about? You too, what are you talking about? Yang Ji was now more and more certain that these two countries were taking advantage of Dakian's weakness to blackmail him. Do you really think that Dakian can be easily controlled by you? In that case, let's be frank and speak frankly about what you want. No, we have to keep them calm and not give them the chance to lose their temper. If a war breaks out, there will be internal and external troubles, and Dakian will not be able to withstand the attack from both countries. Wouldn't it be over if you had said so earlier? Zhang Yexan said. First, release Princess Changning. If the princess loses even a hair, Dajing will definitely fight to the death with Dakian. Second, release my General Dajing to break the mountain. Third, apologize. Fourth, dismiss the Biaoyang County Magistrate Lu Yuan from his post, then send him to Dajing for punishment. As long as these four requirements are met, the two countries will reconcile. All the cabinet ministers were confused. What is going on? At this time, Gong Sunming also said, our request is also very simple. First, release Princess Yongla. The princess is the apple of our Majesty's eye. If even a hair of her is missing, there will be no end to the fight. Secondly, release King Jianxia Li Quniang, the defender of Diaxia Pass Chen Yuan, and nearly 500 soldiers and civilians. Return Diaxia Pass, apologize, and cede Biaoyang County. Finally, the Biaoyang County Magistrate Lu Yuan was dismissed from his post. His scapula was pierced and he was sent to Diaxia to be punished. Appeal is what we, Diaxia, demand. If you can do this, I will forgive you for the past. Yang Ji clenched his fists and said, your princess is not with you in your country. Why would she come to our Dakian for no reason? What does it have to do with our Dakian? Your prince and general of Dajing is missing, and you are blackmailing us. Even if you wanna blackmail me, could you at least make some credible demands? Yang Ji felt that he was quite tolerant, unless he couldn't help himself. These people are going too far. He stood up and said angrily, your Diaxia Pass is known as the most powerful pass in the Three Kingdoms. No one has ever breached it in 100 years. How come it was occupied by our Dakian? If Dakian really had such strength, would I still be sitting here listening to your nonsense? Besides, Biaoyang County is a broken place with barbarians wreaking havoc. 3 county magistrates die every year and no one has dared to take office for many years. Or can I find you a county magistrate named Lu Yuan? Should I dig it out of the soil for you? This is really too much. Do you think I, Yang Ji, am a 3-year-old child who can be bullied by you at will? That's right, it's too much. Dakian has never sent out troops, so how can they break through Diaxia Pass? They also plundered 500,000 soldiers and civilians. It's a huge joke. Who doesn't know that Pa Shan is the most powerful general in Dajing? We haven't even seen his shadow. How could he be in Dakian? Chen Yuan is the commander of Diaxia Pass, and Li Quniang is Diaxia's #1 military god. If we want to break through Diaxia Pass, what can we do without 500 troops? But the change of the ruler, Dakian has no time to do things like making enemies everywhere. You just want to blackmail Dakian. Why do you come up with so many excuses that humiliate people's intelligence? The cabinet ministers were also filled with indignation and were all very angry. I've seen things that are excessive, but I've never seen anything this excessive. This is no longer extortion, it is blatant robbery. Zhang Yexan said angrily, Yang Ji, You have to think carefully. If you continue to act crazy and stupid, the two countries will definitely send troops to attack Dakian. If the princess had not been captured by you, he would have taken action long ago. Why would we negotiate with you in such a humble manner? Don't be ungrateful. You can't afford the consequences. Gong Sunming's expression was extremely ugly. It seems that you are planning to play dumb to the end. Elder Yang, it seems that you really think that you have us in your hands, right? Since you have no intention of negotiating, let's go to war. Chapter 80. For no such person exists. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became tense. After hearing the word war, the arrogance of the cabinet ministers was immediately extinguished. Master Yang, we can't start a war. Yes, it would be troublesome if we fought at this time. Da Jing and his men couldn't bear it anymore. If Daxia came again, it would lead to the destruction of the country. The powers of the civil and military officials in Daxia are divided, and the capital values honors and nobles. Can their new party have any future? Yang Ji suppressed his anger and forced himself to sit down. Xia and Jing are indeed powerful, but Dakian will not let others bully them at will. What you two said is too outrageous. I have never heard of it in Biu Jingji. Although Dakian is facing some difficulties now, if this matter gets out, it will definitely arouse public indignation. Even if we fight to the last soldier, Dakian will not surrender. Gong Sunming's face became increasingly ugly. Damn. He didn't expect Yang Ji to be so tough. You are not going to return the princess, release King Jiangxia and Chen Yuan, and are determined to fight to the death with my great Xia, right? How can I release you if I haven't returned it? Yang Ji couldn't stand it anymore. This was too much. Bullshit, Gong Sunming said angrily. The princess is in Biaoyang County, and you people are treating her like a slave, ordering her around. It's ridiculous, really ridiculous. Yang Ji laughed angrily. The population of Biaoyang County is less than 2,000. How could they capture your princess? Could it be that the barbarians attacked Daxia? Are you going to put the blame on me, Dakian? Zhang Xian was furious and said, you guys have wiped out the barbarians, and you're still playing dumb. He felt that this old guy was just showing off. Just teasing them. You see, it's getting more and more outrageous. The late emperor had suffered several losses from the barbarians when he was alive, and he kept complaining before he died if the barbarians were so easy to deal with. Why would the late emperor have been so worried? Yang Ji slapped the table and said, one moment you say that Dakian has captured your princesses, princes, and generals, the next moment you say that he has occupied your cities, and now you say that we have wiped out the barbarians. In a little while, will your emperor be captured by our Dakian? I'll say it one last time, I Dakian don't agree with what you said. See a visitor out. In fact, Yang Ji had already prepared himself mentally. If the two countries wanted to take advantage of him, as long as it was not too excessive, he would accept it. The three powers maintained a three-way balance of power for 200 years. Dakian was once prosperous. Even though its national fortune is declining now, it cannot be destroyed easily. The first conversation ended unpleasantly. After the envoys from the two countries left the palace, Gong Sunming said with a sad face, Yang Ji thinks he has enough martial virtues and doesn't seem to take us seriously at all. Zhang Xian gritted his teeth and said, the country of Dakian is like a boiling fire. I don't believe he really dares to fight to the death. This is ruining the country's destiny. Not really. Gong Sunming took a deep breath and said worriedly, Li Yuan has only 30,000 people, and he dared to fight against the two countries. And he made us suffer such a big loss. Don't forget that he has hundreds of thousands of troops at Biaoyang Pass behind him. How do you know that Dakian has no trump card? On the contrary, I think this is Yang Ji's conspiracy. The purpose is for us to send troops. You mean, he has the ambition to conquer the world? Zhang Xian was horrified and took a breath of cold air. Look, Li Yuan exterminated the barbarians and provoked the war, which happened to be the time when the leader of Dakian changed. There is no coincidence between the two. Do you believe it? Gong Sunming analyzed. Now, the empress is missing. Yang Ji is both the chief minister of the cabinet and the regent, and supporting Xiao Yi is just a puppet. All the power of Dakian is in his hands. Isn't this holding the emperor hostage and controlling the princes? There are reports that more than a month ago, a mysterious force killed more than a dozen core members of the new party. In my opinion, this was done by Yang Ji to eliminate dissidents. The Dakian new party is in power, but there are bound to be different voices within it. Now Yang Ji has completed all preparations. If he wins one more game, his prestige will be enough to change the world. The more Zhang Xian listened, the more he thought it made sense. You're right. If we win again, it will buy Dakian 20 years of recuperation time. This Yang Ji is very cunning. We thought he was playing dumb, but in fact he was playing us in the palm of his hand. The two looked at each other and smiled bitterly. So what do we talk about next? Let's stick to the original plan. If we can't defeat Biaoyang Pass, what about the other passes of Dakian? It's impossible for everyone to be Lu Yuan, right? Gong Sun Ming said in a deep voice, we must suppress Da Qian's momentum otherwise. When Da Qian recovers and solves its internal problems, both Jing Xie and the other two countries will suffer. Yes, Zhang Xian nodded. Yang Ji calmed down at this time. Tell me, what should we do next? The cabinet ministers all looked at each other, and no one dared to stand up and speak. At this time, Feng Hui, the Grand Secretary of Jinshen Palace, said, in fact, I think that the envoys from these two countries have come from afar, and maybe they are not necessarily trying to blackmail us. Yang Ji looked over and asked, what do you mean? First, a number of soldiers and supplies needed for war is not small according to spies. The harvests in Diaxi and Dajing have not been good in recent years. The people are starving and there are many natural disasters. So we shouldn't start a war rashly. If I were a person from the two dynasties, I would definitely go for money, food and land. Not for any princess. This kind of lie will be exposed easily and will make others laugh if it is told. The most important thing is that they not only said it, but also took it seriously. They didn't want money or food. The most excessive thing they did was to ask for the cession of Biayang County. That place has long been an enclave and has been controlled by the barbarians. What's the point of going there? Unless they build a city in Biaoyang County, they can threaten Biaoyang Pass. So, I think about the many and reasonable things carefully. Maybe there are things we don't know. Everyone started thinking about it. Yang Ji also suddenly realized, did Shang Wei reply? No, the letter was sent a month ago. It should have arrived by now, replied a university scholar. Zhao soldiers and civilians. This time, he supported Xiao Yi to become emperor, and sent invitations to all the generals in the border towns across the country, asking them to come to Biu Jingji to attend the coronation ceremony. This was also to find out their attitude towards the court and take the opportunity to consolidate power. In recent years, the new party has controlled 70 of the world's military forces, but this does not include Biaoyang Pass. Because Biaoyang is too far away from Biu Jingji, the new party's influence has not had time to extend there. Quick! Have someone look up all the previous county magistrates of Biaoyang County and see if there is anyone named Liu Yuan. Yang Ji seemed to have thought of something and gave the order hurriedly. Soon, someone went to the Ministry of Personnel to inquire. After a full hour, the Minister of Personnel came forward and said, reporting to Mr. Yang, there is no file about Liu Yuan in the archives of the Ministry of Personnel. Chapter 85, Writing can bring peace to the world. No, Yang Ji frowned. How could there be no? Indeed, there is none. I have read it several times and returned to report after checking thoroughly. Forget it if he doesn't have it. No one with the surname Lu is a good person. Yang Ji thought of Lu Qiuishan, who also had the surname Lu, and waved his hands impatiently. I personally still don't believe that Shang Wei has such great ability. If those rebellious people in the north had such strength, they would have swept the world long ago. Let's wait and see what these two countries really want to do. Feng Hui's analysis makes sense, but it is too shocking. Although the new party had deployed few people in the north, there were still some, so he thought there must be some conspiracy here. Recently, there are more and more disaster victims in the capital. They must avoid these troubles and wait until King Jin ascends the throne, and then everything will be settled. I don't believe that the Empress would allow Prince Duan to be executed. As soon as he finished speaking, a man rushed in. When entering the room, he even tripped over the threshold and fell flat on his face. The cry of pain immediately attracted the attention of everyone in the cabinet. Yang Ji frowned. Shang Sihe, why are you so flustered? The visitor was Shang Sihe, one of the 9 ministers, the minister of Dali Temple. Shang Sihe climbed up with great pain and said in a panic, Yang, Elder Yang, something big has happened. What's wrong? Yang Ji suddenly had a bad feeling. Xiaochai was jailbroken. Xiaochai is the name of Prince Duan. Hearing this, everyone in the cabinet exclaimed in surprise. Yang Ji felt even more dizzy. You useless guy. Wasn't he imprisoned in the dungeon? How could he be rescued? Dead. All the guards at Dali Temple are dead. Shang Si, he said in horror. Quick, block the city gates, dig 3 feet deep into the ground for me, and bring Xiaochai back. Yang Ji was trembling with anger. If Yang Ji was rescued, who would be judged on the day of the coronation ceremony? Do you want to find someone to pretend to be him? The Empress is nothing, Xiaochai is the key. The ministers left one after another, and orders were passed down one after another, and the entire Bau Kyoto became tense. The White Tiger Army went out in full force to conduct a carpet search. At this time, in a carriage, the extremely weak Prince Duan finally regained some strength after drinking a special nutrient solution. You, who are you? Prince Duan, you can just call me Blind Chen. The fortune teller next to him, who was wearing a Taoist robe and had a gold tooth in his mouth, replied. However, what impressed people most was his pair of eyes that looked like dead fish. They really made him look like a blind man. Yes, who asked you to rescue me? I've come here on the orders of the master to rescue Prince Duan. Blind Chen smiled. and all the wrinkles on his face came together, making him look particularly funny. Master? Prince Wan was stunned, but soon realized who the Prince Wan was that Blind Chen was talking about. Is it Brother Liu Yuan? Yes, Blind Chen nodded. Don't worry, we have escaped from Bau Jingji now, you are safe. I will take you to the next stop, and someone will escort you to meet the prince. Prince Wan thought he was dead, but unexpectedly, he was rescued on the eve of Xiao Yi's ascension to the throne. He forced himself to stand up and was about to salute Blind Chen. Mr. Chen, I will never forget your life-saving grace. You're too kind. We are only following orders. If you want to express gratitude, go thank the master. Blind Chen hurriedly grabbed Prince Wan's hand, preventing him from bowing. After some tugging, Prince Wan silently kept this kindness in his heart. Tong Shu. When Xiao Ji and Jia returned to Fuan County, Lu Qiushan had already conquered the entire county, and once again expanded his army by 1,000 men, and was sharpening his knives to attack the surrounding counties. When she came, she only had 700 or 800 people, but now, she has 3,000 people. Lu Qiushan trained the soldiers on the one hand and distributed grain and sorted out internal affairs on the other hand. His superb skills really amazed Xiao Ji and Jia. Your Majesty has been away for less than half a month. I am incompetent and have only conquered Fuan County and half of Shuitan County. Please punish me, Your Majesty. Lu Qiushan's face was filled with shame, making Xiao Ji and Jia feel useless. Mr. Lu, you have done a great job. I am very satisfied. She was more than satisfied. Not only did she gain a firm foothold after the trip, but she also had a place to live in a county and a half. This was beyond her expectations. You know, she didn't give a single word of her 5 million upels of silver to Lu Qiushan, and he forcibly put the team together. Especially the account book in front of him, which recorded tens of thousands of she of grain, various weapons. She felt that reusing Lu Qiushan was definitely the best thing she had ever done. However, when I came back, I heard that Songshu had been completely conquered by the rebels. We have to make plans early, Xiao Ji and Jia said, and this time, Lu King can recruit soldiers freely. I have a helper in Biaoyang who is engaged in business and can sell all kinds of weapons this time. I also brought back a batch of equipment that is enough to arm 1,000 people. Lu Qiushan was overjoyed. Really? In this case, I will recruit another 10,000 soldiers. Give me 3 days, and I can conquer 3 more counties. Why did it take Lao Lu only half a month to conquer 1.5 counties? Isn't it just to let the name of the Holy King spread? As long as the people approve, he can sweep across Tongshu. Give him a month, and he can take over the entire Tongshu. Xiao Ji and Jia nodded, not thinking that Lu Qiushan was bragging at all. My adoptive father-in-law is so capable. He can use his pen to bring peace to the world, and his military skills to build a country and stabilize the world. Mr. Lu, from now on, I will appoint you as the general of Zenbi. Your Majesty, I bow to thank you. Lu Qiushan bowed hurriedly. Xiao Ji and Jia did not doubt Lu Qiushan because he hid the truth from her. Instead, she trusted him even more. This man sent his wife and daughter away, and stayed here alone just for this reason. I cannot doubt him. As he was talking, a soldier came in hurriedly. Sima, the red cult from Shuitan County is attacking. There is a road to heaven but you don't take it. There is no door to hell but you break in. Lu Qiushan stroked his beard and tossed his sleeves and said, pass on my order, Sima, to completely take over Shuitan County today. Yes. The soldier came and left quickly. Although Lu Qiushan was the Minister of Revenue in General's NB, to the outside world he was just a Sima under the Holy King. Your Majesty, now that you have returned, you should command the 3 armies. As he spoke, Lu Qiushan took out a mask made of gold from his arms. I am sorry to ask you to wear this mask in the future tonight. Please cooperate with me in a play. Xiao Ji and Jia took the mask and put it on her face. The mask fit her perfectly and she looked mysterious. From this moment on, she is both the Empress of Daqian and the Holy King of Tongshu. Lu King, how can I cooperate with you? Lu Qiushan smiled and said, in the past few days, I have artificially created some auspicious signs in various places in Fuan County. I servants caught a white snake about 10 feet long, and I have stuffed a scroll of silk book into the snake's belly. It is rumored that there is a real dragon in Shuitan County, hence the name. And everyone believes in real dragons. Tonight, Your Majesty, please wield the sword to slay the white dragon and establish your name as the Holy King. Chapter Itexus, cutting hair to show determination. It is said that when Iziu Daqian was rising in power, he once rescued a stranded carp by the Qian River. The carp had 2 horns on its head, and was born with supernatural power. Street Azer released it into the river, and soon a red dragon rose to the sky, speaking in human language. Daqian Xing, Xiaowang. This is the story of Taiziyu riding a dragon to heaven. But Xiao Ji and Jia knew very well, but this was all fake and was only intended to create the illusion that Emperor Taiziyu was the man of destiny. Lu King, you are really resourceful. Behind the mask, Xiao Jianjia's expression was indescribably strange. She felt that she was becoming more and more like the leader of a rebellion. Soon, Xiao Jianjia led her troops to attack. She was dressed in a dark red tights and a golden mask. She slung a saber produced in Biaoyang across her shoulder. It was a top-grade steel saber that could cut through iron like mud. After sending Huan Huan away, she no longer had any worries. This time, she will rush to the front and take back everything she lost bit by bit. Grape, Watermelon and others also wore special masks, protecting Xiao Jianjia in the middle. A fierce fighting has already started ahead. This red sect is indeed extraordinary. They actually have an organized cavalry. Although there are less than 100 people, cavalry can naturally suppress cavalry. 100 cavalry are better than 1,000 soldiers. She knew that Biaoyang County had Motuo soldiers that were specifically designed to counter cavalry, but Lu Yuan was too stingy to sell them. Cavalry, charge. Xiao Jianjia gave an order, and the cavalry battalion composed of the Imperial Guards launched a fierce charge. Grape, Watermelon. Take your men to encircle me from both wings. Don't guard me. I'm not as fragile as you think, Xiao Jianjia said. But, Your Majesty. This is an order, Xiao Jianjia said in an irrefutable tone. This is no longer Bau Jinji from now on. I hope you will start a business with me from scratch and revive Daqian. Therefore, I need all of you to become capable generals in the future. You need to grow, and so do I. Xiao Jianjia did not call herself I. But I. She had put aside her inner pride and accepted the reality calmly. Li Yuan was right when he said that if Daqian wanted to change his fate, he had to accept it first. This is her fate, she accepts it. I will follow Your Majesty's orders. Xiao Pu'ao bowed and then looked at the secret guards. Tgua, you led Tao Zi and the others to flank from the left, and the rest of you follow me from the right wing. She urged her horse and rushed forward quickly. Xiao Jianjia took out a pistol from the bag on her waist. On the pistol, there was a word source engraved. This bastard is quite good at taking credit. She loaded the bullets skillfully on the way back. She had practiced it many times and could load the gun even with her eyes closed. Li Yuan also gave her tens of thousands of bullets, telling her not to feel sorry for them and to practice more when she has time. Xiao Ji was so envious that he would come to borrow a gun every now and then. But Xiao Jianjia refused to lend it. Li Yuan didn't agree to sell her the firearms, but he was willing to leave the best firearms for her to keep. It would be a lie to say that he was not touched. She held the gun in both hands and aimed it at the enemy in front of her. Her shooting skills were not very accurate, but the enemy targets were so large and densely packed. And if she shot inside, there would always be unlucky people who got it. In just a blink of an eye, Xiao Jianjia emptied the magazine. The recoil caused her palms to feel numb. But when she saw the enemy falling to the ground, not far away, Xiao Jianjia felt a little nervous and nauseous. But more excited, because this was the first time she had really killed someone. She suppressed her discomfort and loaded the gun again. There was another series of popping beans sounds. Soon, all the magazines she brought were emptied. She didn't know how many people she had killed, but she could feel the changes in herself. The inner weakness was dispelled at this moment. Run away, we are no match for them. A red sect was a motley crowd to begin with, and could not withstand the attack of the Imperial Guards in less than half an hour. They were slaughtered and begged for mercy. Another half an hour later, Xiao Jianjia looked at the red dress sect captives who were driven together, and there were more than 2,000 of them. This was her first time leading an army. And also her first major victory. Joy was boiling in my heart, sweeping away the gloom of these days. She held the horse reins and asked, "Is the leader of the red cult among them?" "Your Majesty, he has escaped," said Xiao Pu'ao. Chase. Xiao Jianjia didn't waste any time and led his men directly to the red cult's lair. The red sect, which had lost all its elite members, was now a thing of the past. Finally, the base camp was broken into and the red robe leader was executed on the spot by Xiao Jianjia, shocking everyone. Subsequently, more than 300 young girls were rescued from inside. Each of these girls was in dishevel, their bodies covered with bruises and blood, and it was obvious that they had suffered inhuman torture. The rescued girls' grateful eyes were empty, like an empty shell without a soul. Xiao Jianjia looked at them and couldn't help but think, if she didn't work hard, she might end up like them. "Do you want to protect yourselves?" Xiao Jianjia said with some pain. "If you do, then stand up and join us. I will give you weapons and train you to wipe out injustice and revive the country. Do you dare?" The numb expressions of the girls showed a hint of strangeness. They did not expect that the Holy King in front of them, wearing a golden mask, was actually a woman. In the government, all high-ranking officials are men. Do you dare to break the old rules with me? At this time, a young girl stood up and said with a firm look, "I dare." This voice was like thunder from the blue sky, exploding in the ears of the girls, giving them an outlet to vent their despair. Then, one after another, they shouted, "I dare." Their eyes are full of hatred. When hatred turns into motivation, they will be the most iron-blooded fighters. Who says women are inferior to men? She, Xiao Jianjia, just refused to believe it. She said, someone once told me that women in troubled times are worse than dogs, but I don't believe it. Why should women in troubled times become appendages of men? Just because we are naturally less strong than men? Does that mean we have to become their playthings just because we are pretty? If we are strong, will they still dare to bully us? Do they still dare to regard us as a burden? Xiao Jianjia grabbed her ponytail and cut it off with a saber. She held her hair high in her hand and said, I am shaving my hair today to tell you that if a man can do it, a woman can do it too. Grape, watermelon, peach and others didn't say anything. They drew their knives and cut off their hair. This scene stunned the girls. Xiao Jianjia threw the knife in front of them and said, cut your hair to show your determination. From now on, don't worry about the past, just focus on today. The girls didn't hesitate and took up the knives to cut their hair. Suddenly beautiful hair was all over the ground. Okay, Xiao Jianjia nodded. From today on, you will be called the Women's Army. Follow me to wipe out injustice and revive the country. Chapter 87, Welcoming the Holy King. But we won't collect any grain when the Holy King comes. Taking in these girls and establishing a women's army is Xiao Jianjia's fight against this world. Since ancient times, there has not been a woman who could stand up, rebuild the country, and create a prosperous era. She wanted to be the first person in the world. She took these girls and asked them to kill the people who had bullied them with their own hands. Everyone's hands are stained with the blood of their enemies. Xiao Jianjia could feel their changes. Just like her, they were reborn from the ashes. She personally conquered half of Shuitan County and wiped out the Red Dress sect. She no longer needs protection from others because she can protect herself. When Lu Qiushan and his men came over, Xiao Jianjia killed the white snake by the deep pool again and took out a scroll of silk from the snake's belly. The silk book says, when the Holy King appears, the world will be at peace. For a moment, everyone was shocked and knelt down to worship the Holy King. Although he was fooling the people, at that moment, Xiao Jianjia understood what it meant to hold power and what it meant to have the support of the people. Her prestige reached its peak by defeating the Red Sect and slaying the White Snake in the deep pool. Taking this opportunity, Xiao Jianjia renamed the army the White Snake Army, and also took the opportunity to promote the title of Holy King. In just 2 days, the news that the Holy King had killed the White Snake spread throughout the 2 counties and spread in Tongshu at an unimaginable speed. The other children in Tongshu all sang, Welcome the Holy King, look forward to the Holy King. When the Holy King comes, there will be no taxes or co-RVE. And the land will be equally distributed. Everyone in the people will praise him. Kill cattle and sheep, prepare wine, and welcome the Holy King with joy. Simple nursery rhymes are deeply rooted in people's hearts. In just a few days, 3 more counties were captured, and half of Tongshu fell into the hands of the White Snake Army. The name of the Holy King was at its peak and spread at a terrifying speed. A White Snake Army also snowballed from 3,000 people to 10,000 people. But most of them did not have any suitable weapons, and many of them could only train with wooden forks and sticks. If you want to take Tongshu, you must attack Tongshu Prefecture. However, Tongshu Prefecture has deep walls and high walls, and is one of the few prefectures with a moat. This is why Lu Qiushan took a liking to Tongshu at first sight. Although the water level in the moat has bottomed out due to drought, it can still hinder the army from attacking the city. Tongshu Prefecture also has a regular army of more than 3,000 people if civilians are recruited. A team of 10,000 people can be easily formed to defend the city. Without 30,000 to 50,000 men, it would be extremely difficult to attack the city. They didn't have any siege equipment, which made the situation even more difficult. What should we do? Xiao Jianjia looked at the people below. Is there any solution? I believe that no matter how strong a fortress is, it can only be breached from the inside. Lu Qiushan is no longer a vassal. As the territory becomes larger and larger, Xiao Jianjia has promoted many people now, whether in front of others or behind others. Xiao Jianjia is the Holy King. They can arrange for people to enter Tongshu Prefecture. We need to capture the leader first. As long as we capture the prefect of Tongshu and the general manager of the army, we can break into the city. This method is too reckless. Once it fails, there is no chance of survival. Besides, the prefect of Tongshu is not a fool. He has restricted ordinary people from entering the city. If we pretend to be disaster victims and rush in, we will definitely be turned away. Xiao Ji shook his head and denied it. It would be better to turn our attention to Zongshu, said Xiao Podao. No, Zongshu has been occupied by the rebels. What we need now is a garrison that is easy to defend and difficult to attack. Tongshu Prefecture is a good choice. As long as we take Tongshu Prefecture, we can attack Zongshu at any time, Lu Qiushan said. Xiao Jianjia said without hesitation. What if we completely take over Zongshu? That's fine. Change your thinking and expand the plate like a snowball. Increase the number of people to hundreds of thousands or even millions. No matter how big Tongshu city is, it must be broken. But Saint King, you have to think carefully. Once you do this, there will be no turning back. These hungry people need our support. Lu Qiushan had thought about launching a human wave tactic, which would be tantamount to sending the people to their deaths, and wherever they passed by, they would be like a swarm of locusts. You can ask the army, but what do you ask of the starving people? Then they would become a real bandit army. Kindness does not command the army. Justice does not command the money. There will always be casualties in war even if they are not killed. They will starve to death. It is better to gamble on hope, Xiao Jianjia said calmly. If we cannot take Tongshu Prefecture, we will turn our attention to Zongshu. We must take down the mother of no life, the pagoda-bearing heavenly king. We can take this opportunity to expand our power and train a strong army. You know, we will face the powerful army of Daqian in the future. Holy King, your majesty is wise. Xiao Pudayo and others bowed down one after another. Lu Qiushan also noticed the transformation of Xiao Jianjia, which was like a complete rebirth. This was a good thing. He smiled. He did it on purpose just now, just to see if Xiao Jianjia had a decision to make. Now, he is very satisfied. Holy King, holy and wise. Just then, a secret guard quietly walked up to Grape and whispered something in her ear. Grape was delighted, and immediately said to Xiao Jianjia, Saint King, an acquaintance from the capital is coming. An acquaintance from Beijing? Xiao Jianjia was stunned for a moment, then she asked everyone else to disperse, leaving only Xiao Ji and other core members. She couldn't wait to ask, who's here? The people of Biaoyang rescued Prince Wan, Grape said happily. Xiao Ji was even more excited. Really, Grape? Yes. Prince Wan is already outside. Xiao Jianjia was delighted and came out wearing a mask to greet them, but then she changed her mind and felt it was inappropriate. Go and bring Uncle Wan in. And treat the people from Biaoyang well. I can't let the people of Biaoyang see my true face. Soon, Prince Wan entered the courtyard. Xiao Ji was already hugging his father and crying, Dad, I thought I would never see you again. Prince Wan also had mixed feelings. This time he escaped death, just like a dream. He looked at those familiar faces and nodded one by one. When he saw Lu Qiushan, he sighed and said, Brother Qiushan, it's been a few years since we last met. I hope you are doing well. Thanks to your majesty, everything is fine. It's all right now with the advice of His Majesty Prince Wan, the future is promising. Prince Wan smiled and walked quickly into the hall, came to Xiao Jianjia and knelt on the ground. Your Majesty, I pay my respects to you. May your Majesty be well and healthy. Xiao Jianjia also took off her mask and hurried over to help. Uncle Wang, get up quickly. Your Majesty, I am incompetent and have wronged you, Prince Wan said with red eyes. Xiao Jianjia sighed. If it weren't for Uncle Wang, Jianjia would have died 5 years ago. How could I live to this day? If it weren't for Uncle Wang's selfless sacrifice this time, my end would be very miserable. Moreover, I gained a lot from coming to Tongshu. Daqian is indeed in a terminal state. If you want to revive Daqian, you cannot stay in Baojingji. Only by breaking down and rebuilding Daqian, can we revive the country. She helped Prince Wen up and said, Fortunately Uncle Wang is fine. Otherwise, I would blame myself for the rest of my life. A heart-to-heart talk between the uncle and nephew dispelled Xiao Jianjia's suspicion of Prince Wan, and she trusted Prince Wan even more. After briefly explaining the current situation to Prince Wan nodded and said, Brother Qiushan is very resourceful. I am not as good as him. With his assistance to your majesty, the revival of Daqian is just around the corner. Chapter 88. The troops are approaching Baojingji. By the way, Uncle Wang, where is the person who rescued you? They sent me to the camp and left. Prince Wan sighed, thought for a while, and said, Your Majesty, I have something to hide from you. It's about Biaoyang County, right? Xiao Jianjia seemed to have guessed what he wanted to say. Your Majesty, you did Xiao Ji tell you that? Prince Wan's heart was in his throat. No, Xiao Jianjia shook her head and said frankly, haven't you always wanted to know who Wan Huan's biological father is? Her biological father is in Biaoyang. There were only 3 people in the hall, Prince Wan, her, and Ma Sin Bao. So they were not afraid of being overheard by others. The little princess's father is your old friend. Who? Lu Yuan, Xiao Jianjia said. Brother Lu is the little princess's father? Prince Wan was completely dumbfounded. No, how is this possible? Does Brother Lu Yuan know your identity? He doesn't know. Xiao Jianjia shook her head. Anyway, Uncle Wang, don't let anything slip in front of him. He doesn't know about what happened between Lu Yuan and me, let alone that Wan Huan is his granddaughter. He also had no idea what Lu Yuan was doing in Biaoyang. Prince Wan forced himself to calm down. He didn't expect to know such explosive news. As soon as he arrived he had to take it easy. But soon, he realized that if Lu Yuan was Wan Huan's biological father, wouldn't that mean he had an additional strongest assistant? Thinking of this, he became excited. Your Majesty, Lu Yuan is a very talented person. If he can help us, don't mention it. He doesn't want to get involved in Da Qian's affairs. Xiao Jianji's eyes dimmed, and she roughly explained what happened. In short, don't let anything slip. I can't use my previous identity anymore. Prince Wan sighed heavily. Minister, I understand. On the other side, the armies of Xie and Jing countries were approaching and attacking Xiao Pass of Daqian, which was the most important town closest to Ba Yujingji. If they broke through Xiao Pass, they could reach Ba Yujingji in 3 days. The two countries sent out an army of 200, claiming to have an army of 800,000, and divided the troops into 2 routes. One route attacked the city. It was not that the ancient cities were impossible to bypass, but it was easy to be attacked from both sides. If you bypass them, you can refer to the Jingnan campaign, where Shu Laosai bypassed the city and went straight to the center. Moreover, there is no Great Wall in this world, and the other route bypassed Xiao Pass and went straight to the heart of Daqian. 30,000 Iron Harriers and 70,000 ordinary cavalry marched southward, killing anyone they saw and setting fire to every house they saw, and captured several cities in succession. The Iron Harriers were the strongest cavalry of Daxia. 30,000 of them could defeat an army of 200,000. They were extremely powerful. They also adopted the strategy of fighting to support the war, so they didn't need to carry too much food and fodder. With the Dajing soldiers holding back the Xiaoguan army, they will be able to destroy them as long as Xiaoguan dares to send out pursuers. The one who led the Iron Harriers was Shang Lei, the younger brother of Wu Xian Shang Ying. This man is also a veteran of many battles. He will not linger in the battle, and will go straight to Ba Yujingji, fighting against time. As long as they are fast enough, Ba Yujingji will not be able to react. When the enemy is at the gates, he wants to see how Yang Ji continues to play dumb. Meanwhile, in Ba Yujingji, a new party was preparing for Xiao Yi's ascension to the throne. Xiao Yi was just a puppet, but he was willing to be the emperor. Master Yang, has Xiao Chai, the traitor, been arrested? Now that he's caught, tomorrow's coronation ceremony can be held smoothly. Yang Ji said perfunctorily. At this point, he could only find a scapegoat to pretend to be Prince Wan, and then have the Prince Wan admit his crimes at the coronation ceremony, thus denying Xiao Jianji's identity as the legitimate emperor. In this way, Xiao Yi was the emperor of Daqian who obeyed the will of heaven. Xiao Yi nodded. After the registration, I will marry Yang Ji Ilao's daughter, and if a child is born, he will be immediately named the crown prince. Yang Ji's mouth curled up slightly. Your Majesty already has a legitimate son. It's not appropriate to do this. Of course he is suitable. My legitimate son is too stupid to shoulder such a heavy responsibility. We must replace him. Xiao Yi was obviously the emperor, but he looked up at Yang Ji. His humble and docile attitude made him like a dog at Yang Ji's feet. Since Yang Ji was standing, he didn't dare to sit down. He even knew that the concubines of the previous emperor would come to serve Yang Ji every now and then. The rule that the palace was locked and no outsiders were allowed to stay was completely broken by Yang Ji. If these concubines had not given birth to children, would it have been his turn to become emperor? Although Yang Ji said no, he was very satisfied in his the thought that Xiao Yi was very smart and could let him live a few more years. Wait until the time is right. Then let him abdicate. He is no longer satisfied with being a minister and regent. He wants to be the emperor of Daqian. At this moment, a sharp voice broke the silence of the palace. Report: Daxia and Dajing have joined forces to attack Xiao Pass. 300,000 Daxia cavalrymen bypassed Xiao Pass and headed straight for Ba Yujingji. Everyone in the palace was dumbfounded. When Yang Ji heard this, he jumped up in shock. What did you say? How many troops? The scout knelt on the ground and said anxiously, Xai and Jing countries sent 800,000 troops to invade Xiao Pass. The Jing dynasty army is attacking Xiao Pass in the front, while the Daxia Iron Harriers are bypassing the city, killing anyone they see and burning any house they see. They have already rushed to the capital and are about to reach Ba Yujingji. Flop. Xiao Yi was so frightened that he fell off the dragon chair and was extremely scared. Master Yang, what should we do next? Yang Ji's face flushed. Xia Jing and the other two dynasties just stood up and said they would fight. They don't follow the ethics of war. Are they going to fight to the death? As he spoke, he glared at the attendant and said, What are you still standing there for? Pass my order. Mobilize the 3 armies, close the city gates, and defend the city. More than half a month ago, after being blackmailed by the 2 countries, he mobilized 50,000 Daqian Dragon Cavalry Guards to defend the capital, including the White Tiger Army. A number of troops would reach 180,000 by then. A Dragon Cavalry Guard is the best cavalry in Daqian. It cannot be said to be invincible, but it is also one of the strongest armies in the world. But the bad thing is, the Dragon Guards haven't entered the capital yet. Without the Dragon Guards, he would have no confidence at all. These 2 countries are both crazy. They start war as soon as they disagree. Yang Ji was too lazy to care about Xiao Yi at this time and hurriedly left the council hall. At this time he thought of Gong Sunming and Zhang Xian, but the 2 had already left Ba Yujingji. Fang Hu and others were also dumbfounded when they heard the news. How come the enemy attacked Baujingji out of nowhere? This is the capital of Daqi, and even if the country's fortune is in decline, it can't be so declining that we only receive the news when the enemy arrives at our doorstep, right? Everyone looked at Yang Ji, waiting for his decision. Yang Ji said coldly, "Conscript all males in the capital city aged 14 and over and under 50 to go up to the city wall and carry supplies for defending the city, one person per household. Anyone who dares to disobey will be killed without mercy." With one order from him, the entire Bau Kyoto began to move. Those people living in the suburbs had nowhere to go, so they were all conscripted into the army. 120,000 white tiger soldiers climbed up the city wall. Yang Ji stood on the city wall, looking at the billowing smoke and the deafening sound of horse hooves not far away. His heart was trembling. Feng Yui also saw such a scene for the first time, and asked in horror, "How many people are here? Can we hold on?" Chapter 89. Inhumanity. They can't possibly send out 800,000 soldiers, that's almost half of a country's military. How could they come quietly? Yang Ji was not frightened. They have at most 200,000 or 300,000 soldiers. "Dad, we only have 120,000 soldiers now," Yang Ji's eldest son, Yang Tao, said nervously. "If we can't bear it. If they want to sneak in without anyone noticing, it must be on horseback, and it is impossible for them to carry large siege equipment." Yang Ji said, "Everyone, don't panic. As long as we hold on, the capital will be safe." Having said that, it's really hard not to be scared by the deafening sound of horse hooves. What made these people most frustrated was that most of the equipment used to defend the city had rotted away. Even the catapults had not been assembled in time. Yang Ji was so furious. He knew that Daqian's military was in slack, but he didn't expect it to be so corrupt. How much money have these people received without any work? Where are the rolling logs and stones for defending the city? Where are the weapons? Where did they go? Yang Ji's eyes were red, and he grabbed the collar of the Minister of War. "Huache? How can we defend the city with just this pile of junk?" "Huache, I was terrified. Lord Yang, I don't know." Yang Ji slapped him on the face and roared, "If you can't defend it, I'll pay with your lives, you bunch of rubbish." Everyone was silent. But some people are even thinking about retreating. If the Great Texai cavalry broke through Baujingji, would they surrender? Get ready for battle. Yang Ji no longer looked at them. The white tiger soldiers on the city wall took out arrows from their quivers and drew their bows. Collapse. Countless arrows shot up into the sky and then fell heavily. Originally, these heavy cavalry were lightly armed, but now it is a general attack. And all 30,000 iron harriers are heavily armed. Even the war horses were covered with armor. They each rode 2 horses, taking turns riding for 3 days and 3 nights, with less than 3 hours of rest each day, and marched to Baujingji with unstoppable force. While Shang Lei was excited, he was also very skeptical. Why is the center of Daqian so corrupt? In 3 days, he hadn't even encountered a decent enemy. Or has Daqian already transferred all its elite troops to Biaoyang? Shang Lei didn't know. He took off the big knife behind him and shouted loudly, "Raise the shield and press forward. Prepare to build a bridge." The light cavalry charged forward with their shields held high, and countless arrows were deflected. The cavalry behind him took out the rockets behind him and shot them at the city wall. The war broke out completely at this moment. "Dad, it's too dangerous." Yang Tao pulled his father to the rear, and the ministers rushed down from the city wall. Seeing that the generals were motionless, someone picked up the horse whip and started whipping them wildly. "You useless people. Is the country supporting you just to stand by and watch? Hurry up and defend the city. If the city is breached, I will kill your entire family." The generals dared not say a word when they were beaten, because if they resisted, they would be treated even more brutally. They have gotten used to it over the years. Even if he is a third-rank military general, he has to bow and salute when he meets a 7th-rank county magistrate in Daqian. Military generals are worse than dogs. They just silently picked up their swords and climbed up the city wall. But Daxia was well prepared this time. They made the pontoon bridge detachable, which could be carried by a single soldier and then quickly assembled by the time the shield soldiers rushed over. In just a few dozen breaths, half of the pontoon bridge had been built. People were constantly hit by rockets and died in pain. However, the Daxia cavalry were not in an easy situation. Either they were almost fighting for their lives, and they were attacking a city, so the casualties were even greater. But what Yang Ji did not expect was that they actually pushed the captured ordinary people to the front line. Those people included men and women, young and old, and even babies. They were driven forward in fear. If they didn't go up, the sabers of the Great Texai cavalry might fall on their necks at any time. "Help! Open the city gate and save us. We are from Daqian, please save us." They knelt on the ground, crying. Some were pushed into the water and struggled in pain. "Save me, I can't swim. Help me." The soldiers on the city wall were stunned and cursed Diaxia for being despicable. Soon a military general went to report to Yang Ji. As a result, Yang Tao slapped the general in the face and said, "You son of a bitch, who told you to stop without permission? Quickly intensify the attack. Once they break through the city gate, we will all die." Master Yang, those people are so innocent. I am unworthy of being a soldier. If I cannot save them, how can I raise my sword against them? I told you to attack, so you have to attack, otherwise, I will chop you to pieces. Yang Tao was furious. He pulled out a knife and put it on his neck. The general laughed miserably. "Kill them. I have been in the army for 30 years and have not killed many enemies. But my hands are stained with the blood of my compatriots. You new party members often say that we stinking soldiers are the source of unrest in the world. What I want to say is that the new party is a thief of Dakion. You are to blame for the present situation of Dakion." Yang Tao raised his sword and chopped off the general's head. Then he raised the bloody sword high and said, "Whoever dares to stop the attack will be killed without mercy." This scene shocked everyone. It also caused these soldiers with conscience to suffer. "Shoot!" A lieutenant general of the White Tiger Army shouted this sentence with almost all his strength. "General, those are the people of Dakion," said a younger soldier with red eyes. The lieutenant general rushed forward and slapped him hard. "If they don't die, you will die. Think about your own family and the nearly 1 million people in Baojingji. Is it worth it to save one person and destroy the whole city? Is this a question of whether it is worth it? Who the hell can do this?" But the lieutenant general's words seemed to give these soldiers a reason to take action. Even though everyone knows that this is self-deception. But it's a legitimate reason. Collapse. The arrow stained with flaming oil turned into a meteor and pierced the bodies of the people of Dakion. The lieutenant general ordered the pouring of flaming oil into the moat. The fire spread from the city walls into the water. Those people who fell into the water not only had to endure the freezing cold of the river, but also had to be burned by the raging fire. The miserable screams echoed throughout Baojingji. Yang Chao looked at the officials who showed their pity and said fiercely, "Don't pity these unruly people. They must have surrendered to the enemy long ago. They are the enemy and deserve to die." Not only did Yang Ji not think that he had done anything wrong, but he felt that Yang Tao was decisive and ruthless, and had his own style. He said calmly, "If anyone feels pity for those people, I can let him go out to save them." Everyone was trembling with fear. Who would dare? Originally, there was Yan Gao who could check and balance him, but now Yan Gao has been killed, and he is the only one in power in the new party. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Yang Ji wanted to become emperor. If I were treated as a troublemaker by him at this juncture, I wouldn't even have time to cry. Chapter 90, Baojingji, destroyed. Seeing that no one dared to stand up an object, Yang Ji nodded with satisfaction. It's not that we watched them die without helping, it's that the people of Diaxia are too despicable, using civilians as human shields. This will be punished by God. Yes, Elder Yang is right, Diaxia is too despicable. One day he will massacre the capital of Diaxia to vent my anger. Everyone echoed this, and each of them indignantly accused the Xi Jing in other countries. However, no one dared to climb up the city wall to take a look. They were afraid of seeing innocent people die. But the miserable voice lingering in my ears makes me feel cold in my heart. It was at this time that the first pontoon bridge was laid. And soon the second pontoon bridge began to be laid. Someone rushed onto the pontoon bridge with an iron chain in his hand. One end of the chain was very sharp, and it seemed that it could break through the copper skin covering the city gate. A soldier took a hammer and smashed it hard on the suspension bridge, piercing the sharp nails through the copper sheet and going deep into it. The logs and rocks rolling down from above knocked them to the ground, but the people behind them continued to take their places. Soon, 1, 2, 3, or and more iron nails were hammered in at an angle. These special iron nails were said to be made of fine steel imported from Biaoyang, and not only had strong penetrating power but could also be stuck firmly. The chains were stretched straight, forming a chain bridge. "Marshal, it's been fixed." The people from the ordnance battalion hurried to Shanlei. "Okay, pull down the suspension bridge for me," Shanlei sneered. It turns out that these chains are specially made and can be used to secure goods on a daily basis. It is particularly difficult to storm a city with a moat like this. Moreover, the ladder may not be stable. So someone designed this iron chain to break down the door. Dozens of thick iron chains were tightened and hundreds of war horses exerted their strength together. The soldiers waved their whips and the horses galloped forward with all their might. Crunch! All I heard was a few teeth grinding sounds. The suspension bridge was torn apart in an instant. There was a loud bang. The warhorse pulled forward quickly. The entire suspension bridge crashed onto the water, covering the floating bridge below. Report, Elder Yang. The suspension bridge was broken by the Diaxia cavalry. Yang Ji stood up suddenly. How is it possible? The lieutenant general who came to report the incident recounted what had happened. Now, those people are doing the same thing again, preparing to pull down the city gate. If someone had told them in the past that the city gates would be open from the outside, no one would have believed it, but that is no longer necessarily the case. The city gate opens inwards, which makes it more defensive than opening outwards. It is almost impossible to open it from the outside. But what if? Quickly plug in all the bolts. I don't believe they can pull them open from the outside. Yang Tao roared. Also, block the city gate with something. I don't believe they can get in. However, Diachia was faster than them. 100 iron chains were nailed densely on the city gate. At the other end of the chain are thousands of war horses. Zhonglei knew very well that it was impossible to open the city gate from the outside. All he wanted was to destroy the gate. But the iron chain was suddenly stretched straight, making a teeth-grinding sound. Bang, bang, bang. The bronze door was immediately pulled out with a bulge. 1-2, pull. 1-2, pull. Crash. At that moment, large pieces of copper in the city gate were torn off, and holes appeared in some places. The originally indestructible city gate was now full of holes. Marshal, the city gate has been breached. Hit me hard, Zhonglei shouted loudly. He had made sufficient preparations for this siege, but even if he brought in the people of Daqian to serve as human shields, no less than 6,000 cavalrymen eye under the city. Those are all cavalrymen. One horse is equivalent to 10 steps, and every cavalryman is fed with silver. If the imperial court had not been forced into a desperate situation, he would never have let the cavalry do the stupid thing of attacking the city. Even hundreds of iron kites were killed by rockets, and he was in great pain. But it's all worth it. As long as he captures Ba Yujingji. He wants to see whether Lu Yuan will release the people. 1-2, hit. Dozens of soldiers held thick battering rams and quickly and heavily rammed the weak points of the city gate. Bang, bang, bang. The violent impact caused the city gate to tremble violently. Countless dust fell. The rolling logs, stones and gold juice above their heads were a constant threat to their lives. But the battering ram eventually began to break down the door. They broke into the city gate, and the passage was already filled with stones and sandbags, but they broke into the city so quickly that they had no time to completely seal it off. They climbed up the gate and removed the bolts from inside. Boom! The city gates were opened. Zhonglei was extremely anxious. But when he saw the city gate open, he felt relieved and said, "Charge for me." The angry Diaxia cavalry rushed into the passage, and the soldiers at the front cleared a passage as quickly as possible. Even though a fire was lit in the passage and thick black smoke billowed out, no one retreated. Master Yang, the city gate has been breached, let's run away. Yang Ji felt dizzy. How much time had just passed? In about an hour, the city gate was broken? His hands and feet are cold. The civil officials were already panicking and at a loss. Lord Yang, let's escape from other city gates. Hurry up. Gather the troops, let's escape from Ba Yujing as long as we have the Green Mountains, we will never be short of firewood. Yang Tao was also terrified, and he grabbed Yang Ji's hand. Dad, let's run away quickly to Bianjing. We still have a chance to make a comeback. Yang Ji suppressed his fear and said, take the Prince of Jin with you and leave through the north gate. At this moment, all the pornographic pictures are fake. Only survival is real. As for the hundreds of thousands of people in Ba Yujing, they are dead if they die. The most common people in the world are unruly people. The father and son walked outside and got on the carriage. Someone behind them tried to climb in. Yang Tao killed them one by one. Get out of here. Master Yang, take us with you. Lord Yang, I am your confidant, take me with you. Yang Tao sat in the carriage panting. Yang Ji's face was ashen. And Xiao Yi was so scared that he curled up there, not daring to move. A group of people ran wildly behind. The great Xia cavalry had already rushed into the city. And the entire Ba Yujing was in chaos. Officials are unable to take care of themselves, and the people are in danger. Everyone understands that Daqian is really over. When Zhonglei entered the city, those officials all knelt there, kowtowed and begged for mercy. He ignored them and just ordered his men to loot violently to vent their stress and fatigue from the past few days. The entire Ba Yujing has become a hell. And Zhonglei rushed into the palace. General, Yang Ji and Xiao Yi have already escaped from the north gate. And the royal family has also fled. Zhonglei's face looked unhappy, but it was definitely too late to chase him now. He walked step by step to the dragon chair in the council hall and sat down. Tell Zhang Xian to meet up in Ba Yujing. Chapter 91. The world is shocked. The fall of Ba Yujing shocked the whole world. The empress fled and her whereabouts are unknown. Yang Ji fled with Xiao Yi and their whereabouts are unknown. Daqian has apparently fallen apart and is on the verge of collapse. Everyone knew that Daqian was over, completely over. As a result, heroes began to compete for supremacy, and uprisings emerged one after another in various places. Warlords emerged. In just half a month, Daqian came to its end and was only one step away from national destruction. However, no one could have imagined why Xie and Jing would join forces to attack Daqian. There was no reason at all. But soon, Shanwei threatened the lives of millions of people in Bau Jingji and ordered Li Yuan, the magistrate of Liang County, to release Princess Yanla and Princess Xie Changel of Dajing. Not only that, Li Yuan was also required to return Diaxia Pass and release Li Qunian, Chen Yuan, Ha Shan and others. Otherwise, they would massacre the city. When the news spread, everyone was stunned. They knew that Biaoyang County was an enclave of Daqian, the poorest and most backward place in Daqian, and had always been threatened by barbarians. But who is the magistrate of Biaoyang County? Nobody knows. The most important thing is that the demands put forward by Shan Lei are even more confusing. For a moment, everyone wanted to know who this Li Yuan was. It actually led to the two countries joining forces to attack Daqian. The news reached Bianjing. Yang Ji had just taken control of Bianjing. He rushed all the way, tricked the city gates of Bianjing into opening, sent a message, and then controlled all the civil and military officials of Bianjing, and took control of the local garrison. Originally, he only fled with 8,000 remnants, but now he has 60. Zero troops under his command. The population of Bianliang is 800,000. If he is given time, recruiting the 100,000 soldiers will not be a problem. Dad, who is this damn Li Yuan? Yang Tao was puzzled. Yang Ji sighed. Before, I always thought that Gong Sunming and Zhang Xin were here to blackmail me. But now it seems that there really is a county magistrate named Li Yuan in Biaoyang County who annihilated the barbarians, captured Po Shan, the most powerful general in Dajing, and also captured Princess Xie Changel. Not only that, he also broke through the Diaxia Pass and captured hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians including Li Quniang and Chen Yuan. Yang Tao felt his scalp tingling just by listening to his father talking about Li Yuan's outstanding achievements. Does such a person really exist? Why haven't I heard of him for so many years? If we had known earlier and had these people in our hands, wouldn't it be easy for us to do whatever we wanted? Yang Ji snorted coldly. There must be something wrong when things are abnormal. Li Yuan might be a puppet pushed out by Shang Wei, so the root of the problem still lies with Shang Wei. When I wrote to the border town before, only Shang Wei ignored me, which shows that this bastard had rebellious intentions long ago. At this critical moment, Shang Wei will ignore us even less. Dad, I have an idea, Yang Tao said, since Shang Wei pushed Li Yuan out. Let's expose Shang Wei and summon him to Beijing to explain with the emperor's order if he doesn't come. He is a traitor. Then you can put all the blame for the fall of Bau Jingji on Shang Wei. That way, the people won't blame you. Yang Ji stroked his beard and thought for a while. Yes, this plan is very good, but it is also very likely to make Shang Wei famous and attract more people to join him. Dad, it's time to stop thinking too much. A tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. Shang Lei threatened to massacre the whole city if Shang Wei doesn't hand over his people. Who else would dare to work for him? Yang Tao smiled faintly. Unless he doesn't want to become king himself. My son is very smart, Yang Ji said with a smile. On the other side, Tongshu. Xiao Jianjia sent troops to Zongshu and captured several counties in succession. However, as Zongshu was the center of the disaster, almost all the surviving civilians had left, and those who remained were just rebels. These people had already swept up all the local resources. She had wasted her efforts in vain, had not gained any benefits. She still needed to send people to garrison the captured county. Food was easy to solve, but water shortage was a big problem. These rebel hideouts are easy to defend but difficult to attack, and cannot be easily taken down. After hitting a wall several times in a row, Xiao Jianjia felt frustrated. Instead of improving the situation, a lot of manpower and material resources were consumed, which not only lengthened the battle line but also made the situation worse. The most realistic problem is that food is running out. The grain merchants that Xiao Ji knew have not been contacted yet, and there is no new source of grain. Xiao Jianjia now has two choices. Either attack Tongshu Prefecture, or choose one of the rebel hideouts in Zongshu and launch an all-out attack. The second is to trade with Biaoliang. For the first option, Xiao Jianjia was not even 50 sure. These people had been building up this situation for several years and it was not something that could be easily broken through. She has none of the advantages of time, place and people, unless she has the magical weapons of Biaoyang County. So, she had no choice. It's only been a month since I came back and I'm going to Biaoyang again. It seems that I am incompetent. Xiao Jianjia laughed at herself. What qualifications do I have to make a choice now? If you want to change your fate, you must first accept it. If you lose your face, the face you pick up again is yours. At this moment, Prince Wan hurried in. Your Majesty, something happened in Bau Jingji. Xiao Jianjia quickly put on the mask. What's wrong? You will know once you take a look. Prince Wan looked solemn. Xiao Jianjia took the intelligence handed over by Prince Wan and read it. After a while, Xiao Jianjia took a breath of cold air. The coalition forces of the Xi and Jing dynasties attacked Xiao Pass and broke through Bau Jingji. She clenched her fist and slammed it on the table. Ace good for nothings. This is Bau Jingji, the number one city in DAQI, and even if 1,000,000 troops besieged the city, it could hold out for a month. An army of 100,000 was defeated. These people will be judged by history sooner or later. They are all sinners of Daqian. At this moment, Xiao Jianjia felt grief and sadness, but more of it was anger and self-blame. She was angry at the incompetence of Yang Ji and others, and even more angry at her own dereliction of duty. Once Bau Jingji was lost, Daqian was not far from its demise. Thinking back to a few months ago, everything Li Yuan said to me is now coming true one by one. Prince Duan's face was filled with sorrow. Now they are threatening the lives of millions of people in Bau Jingji. Demanding that Lu Liyuan release them. If there is no reply within a month, they will massacre the city. Not only Bau Jingji, but the entire Jiangmi region will not be spared. That's tens of millions of people. His own country was being destroyed and invaded by foreign races. And he was powerless to do anything. This feeling of powerlessness made Prince Duan despair. Xiao Jianjia's eyes were red. I'll go find Liyuan and ask him to release them. What if he doesn't let go? Prince Duan said sadly. Besides, Biao Yang is very powerful. How could they be threatened by them? If he won't let me go, then we'll find a way to make him let me go if he can save the people of Bau Jingji. What's wrong with kneeling down to him? Xiao Jianjia turned and walked out. Uncle Wang, I'll leave the affairs of Tongshu to you and Lu Qiushan. I'll leave for Biao Yang now. Chapter 92, Year-End Summary. Prince Duan nodded silently. In fact, this matter is not as difficult as Xiao Jianjia thought. He had already learned what had happened from Xiaoji. Even Huan Huan had been sent to Bai Liang. To anyone with a discerning eye, it seemed like these two men were competing with each other. One never bows his head, and the other never admits defeat. If Xiao Jianjia would just give in, Li Yuan would definitely help. But the bad thing is that Xiao Jianjia is the emperor. Li Yuan's attitude is not like that of a traitor. But it is better than that of a traitor. If you put yourself in his shoes, he will not bow his head either. This time, Xiao Jianjia did not bring Ma and Bao with her. She only brought Grape and his group and traveled day and night to Biaoyang. It only took 3 days to reach Biaoyang County. It was freezing cold outside. But Biaoyang County was exceptionally lively. Every household was decorated with lights and almost everyone was wearing new clothes, looking very happy. The adults sat in the tea house, bragging and chatting, talking about how generous the dividends were at the end of the year, how they bought new clothes for their wives and children, and bought more than 10 pounds of meat for the family. It sounded particularly harsh to the ears of Xiao Jianjia and others. Miss, how can Biaoyang County, such a small place, support so many people? Grape asked, puzzled. In the tea house, Xiao Jianjia held a cup of ginger tea in her hand. And her face, which had been frozen pale, gradually regained color. It was not that she had the leisure to drink tea here, but she did not want Lu Yuan to see her in such a miserable state. I heard from Xiaoji that Biaoyang County has been engaged in foreign trade over the years, and millions of shi of grain are sent to Biaoyang every year. Moreover, they also grow their own food. Although the amount is not much, it is enough to supplement their income. Therefore, the food stockpiled in Biaoyang County should be enough to feed 1 million people for several years. They built farms and raised pigs on a large scale. Now that they have conquered the barbarian gathering place, there is a grassland with high-quality alfalfa in there, which means they now have a piece of land for raising horses. But these are not the main reasons. Biaoyang should have supported its own merchants, placed them in various countries, and purchased supplies. Ray put down the teacup, putting aside other things. Li Yuan is indeed a capable person. If he can. All right. Xiao Jianjia interrupted her. Don't mention this matter again. Yes, miss. Let's go. Xiao Jianjia regained her spirit and came to Lu Yuan's house. Li Yuan was holding a meeting in the new Yemen. It turned out that the old government office was too small and was no longer suitable as an office location. This new government office has integrated all the important departments into one place. If there is any problem, a head of the department can be found at the first time. It's the end of the year, and it's a good time to report on this year's gains. The Ministry of Commerce has achieved a total revenue of 30 million TOLs this year. And at the same time expenditures. Xia Yuan was speaking, and everyone in the conference room was listening attentively. When they heard that the grain import this year was 8 million shi, everyone applauded. At the same time, this year we imported 20,000 cattle, 30,000 sheep, 2,000 horses, 8,000 donkeys, and 120,000 chickens. Cattle, horses and donkeys are very important as productive forces. Excess productivity is fed into farms and flows into the market as meat, enriching people's food. It can be said that the people of Biaoyang Prefecture, who used to be at the bottom of the world in terms of annual per capita meat intake, are now far ahead. Li Yuan has an accurate data in his hand. which was calculated by the Ministry of Agriculture. The average meat intake per person in Biaoyang Prefecture this year is 20 kilograms. These figures do not include fish and eggs. A chicken, duck and goose eggs from Biaoyang Prefecture are extremely cheap. If all were added together, the average meat intake per person would probably be over 30 kilograms. This was a very terrifying average level in the feudal era. With just one click, we have almost reached the per capita meat intake standard in modern society. A minimum per capita meat intake should be 40 to 60 kilograms per year. On average, the daily intake is 40 to 70 grams. Although it has not reached the lowest level yet, Li Yuan is already very satisfied. After Xia Yuan finished her work report, the applause at the scene lasted for a long time. What followed was a report from the agricultural department, and the speaker was a middle-aged man with dark skin and a weathered look. His name was Niu Han. Niu Dajin's elder brother, and he was an honest farmer. When he met Lu Yuan, all the grain he had worked hard to grow for a year was snatched away by the grain collection officials and the harsh landlords. Not only did he work hard for a year, but he also owed his master 10 ulls of silver. Unable to survive, he fled here with his family and met Li Yuan. He was not good at speaking, and was a little embarrassed when he stood up. "Hello, sir. Hello, comrades. I am Niu Han from the Ministry of Agriculture. I will report on my work next." Everyone's face was full of anticipation. If the Ministry of Commerce was Biaoyang County's external weapon, then the Ministry of Agriculture was a bull. Everyone knows that importing food is not a long-term solution. It's fine at ordinary times, but what happens when the world is in chaos? Even if it was a grain merchant, it would be impossible to release so much grain. When it is controlled, import will become smuggling and the price will increase exponentially. Therefore, Li Yuan has always emphasized that he must hold Biaoyang's rice bowl firmly in his own hands. Niu Han looked at Li Yuan, and waited for Li Yuan to nod before saying, "This year, the Ministry of Agriculture has newly developed 100,000 mu of farmland together with the original 700,000 mu of farmland, the total is 800,000 mu, and the surrounding areas have been fully developed. 70% of the newly developed wasteland is mountain fields. The so-called mountain fields are fields on the mountains. This shows how poor Biaoyang County is." Everyone frowned. This 800,000 mu of land has produced a total of 900,000 dan of grain and 100,000 dan of vegetables this year. I am ashamed of the cultivation of the master. And I am ashamed of the trust of all the comrades. Niu Han stood there, his face full of shame. "I did not achieve the set goal. Please punish me, master." Originally all departments had exceeded their targets, except for the agricultural department, which failed to achieve the target set last year. Last year, Niu Han set a goal for the department to produce 2 million shi of grain and 120,000 shi of vegetables a year. Almost a quarter less. The warm atmosphere suddenly became tense. The others also looked at Niu Dajin secretly. But Niu Da just kept spinning his pencil and said nothing. At this time, even he didn't dare to speak. Everyone else was looking at Li Yuan, wanting to see what he would say. Biaoyang County has a reward and punishment system if the goals are achieved. There will be rewards, and if they are not achieved, there will naturally be punishments. Not to mention, Li Yuan repeatedly emphasized the importance of agriculture. Niu Han has failed to complete the task for 2 consecutive years, and this year is the 3rd year. As the saying goes, things never happen 3 times. Even if Li Yuan was nostalgic, he would not easily let Niu Han off. Li Yuan crossed his hands in front of him, sat upright, and looked extremely serious. When the others saw this, they all straightened their backs and looked straight ahead. Finish the remaining work first. We'll talk about the punishment later. Chapter 93. You are really amazing. Niu Han, a man over 7 feet tall, sounded like he was crying when he spoke, which showed how much pressure he was under. In addition, the Shen Nong No free grain seed cultivated this year has been tested in the greenhouse and its growth performance has been completed in poor fields. 1 mu can produce 120 kilograms of grain. There is also the cultivation of various types of green vegetables. All goals have been achieved. This year, researchers from the Ministry of Agricultural Sciences also completed a study on fertilizers. After practical cultivation, they found that the yield of crops using fertilizers was nearly 30 higher than that without fertilizers. At the same time, we cooperated with comrades from the Ministry of Animal Husbandry and the Ministry of Industry to build a 6-meter water diversion canal and completed the transformation of poor farmland, totaling 120,000 acres. Also, this year we enrolled 1,000 agricultural students, achieving our goal, and another 600 agricultural students graduated. As Niu Han finished reporting on various tasks, everyone realized how busy the Ministry of Agriculture was this year. Not only are they busy growing crops, but they are also busy educating students. cultivating new varieties of crops, researching new fertilizers, and transforming poor farmland. It's a headache just to hear it. Except for grain production, which did not meet the standards, all other aspects can be said to be very good. Master. Comrades, I have finished my work report. Liu Han stood there, his face ashen, like a death row prisoner waiting for his sentence. Liu Han smiled and said, Biaoyang has 8 mountains, 1 river and 1 farmland. Looking at the whole world, it is the poorest place. Of these 800,000 acres of land, nearly half are mountain fields and 2/3 are farmlands, with a combined average grain yield of more than 110 kilograms per mu. You know, in Jingshao area, the yield per mu is only 200 kilograms. The most fertile fields in Jiangnan can only produce 300 kilograms of grain per mu. The best fields in Biaoyang County are not as good as the middle-grade fields in the south of the Yangtze River, but they can produce grains comparable to the best fields in Jingshao. This is beyond my expectation. Moreover, among these 800,000 acres of land, tens of thousands of acres are used to grow vegetables. All in all, the yield per mu is about 120 kilograms. This is the yield that only the above-average farmland in the capital can produce. Liu Han looked at the others and said, in fact, the Ministry of Agriculture has the most difficult task. Biaoyang is limited by the region and is too barren. To grow food there is no less difficult than turning stone into gold. This is not a failure, this is a success for the people of Biaoyang. If these 800 mu of land were all good farmland like the ones in Jiangnan, then they would be able to grow enough food for 1 million people in a year. Isn't this a miracle? Liu Han looked at Liu Han in disbelief. Master, Liu Han. You are awesome. Liu Han gave Liu Han a thumbs up. If the new grain you cultivated is planted in the fields, the yield per mu will probably be over 300 kilograms. Right? This kind of grain is a national treasure. In ancient times, you would be a figure like Shen Nong. Such a high evaluation made Liu Han go from panic to excitement, and then to tears. It only took a breath of time for him to choke and say, Master, I am ashamed. What are you ashamed of? Liu Han stood up and said, everyone knows that it is extremely difficult to cultivate good farmland on the mountain. Even more difficult than cultivating farmland on the plain. In my opinion, these 900,000 shi of grain are more important than 9 million shi of grain. Because this is the rice bowl of the Biaoyang people, and you hold this rice bowl while now, we have Taishan County and Songshan County. The land there is no more vast than that of Biaoyang Prefecture, and the land is also more fertile. We have a set of feasible experiences, and if we apply them to other places, they will definitely increase food production explosively. I have had the land measured, and the available farmland in the 2 counties has reached 2 million acres if the mountains and forests are included. I'm afraid it's more than 3 million acres. This year Biaoyang County has entered a period of rapid development, and the pace of expansion is also orderly. Including prisoners, the population approached 2 million. It shouldn't be difficult to grow millions of shi of grain from these millions of acres of land, right? If we include meat intake, we can completely reach the standard of self-sufficiency. Every stone of grain imported from now on will be a guarantee. So, Liu Han, you are really amazing. Liu Han walked up to him and patted him on the shoulder. So you are not only innocent, you also have merits. Liu Han was so excited that tears welled up in his eyes. Master, I don't deserve it. You can handle it. Liu Han smiled and looked at the others. Do you think the Ministry of Agriculture has achieved its goal, or not? Done. Liu Han was the first to stand up and say, it must be done. Liu Han may also said, Minister Niu, please don't belittle yourself, we all depend on you for food. Everyone started to joke. Niu Dajin also raised his head and smiled at his brother. My eldest brother is not good at speaking and just works hard. He is like a big tree, protecting himself from wind and rain. Hearing everyone's comfort and the master's affirmation, Liu Han's stress over the past few years was instantly released, and he felt relieved. He started crying like a 3-year-old. Everyone laughed. But it was not a mocking laugh, but a friendly laugh. Some people handed him handkerchiefs, some handed him water. And everyone gathered around Liu Han. The originally tense atmosphere suddenly relaxed. After a while, Liu Han calmed down and bowed to Liu Han. Thank you, sir. Liu Han smiled and said, this is what you deserve. Now I declare that if all departments meet the targets for this year, the rewards will be delivered to you soon. But no matter how happy we are, next year will be an even more difficult year. Daqian is already in chaos, and the situation will slowly affect the Xia and Jing dynasties. In times of chaos, if we want to protect ourselves, we must continue to work hard and make progress. Yes, Master, everyone responded in unison. Before we adjourn, let me tell you one more thing. Send me the department's goals for next year within 3 days, then we can all have a peaceful new year. Liu Han stood up, adjourned. Warm applause broke out again in the conference hall. At this time, Honggu walked up to Lu Yuan and whispered, "Master, the madam is here." Lu Yuan was delighted. "Just arrived? It's been a while, I saw you were in a meeting. So I didn't disturb you," said Honggu. "I thought this woman was really heartless and would not come to spend the new year with my daughter. Imo wrote a letter to Xiao Jianjia not long ago, but has never received a reply." He thought there was no hope, but unexpectedly, she came over quietly. Looking at Lu Yuan's brisk footsteps, Honggu shook her head helplessly. The master was good in every way except that he was too nice to this woman. Although her opinion of Xiao Jianjia has changed, any discerning person can see that Xiao Jianjia is just using the master to help the empress. She didn't dare to say anything more. If that woman dared to hurt the master, she would be punished even if she died. Soon, Lu Yuan returned home and saw Xiao Jianjia playing with Huan in the yard. The little girl's laughter echoed in the yard. This scene directly touched the soft spot deep in Lu Yuan's heart. "Isn't this what I've always wanted?" Chapter 94 Requests. "Mom, Daddy is back." The sharp-eyed little girl flew into Lu Yuan's arms. Lu Yuan picked her up and rubbed her little face against his. The bearded little girl giggled. "It's so cold, why don't you go inside and play?" Lu Yuan asked. "Wait for Daddy here, I want to be the first one to pick him up," Huan said. Lu Yuan's heart melted. He pinched his daughter's face and loved her indescribably. "I thought you wouldn't come here to celebrate the new year," Lu Yuan said to Xiao Jianjia. Xiao Jianjia felt a little guilty. If it weren't for Bau Jingji's matter, she really wouldn't have come. Especially Huan's surprised look made her feel even more ashamed. "A child did not receive good care when she was with me, but after coming here, she has become more lively and cheerful than before." The little face gradually became rounder and chubby, and she felt it was a bit difficult to hold it. One can tell at a glance that it has been well cared for. Moreover, Huan also said that her grandmother, aunt, and uncle were all very, very kind to her. How could a child who grew up in the palace be unable to distinguish between good and evil? Xiao Jianjia felt that she was not a good mother. "Not only are we here to celebrate the new year, we also have other things to do." Xiao Jianjia didn't want Lu Yuan to feel that she could come and go at will. Lu Yuan nodded. "Who cares, as long as Xiao Jianjia comes to spend the new year with the children, that is enough. Let's go in and talk." Lu Yuan walked in holding the child. Suexai and Lu Ling Zichai were busy in the kitchen. Ever since his mother came over, Suexai had not asked anyone else to prepare the food. Although Suexai said to others that she wanted to make up for these years. But Lu Yuan knew very well that Suexai was afraid that someone would put something in the food. Even though she had never asked her about Biaoyang County, she knew it well. She knew what her son was doing. "You're back. Wash your hands and get ready to eat," Suexai said to Lu Yang beside her. "Take out all the dishes in the steamer." "Okay. Ma." After these days of training, Lu Yang not only became darker, but the aura of a weak scholar also gradually faded. And he looked more capable. This kid comes back once every 5 days, eating, living and working with the workers there. And they are not treated any differently. Even Master Cao said that he was persistent and able to convince others. Now in this snowy season, the construction progress in Taishan County has slowed down. More work is done on digging soil, making bricks, repairing reservoirs, digging wells, and building canals. Because Lu Yuan said that after taking Dajing Pass, he would dig a river around Biaoyang and completely revitalize this desolate place. So, Lu Yang led people to start digging, and they had already dug several hundred meters away. Lu Ling Zhi went to school during the day and studied late into the night. She worked so hard that she ended up with tapandi eyes. Lu Yuan has scolded her several times but she won't listen. So let her go. "Let's start." Lu Yuan rubbed his hands. The little girl obediently helped the family serve food. Xiao Jianjia stood there, feeling a little redundant. "What are you standing there for? Serve the rice," Lu Yuan reminded. "Oh," Xiao Jianjia reacted. "Aunt, let me help you." No, Suexai said. "The only dish left is the braised pork. This is your favorite." Xiao Jianjia felt warm in her heart. She didn't expect Suexai to care about her so much. She just mentioned it, but she kept it in her heart. For some reason, when I saw her, I thought of my deceased mother. Here, I always feel relaxed and natural. It seems that even if the sky falls, they will protect themselves. At the dinner table, the family was enjoying themselves. The food in Xiao Jianjia's bowl had piled up like a small mountain. "That's enough, really enough. If you take more, you won't be able to finish it. If you can't finish it, let Lu Yuan help you eat it." Suexai said. "You can pick the best ones and give the rest to him. He has a big appetite." Lu Yuan smiled and said, "I don't mind." Xiao Jianjia rolled her eyes at him, but in her heart she didn't mind Lu Yuan eating her leftovers. "This time, stay a little longer and go back after the new year," Suexai said. "My old man is serving the empress in Tongshu. Did you meet him when you went back this time?" Xiao Jianjia was a little flustered. "No, not yet. Don't be nervous. My old man is a nice guy, but a little stubborn. You ray a woman living there if you have any problems. Go find him. Shuoan has already written him a letter. Suxiui was afraid that she would suffer in Tongshu. I heard that there are rebels over there now. The people are exchanging their children for food. It's very chaotic. You ray traveling all over the country, so you must bring more people with you. Thank you, auntie. I don't need to do that. Xiao Jianjia nodded. She always felt guilty for deceiving them, but when she thought that Lu Qiushan had also deceived her, the guilt suddenly faded a lot. But auntie, I may not be able to stay until after the new year. This time I came mainly to trade with Biaoliang, and there are some things I want to discuss with Lu Yuan. Suxiu's smile faded a lot. And she nodded. Then we still have to focus on the big things. Thank you for your understanding, aunt. Xiao Jianjia breathed a sigh of relief, and then said to Lu Yuan, Bau Jingji was breached by the Great Xia cavalry, and now the armies of the two dynasties have arrived in the capital, and it has become a living hell. Chang Lei demands that you release Princess Changning and return Diaxia Pass, otherwise he will massacre the city. The entire Jiangni region has a population of nearly 10 million. I beg you to be kind and save these people. Do you have to say all this at the dinner table? Li Yuan is not a fool. He received the news on the 8th day after Chang Lei broke through Bau Jingji. He just didn't want to disappoint Huan. Xiao Jianjia bit her lips. He knew that if she talked to Li Yuan alone, she would not be able to convince him at all. She could only convince Li Yuan when Suxiui and the others were present. The situation is very urgent now. Shang Lei only gave us 1 month now. Half a month has passed. He must give Shang Lei a reply within half a month, otherwise those innocent people. Li Yuan didn't say anything, but took out a handkerchief and wiped Huan's mouth after eating. Let Honggu take you to the chess flying machine, okay? Okay, Huan nodded. Then kissed Li Yuan on the face and blinked her big eyes. Daddy, be gentle to mommy. You said you would protect mommy and me. Smart. Li Yuan scratched her nose, and then Honggu took the child away. Suxiui also said, I'm full, you guys eat slowly. Ouyang and Lu Lingziachai also said, sister-in-law, take your time eating. We still have homework to do in the evening. In the blink of an eye, everyone left. And they were the only two left in the dining room. Li Yuan picked up the chopsticks again and slowly picked up a piece of braised pork. You don't think my mother and the others will speak for you, do you? Chapter 95. Lu Yuan, please. Lu Yuan, are you really that cruel? As what are you talking to me now? Li Yuan asked, the empress's envoy, or Huan's mother. Both. Okay, then why did you talk about this at the dinner table in front of everyone? Li Yuan said angrily, if you want to discuss official business, you can go to the government office. Home is not the place to discuss private matters. Your daughter is very happy to see you. Do you have to disappoint her? Aren't you from Daqian? Now your compatriots are suffering because of you. Are you indifferent? Xiao Jianjia said emotionally, it's not a few lives, it's millions. Tens of millions of lives. I admit that it was my fault to talk about this at the dinner table, but I really can't eat. So I beg you, save those people. Is this your idea, or the empress's, or does my father know? Li Yuan asked. Next, if I don't agree, will you use my father to threaten me? His voice was calm, but Xiao Jianjia could hear a hint of coldness in it. She asked herself, have she ever thought of using Lu Qiushan as a topic of conversation to blackmail Li Yuan? Is there such a thing? His Majesty didn't mean that. She didn't even tell your father what happened in Bau Jingji. Xiao Jianjia said, I know you look down on His Majesty, but His Majesty is definitely not the kind of person you think. All the letters that Lu Yuan wrote to Lu Qiushan were intercepted by Xiao Jianjia. The content of the letters involved himself and Huan with Lu Qiushan's intelligence. He could easily guess who the person in the letter was. How should she get along with Lu Qiushan then? Do I have to expose his lies? Wouldn't that be awkward for both of them? I came to Biaoliang this time to ask you for help, not to threaten you. Xiao Jianjia knew that Lu Yuan was a very rational person, and using the interests of the country and family to pressure him would only backfire. If I let them go, the initiative will be in their hands. But the people in my hands, they dare not massacre the city, Lu Yuan said. But if? Xiao Jianjia asked back. You worked so hard to receive these disaster victims just to expand your own strength? Rather than watching them die coldly, it is better to earn yourself a good reputation so that all the people will remember your kindness. I gave the wind and rain, so they won't remember my kindness. Xiao Jianjia really wanted to bite this bastard to death. I have never seen such a heartless person. Then can I pay? Xiao Jianjia gritted her teeth and said, I'll give you 10 million ILs in exchange for the life of a Bau Jingji citizen. Li Yuan's face looked a little ugly. That's what I gave to you and Huan. Since you gave it to me, it's mine. Xiao Jianjia said, I know Biaoliang is rich, but 10 million ILs is not a small amount, right? I won't do this business. Li Yuan refused without thinking. You, Xiao Jianjia was so angry. You are a scoundrel. Business is about mutual consent, and you still want to force me to buy or sell? Then tell me. What do you want me to do in order for you to let him go? As long as I can do it, I will agree to it. Immediately afterwards, Xiao Jianjia felt Li Yuan's gaze constantly scanning her. That feeling is just like a girl in a brothel, waiting to be trained by a customer. At this moment, she trampled all her face and dignity under her feet. She suppressed her sadness, looked up to meet Li Yuan's gaze, and tucked her hair behind her ears. That aggrieved look made Li Yuan gasp in amazement. Okay, the Empress taught you this. Right? For the Empress, you don't care about anything. This has nothing to do with you. State your terms. What if I want you to? Xiao Jianjia's body trembled as expected. She knew Li Yuan would make this request. She was a little flustered, especially when she met Li Yuan's slightly angry gaze. She became even more flustered. Okay, I promise you, Xiao Jianjia said this with almost all her strength. Don't promise so well. Listen to me, Li Yuan said. What I mean is that you should stay in Biaoyang County peacefully, be my wife, and be the mother of my children, and don't get involved in those things anymore. Li Yuan, don't go too far. Xiao Jianjia said angrily. How can you raise the price like this? Li Yuan's eyes dimmed, and a hint of sarcasm appeared at the corner of his mouth. You would rather sleep with me than stay in Biaoyang and be my wife. Is this so repulsive to you? Xiao Jianjia took a deep breath and said, people with different ideals cannot work together. Even if I agree to let you stay, you can't keep my heart. When a country is about to perish, some people make a fortune from the national crisis. Some people stand by and watch, but some people try to support the country when it is about to collapse. Isn't your father like that? You asked him to come over. Did he come? Didn't he stay with His Majesty? Li Yuan, don't impose your ideas on others. Li Yuan was speechless. His father's rebellious behavior in his later years really saddened him. At his old age, he doesn't want to come to Biaoyang to enjoy life, but insists on being a hero following the emperor. Doesn't this make you seem rebellious? If one day the empress really rises, how will he face his father then? Be obedient and be a good boy. Will these people in Biaoyang County agree? If he really becomes Song Jiang, he deserves to die. You are the one begging me, not me begging you. Since we are doing business, we should behave like business. These are my conditions. It's up to you whether you agree or not. Li Yuan put down his chopsticks, stood up and left. I have plenty of time to waste with you. Lu Yuan, you bastard. Xiao Jianjia was so angry that she was shaking all over. No matter how well I do, it's not as good as a word from your dear empress anyway. You are a loyal minister. And I, Lu Yuan, am a traitor. I am a bastard. Isn't that normal? Lu Yuan snorted. But the crying sound coming from behind him made him feel a little uncomfortable. He told himself that he must not be soft-hearted. Otherwise, if anything happened in the future, the empress would ask him to negotiate the terms, and they would not be able to live like this anymore. It feels like a woman putting a hat on herself. Not even if she is a woman. Lu Yuan, come back. Xiao Jianjia became anxious and tears immediately flowed down her face. The originally happy reunion dinner was ruined by her. But she really had no choice. She couldn't bear to watch thousands of people die. She hurriedly chased after him and hugged Lu Yuan from behind. I beg you, can you please help me? Those innocent people are so pitiful. I know I am not qualified to negotiate with you. I also know that exterminating the barbarians, breaking through the Diaxia Pass and capturing Princess Xia Changel are your achievements. Not your fault. But I really have no choice. I can't find any way to save them except to come here and beg you. Lu Yuan. Can you help me just this once? Tears instantly soaked Lu Yuan's clothes. At that moment, Lu Yuan's heart was trembling. Chapter 96, This bastard is playing hard to get. In Lu Yuan's heart, Xiao Jianjia is the goddess on the mountain. It can only be viewed from a distance and not played with. Even if she was wronged, she would swallow her tears and never bow her head in front of a man, let alone ask for help. He could feel Xiao Jianjia's collapse and helplessness. He thought of the bold promise he had made to the mother and daughter, that he would love them for the rest of his life. And what is he doing at this moment? Li Yuan turned around and saw a face with tears in her eyes. He wiped her tears with heartache, but he couldn't wipe them away. Li Yuan, I beg you, I have never begged you before. No matter how difficult it is, I don't want to beg you. But this time, only you can save those people. Li Yuan didn't say anything, but took her into his arms. Immediately afterwards, a sigh came into Xiao Jianjia's ears. I am guilty, I deserve to die. Please stop crying, okay? Xiao Jianjia was puzzled. Li Yuan. I didn't say you were guilty. She thought it was something she had said just now, but made Li Yuan feel that she was framing him and that he was guilty. She panicked for a moment and cried even harder. Really, I didn't force you, I just begged you. I gave you money just to make you give an explanation to the people below. I am not stupid. I know that a big XAI yuan cannot be exchanged for any amount of silver. My dear wife. Please stop crying, my heart will break if you keep crying. Lu Yuan held her face, feeling guilty. I was wrong, I shouldn't have made you angry. I promise I won't stand by and watch, okay? Really? Xiao Jianjia sobbed and said in disbelief. Are you lying to me? No, I swear to my parents, I definitely didn't lie to you. Li Yuan touched her face, distressed lie, and said, please don't cry. If Wan sees me later, she will think I'm a bad father. You are it. When Xiao Jianjia heard this, she not only did not stop crying, but cried even harder. She didn't know why either. Maybe it was because when I was a child, when I cried in the palace, my father and mother would never comfort me, because tears would never bring sympathy from others, but would only make those people bully me even more. When she grew up, she knew that tears were shed only by the weak. But Li Yuan is different. Li Yuan was so decisive just now, but when he heard her crying, he immediately came over to comfort her and changed his mind. It turns out that there are people in this world who lose their composure when they hear themselves crying. The distressed look, the gentle tone, and the careful action of holding her face all made her feel particularly aggrieved. Because from childhood to adulthood, no one has ever treated me like this. She had never felt that she was valued by others. Li Yuan was so confused. Why did the baby cry even harder after he was comforted? He was panicking. Good wife, dear wife, don't cry. I will agree to everything you ask for. Okay, Li Yuan said humbly. You said it well now, what if you regret it later? Whoever goes back on his word is a bastard. If you really can't do it, can I kowtow to you? Li Yuan said with a bitter face. Xiao Jianjia said with tears in her eyes, then kowtow once. Li Yuan really didn't hesitate and was about to kneel down as soon as his knees softened. Xiao Jianjia saw that there was no way she could let him kneel down. So she hugged him. But Li Yuan is tall and strong. Although he looks thin, he has muscular muscles underneath his clothes. He also pulled Xiao Jianjia to the ground, and the two of them hugged each other and rolled on the ground, with her lying on Li Yuan's body. Their breaths blended together and their eyes met. At that moment, Xiao Jianjia forgot to cry. She only felt her heartbeat quicken and an inexplicable feeling arise in her heart. Li Yuan hugged her waist and said, if you are not satisfied, just hit me hard twice. Who wants to hit you? It's going to dirty your hands. Xiao Jianjia struggled to get up, but Li Yuan's hands held her tightly, and she couldn't get up at all. Only then did she realize that the man under her was looking at her with a smirk on his face. Xiao Jianjia gritted her teeth in anger and directly twisted the soft flesh on Li Yuan's waist and pulled it hard. Li Yuan's face was distorted with pain, and he took a breath. Wife, it hurts, let go. Who is your wife? I can't make you spit out ivory from your dog's mouth. At this time, Li Yuan also let go of his hand, and Xiao Jianjia hurriedly got up and distanced herself from Li Yuan. The tears disappeared instantly, and he suddenly became the same unfriendly look as before. Li Yuan rubbed his waist. How cruel. This is related to your future sexual happiness in the second half of your life. If it gets twisted, you will cry. Xiao Jianjia glared at Lu Yuan. Immediately afterwards, a sound of ouch was heard from the side, and then someone said, Huan, this is not what you should listen to. Forget everything you just heard. Not only that, there was also the cry of pain from Lu Yong falling down, and the shy voice of Lu Lingzhi. Brother, you are really shameless to say such things in public. Li Yuan was dumbfounded. It turned out that they didn't leave, but were watching in the dark. Xiao Jianjia's pretty face was also red, as if she was drunk. Li Yuan, I'm not done with you. After saying this, she ran away, feeling extremely confused. Rushing back to her room, Xiao Jianjia felt restless. She felt ashamed and angry when she thought about how embarrassed she was just now and how she was seen by Su Xiuyue and others. It's all this bastard's fault. He must have done it on purpose. First make yourself angry, then play hard to get, just to make yourself grateful to him. How could she be so stupid? She lay on the bed with her head buried in the quilt. And she was going crazy. She had never been so embarrassed in her life. It took her half an hour to calm down. Li Yuan just said that he would not stand idly by. So why did she run away? Shouldn't we strike while the iron is hot? What if that bastard suddenly changes his mind? She wandered at the door, wanting to go to Li Yuan. But would it be bad if I rashly went to look for him in the middle of the night? Xiao Jianjia washed her face with cold water and said, we can't wait until tomorrow. If he changes his mind, wouldn't all our efforts be wasted? The sooner he makes a decision, the less suffering the people of Baiyujingji will suffer. Thinking of this, she pushed open the door and walked towards Li Yuan's room resolutely. The light was on in Li Yuan's room. Xiao Jianjia mustered up her courage and knocked on the door. Li Yuan, it's me, can I come in? She waited for a response from inside before pushing the door open. As soon as she entered the door, she saw Li Yuan with his bare chest, waving an iron rod weighing more than 20 kilograms in his hand. Sweat dripped down his angular abdominal muscles, and his entire body was emitting mist. The powerful muscles were condensed together like intertwined tree roots. Xiao Jianjia was stunned, and suddenly thought of that night 5 years ago. At that time, Li Yuan had a good figure, but now, it seems to be even better than it was 5 years ago. She couldn't help but stare in amazement. Chapter 97, Give me a back rub. But soon, Xiao Jianjia reacted. Li Yuan, you stinky hooligan, why don't you put on your clothes quickly? Li Yuan said, I'm exercising, I still have 100 moves left. I'll finish them in one go. You wait for a while. Xiao Jianjia was at a loss as to whether to retreat or advance, so she gritted her teeth, walked in, and poured herself a cup of tea to cover up her guilty conscience. Hey, hey, hey! Watching Li Yuan swinging the iron rod with all his might, the iron rod that was difficult for ordinary people to lift actually made a sound when he swung it. She couldn't help but glance at Li Yuan out of the corner of her eye, although she could only see his back. It was even more amazing to see him from behind. Li Yuan has a typical be-wasted and monkey back shape, and looking at it from here, it is even more eye-catching. Dod man, exhibitionist. Xiao Jianjia cursed in her heart but couldn't take her eyes away. She felt that this bastard was deliberately seducing her. Finally, Li Yuan put down the iron rod and walked over to close the door. What are you doing? It's cold. I need to take a break and then take a shower. I can't take a shower with the door open, right? Li Yuan said. Can you be more reserved? I've already seen what I should have seen there, it's nothing to be shy about. Li Yuan poured himself a glass of warm water, took a sip, and then picked up a bath towel to wipe his body. Xiao Jianjia glared at Li Yuan fiercely. Where's Huan Huan? She really likes Sling Ziyi Chai now. I want to take her to bed, but I have to draw lots, Li Yuan said helplessly. Why are you running here so late instead of resting? Do you still count what you just said? Of course it counts, Li Yuan nodded, threw the towel aside, and said, It's getting late, how about we talk about it tomorrow? No, we have to finalize it today, Xiao Jianjia said, otherwise, what if you regret it? Even if I agree to you tonight, I may regret it tomorrow. And I will cry and run outside to let them see how you bully me. You are shameless, and I can be shameless too, said Xiao Jianjia. Li Yuan laughed and found Xiao Jianjia's robe look a bit cute. He felt his sweat stop and walked straight behind the screen. Li Yuan, say something, what tricks are you playing again? The screen was translucent, and Li Yuan's figure could be vaguely seen. Take a bath. Li Yuan entered the tub and felt comfortable. Do you want to take a bath with me? Xiao Jianjia was so angry that this bastard even took a bath. He did it on purpose, absolutely on purpose. How could I be fooled by such obvious seduction? Doesn't he just rely on his good looks, good figure and abilities? Why are you so arrogant? Li Yuan, Xiao Jianjia raised her voice. Okay. I'm afraid of you, ancestor. Li Yuan squeezed the towel dry, covered his head with it, and said, I will not stand idly by and watch the people of Bau Jingji, I definitely won't. But letting him go is definitely not an option. He is only asking for such a high price because he has more hostages. If I agree to him now, and he asks me to open the city gate and surrender in the future, do you think I should agree or not? You don't want me to be the Prince of Daxia, right? If Li Yuan surrendered, the Xii and Jing dynasties would certainly welcome him with open arms. That would be fatal to Daqian. I won't allow you to be the Prince of Daxia or Dajing. Why? Li Yuan asked with a smile. You said yourself that you would not interfere in Daqian's internal affairs. But even if I accept the amnesty from the two countries, I still have a high degree of autonomy. Li Yuan said. Xiao Jianjia clenched her fists. Just because I am Huan Huan's mother and my child is from Daqian, you can't sell out your country for personal gain. I accept this reason. Li Yuan sighed and turned to look at Xiao Jianjia. Aren't you tired of talking to me from such a distance? Come closer. I don't. Think it over carefully. If I'm unhappy, I might regret it at any time. You are shameless. Xiao Jianjia was so angry that she couldn't bear it anymore, but she still moved the stool and walked to the screen, and said angrily, Is this okay now? She could almost see Li Yuan's face through the screen. Come behind the screen. Don't go too far. Xiao Jianjia, if I let them go, the soldiers from Biaoyang County would have died in vain, and I would not be able to explain myself. If I don't let him go, I can only continue to expand my victory and force Shanlei to leave, which also requires provoking a war. I won't even mention the supplies needed to fight a war. You want me to let the soldiers of Biaoyang die for nothing? Who will bear the consequences? Saving 10 million people is saving, but saving a few people is not saving. Giving up the small to save the big, this is a bastard logic, Li Yuan said. Xiao Jianjia was speechless because this was simply asking too much. She stood up again and walked behind the screen looking at Li Yuan leaning in the bathtub. She quickly looked away. Go on. You're quite eloquent, aren't you? Li Yuan pressed on. You are right. And I am right too. Then who is at fault? Li Yuan said. The more I thought about it, The more I felt at a loss. I didn't get a wife, I didn't get any benefits, and I was forced to take over the mess left by the empress. It seems that I am just cleaning up the mess. What do you mean by wiping your ass? Don't say it so harshly. Oh, you're starting to defend me now? Li Yuan was even more upset. In your heart, the empress is more important than me and my daughter. If she wants you to die, will you go? You are a grown man, but you are jealous of a woman. You are so petty. Xiao Jianjia looked at Lu Yuan's angry look and suddenly wanted to laugh if he knew his identity. His expression would definitely be very interesting. Right? Nonsense, what's wrong with being a woman? Can't a woman like another woman? Not only did people in the Three Kingdoms have a preference for raising male loveliness, but women also raised female loveliness. Xiao Jianjia tried hard to suppress her smile. Then tell me, what do you want to do so that you won't suffer any loss? I have no shortage of money if I ask you for it. You will definitely think that I am taking advantage of someone in distress. Although I am not a gentleman, I am not a villain who forces women. You rub my back, and that will be the payment for my help this time. Lu Yuan, you're going too far. Xiao Jianjia was shaking with anger this time when she came here. She had indeed trampled on her face and dignity, but rubbing a man's back was not just shameless, it was shameless. What do you take me for, a prostitute in a brothel, or your maid? If you don't want to, forget it. Those people in Bau Jingji can do whatever they want, it's none of my business. Lu Yuan snorted, then go away, I'll pretend you've never been here. Chapter 98. The Black-Hearted Empress, Incompetent and Sick. Xiao Jianjia had never seen such a shameless man. But if I really leave, wouldn't it be a waste of my trip and the injustice I suffered? Why don't you leave? Do you want me to chase you away? Li Yuan, if I rub your back, will you really do it? Xiao Jianjia asked, do you dare to swear? Lu Yuan said, believe it or not, I just asked you to rub my back. What's wrong with that? The women who want to rub my back are lining up from the east to the north of the city. This cocky look made Xiao Jianjia so angry that she wanted to stab her. She forced herself to calm down. It was just a bath scrub. What had she not seen 5 years ago? Then turned around. Li Yuan glanced at her and said, rub the whole back. And the front of the body too. Li Yuan, don't push your luck. Li Yuan ignored her and covered his eyes with the towel on his head. If you don't want to rub it, leave Don T to lay my bath. Xiao Jianjia clenched her fists, her eyes full of grievance. Rub it if you want. She stood by the bath, feeling a strong sense of shame. The moment her cold hand touched Li Yuan's arm, she wished she could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Her movements were particularly stiff. Are you scratching me? Use more force, Li Yuan said dissatisfiedly. Xiao Jianjia became angry and increased her strength. I'll rub you to death. You bastard. Comfortable, Li Yuan said with satisfaction. Xiao Jianjia's silver teeth were almost broken from biting it. But fortunately, Li Yuan covered his eyes, so he didn't have to endure the provocative look in his eyes. As her hand moved down along her collarbone, she felt her heart tremble. These solid muscles, these well-defined abdominal muscles. She couldn't take her eyes off it. And her heart beat quick and uncontrollably. This bastard must have seduced me on purpose. In an instant, her face turned red. And she didn't know whether it was caused by the steam or because of embarrassment. Li Yuan was laughing in his heart. In fact, even if Xiao Jianjia didn't tell him, he would not ignore it. I am not the Madonna Lu Yuan, who wants to be the savior. It's just that he hates being threatened. Moreover, he has always been unwilling to expose himself. He just wants to wait for Daqian to collapse and then live his own life in peace. He didn't want to be labeled a traitor. Even if the Empress knew about it, she would not dare to label him as a treasonous person. Instead, they forced him into a situation and exposed him directly to everyone. How can this develop steadily? Therefore, he was prepared to give the two dynasties a big blow and make them remember it for a long time. Thinking of this, he lifted the towel on his face and unexpectedly met Xiao Jianjia's eyes. Xiao Jianjia met those eyes and almost pulled her hand back in fright. Cover it up, don't look at me. You are so beautiful, what's wrong? All your mates are prettier than me if you want to see. Go look at them. You are the most beautiful. The more I look at you, the more I want to see you. Lu Yuan, I warn you, don't have any illusions about me. There will never be any chance between you and me. If a person has no dreams, what's the difference between him and a salted fish? Lu Yuan leaned over the bathtub and came close to Xiao Jianjia. One day I will make you rub my back, will you? Absolutely not. Xiao Jianjia exerted force so hard that Lu Yuan almost jumped out of the bathtub due to the pain. You murdered your husband. Stop talking nonsense. Turn around and rub my back. Xiao Jianjia deliberately made a vicious look. Lu Yuan snorted and turned his back. Jianjia. Tell me, isn't Huan too lonely? How about we give him a brother or sister? Even if you are the only man left in the world. It's impossible. Well, okay, then I'll have the baby with someone else. Lu Yuan joked. Xiao Ji and Jia suddenly fell silent, and the originally charming atmosphere suddenly turned cold. Ji and Jia. I was just kidding. What does it have to do with me? Xiao Ji and Jia felt inexplicably irritated and her strength grew stronger and stronger, causing Lu Yuan to gasp in pain. Xiao Ji and Jia withdrew her hand and looked at Lu Yuan's back, which was covered with bloody marks from her scratches. She wondered absently, what was she doing? Lu Yuan bared his teeth and said, "Do you really want to kill me?" Xiao Ji and Jia said coldly, "Do you want to continue rubbing?" No, no, Lu Yuan couldn't help shaking his head. "You woman. You're too cruel. Now that you're done with the bath, can you fulfill your promise now?" Xiao Ji and Jia distanced herself from him, looking businesslike. Lu Yuan touched his back, his hand was covered in blood. "Is this how you treat your customers? Do you know that customers are God?" Xiao Ji and Jia's expression became increasingly cold. It's impossible to release them, and now those people in Songshan County have surrendered to Biaoyang. How can we send our own people into the fire pit? So next, I will attack Dajing Pass if they still don't let me go. I will go all the way north and fight their capital, is that okay? Lu Yuan said angrily, if they dare to massacre the city, I will also massacre the city. Let us see which is faster, their swords or my bullets. Okay. But I have a request, take me with you when you attack the city. Xiao Ji and Jia made her request. Do you think going to the battlefield is just a game? Swords and guns have no eyes, do you understand? That's my business even if I was unlucky and was killed by the enemy. It was my fault. I can't blame you. Xiao Ji and Jia realized that there was a big gap in ability between herself and Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan was strong, not only in governance ability, but also in military ability. Among the people he knows, Lu Yuan is the most powerful. She must make herself stronger within a limited time. I heard that the empress has set up a women's army. Are you going to join it? Yes, I'm in there too, said Xiao Ji and Jia. Damn it, Lu Yuan cursed. The black-hearted empress is incompetent. If she wants women to go to the battlefield, is she sick? Do you know what happens to female soldiers if they are captured? I know. We will be completely gaffled, but don't worry, they won't have that chance. Xiao Ji and Jia pulled out a sharp dagger from the root of her thigh. This is a glorious knife. Once we are captured, we will commit suicide and never give those beasts the opportunity to humiliate us. Lu Yuan was so angry. Do you know why there are so few female soldiers throughout the ages? It's not just because of this, but also because they are naturally weaker than men in terms of strength. The gap is very obvious. If I let you go to the battlefield, how many people can you kill? 132 people. Xiao Ji and Jia accurately said the number. Lu Yuan was stunned. No wonder he always felt that Xiao Ji and Jia was different this time. It turned out that someone was killed. He didn't think it was a cruel thing. In troubled times, as long as he could protect himself, what did killing someone mean? If you don't kill, you will be killed. Are you a small leader or a general in there? Don't ask me anymore. I'll tell you what I need to tell you. Don't try to get your father to look for me. The women's army has its own rules inside. We all wear masks and use nicknames instead of names. Even your father can't find me. Xiao Ji and Jia said, you keep saying that you won't stand idly by, so it's reasonable for me to supervise the battle from the side. Right? Chapter 99, Breaking the Mountain. If one day, the women's army and the Biaoyang Guard army meet, will you point a knife at me? Lu Yuan suddenly asked. Yes. Xiao Ji and Jia said without hesitation. I will arrest you, torture you severely and teach you a lesson. If you surrender, I will petition His Majesty to spare your life. If you refuse to surrender, I will kill you with my own hands. Lu Yuan laughed. If that day ever comes, I will catch you and spank you hard until you give in. Xiao Ji and Jia looked disdainful and arrogant. Even if I die, I will never surrender to you. Lu Yuan took the towel beside him and wrapped it around himself. Don't be so sure. But if you want to learn how we fight, you can just tell me. I'm not that stingy. The more you learn, the better you can protect yourself. Who wants to learn your way of fighting? Xiao Ji and Jia said stubbornly. Lu Yuan ignored her, wiped it clean, and got into the mattress directly. It's so late, don't leave. How about being a bed saddle? He was shirtless, revealing his muscular upper body. Xiao Ji and Jia secretly spat. Who are you trying to seduce, you vixen? Then he left without looking back. When she returned to her room, she couldn't fall asleep. Her mind was full of Lu Yuan, and she could still feel the touch of his abdominal muscles on her fingertips. She is really going crazy. This bastard is so seductive. No wonder so many little vixens like him. She completely suffered from insomnia that night. And the next day she had pandy eyes and felt extremely tired. On the other hand, that bastard was wearing only a single piece of clothing and exercising in the yard early in the morning, holding a stone lock weighing dozens of kilograms to strengthen his body. Sweat soaked through his clothes, sticking to his body and outlining his powerful muscles. It's obvious that he is still seducing her. When will we attack Dajing Pass? Chao Jianjia said, the time left for the people of Bau Jinji is short. Don't worry about it, just wait for me to arrange it. As soon as Lu Yuan finished speaking, Xia Hongmei came over. Seeing Chao Jianjia, she also hurriedly saluted and said, hello, madam? Lu Yuan put down the stone lock and asked, what's the matter? Pashan wants to see you, said Xia Hongmei. Lu Yuan waved his hand, and Honggu handed him a towel. Lu Yuan wiped the sweat off his face and said, this guy has been in Biaoyang County for years and he refuses to give, and why does he suddenly want to see me today? He said he wanted to talk to you. Xia Hongmei expressed her guess, he is very likely to surrender. In the early years, Lu Yuan always wanted to conquer Pashan. As the most powerful general in Dajing, Pashan has the courage of one man blocking the pass of 10,000. Even compared with Hawkeye, he is not inferior at all. Moreover, this guy is a rare general. At that time, Biaoyang County was just starting out, and he was in charge of both military and internal affairs, so he urgently needed someone to share the pressure with him. But now, Biaoyang County is full of talented people, and he almost forgot about Pashan. Wait a minute, I'll go change my clothes. Soon, Lu Yuan changed his clothes and left with Xia Hongmei. Chao Jianjia also followed. Lu Yuan just glanced at her and said nothing is for Xia Hongmei. She didn't dare to say anything. Chao Jianjia was a little nervous. She told herself, I just want to learn the good qualities of this bastard. That's all. Soon, the carriage stopped at the labor camp. Although most people were sent to build Taishan County, a considerable number of people still stayed here to work as cleaners, empty swill buckets, clean public toilets, and unclog pipes. Oshan has done all of the things mentioned above. It only took him a few years to transform from a famous warrior to the cleaning expert he is today. When I met Pashan, he was wearing a cleaning uniform, had short hair, and a weather-beaten face. He had long lost his former vigor and vitality. But he was 9 feet tall, even half a head taller than Hawkeye, and standing there, he was like a towering mountain. He had specially made heavy shackles on his hands and feet, which jingled when he walked. For a being with such overwhelming force, any means to restrict him would be justified. When Chao Jianjia saw Pashan, at that moment, she wondered in her heart, which general in the Daqian court could match him. But she thought for a long time and couldn't find anyone. At this moment, the giant, who looked extremely oppressive, knelt on the ground like a golden mountain being pushed down by a jade pillar. Pashan, kowtow to the master. Pashan, we haven't seen each other for 2 years, right? To be precise, it's 792 days. Pashan lives alone. Not only is he shackled on weekdays, he also has a special muzzle to prevent him from speaking. Every time he ate, he would mash the food into a paste and let him drink it, which had no taste at all. He works from sunrise to sunset and returns home at sunset. He does not allow anyone to communicate with him. The room where he sleeps is a specially designed small dark room. Even at noon, it is pitch dark. On the 792nd day, his spirit completely collapsed and disintegrated. Looking at the man in front of him, he was afraid of him like a tiger, with fear in his eyes. Have you figured it out? I understand. Pashan, I am willing to work like a slave for you in the future. He lay prone on the ground, burying Lian in the sand, prostrating himself with a sincere submission. He was a 9-foot-tall man, but at this moment he was crying like a 3-year-old child. Then you have to think carefully. Even if I ask you to attack Dajing in the future, you must not be soft-hearted. If you want to escape, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, I can still catch you back, and then you will be in 10 or 100 times more pain than you are now, Lu Yuan said. Pashan kept shaking his head. No, master, I won't dare to do it again. He couldn't speak or communicate. The food he ate was bland and tasteless, and the room he slept in was dark and dim. All these things had long shattered his pride as the #1 warrior in Dajing. There were still some Dajing prisoners in the labor camp. The moment they saw Pashan prostrate himself, their persistence became a joke. The motivation that supported them collapsed in an instant. General Pashan, you are the most powerful general in Dajing. How can you kneel down and beg for mercy from a bandit? Stand up, General Pashan. Those people cried bitterly and knelt on the ground to beg. But Pashan was extremely emotional. Shut up. All of you shut up. I don't want to go back to that damn place. I don't want to, Lu Yuan said. It's easy to make them shut up. Pashan was stunned for a moment. Then he got up from the ground, rushed over quickly, grabbed a former subordinate and punched him. The huge fist hit his head so hard that it dented it. Bang! In an instant, blood gushed out of the man's 7 orifices and he died with his eyes open. I said, shut up. Pashan grabbed another man's foot, pulled out a willow branch, and swung the man up, slamming him heavily to the ground. Bang bang bang. Again and again. The ground was covered in dust, and the person in his hands was smashed into pieces, bloody and broken. Chapter 100 Hatred. Pashan roared and screamed, as if he wanted to vent all the resentment in his heart. He let go of the bloody man who was smashed into mud, rushed to the others. and brutally killed them in the same way. This bloody and horrifying scene made Xiao Jianjia feel uncomfortable in her stomach. This person must have gone crazy. However, what made her feel more scared was Li Yuan. What on earth did he use to turn this man into this horrible state? Isn't he afraid that this madman will hurt him? Stop. If you haven't vented enough, I will find a chance to let you vent. And he dared not disobey. The bloody fist was pulled back from in front of a prisoner from Dajing, almost blowing the man's head off. At that moment, he was so scared that he peed his pants. Pa Shen walked up to Lu Yuan and knelt down again. Li Yuan looked at him. Do you know why you are like this? I know, it's all Dajing's fault. Pa Shen's eyes were full of anger and bloodshed. He had suffered for several years in Biaoyang County, had eaten a lot of pig shit, and lived a life worse than pigs and dogs every day. But how did the court treat him? No one came to redeem him. And no one cared about him. At the recent international conference, Princess Xie Chang'e brought Shang Song Nian with him. Did anyone ask about him? This time, Shang Lai and Zhang Yexien both captured Ba Yujingji, but they forced Li Yuan to release Princess Xie Chang'e, but no one asked them to release themselves. This incident became the last straw that broke the camel's back. As loyal as he was, he hates her now. So he wants revenge. He wants to kill those bastards. Very good, now you are free. Li Yuan looked down at him. I will give you 1 day to select people from these Dajing labor camp prisoners to form the trap camp. If they make military achievements, I will give them the status of Biaoyang residents. I let them eat delicious food and drink spicy drinks, and let them live a superior life. I will try my best to take care of them, including their families. If a day later, I didn't see what I wanted to see, that means you are a waste. I, Li Yuan, don't want trash. Don't worry, master. Pa Shen will not let you down. Pa Shen said loudly. He hadn't spoken for 2 years, and even his tone sounded very excited. Li Yuan nodded with satisfaction and left the labor camp directly. In the carriage, Xiao Jianjia asked, aren't you afraid that he will turn against you? So what? I can let him go or I can catch him. Besides, a person like Pa Shen who has a firm belief will not be easily shaken. Once he is shaken, his belief will collapse. Dajing only wants to redeem Xianing, regardless of Po Shen's life or death. If you were the one suffering here, what would you think? I'll hate. So it's the same with Po Shen. He planned to attack the heart in the city. The people he killed today were not enough to vent his anger. So tonight, I want him to give Dajing Guan a big one, Lu Yuan said. Night attack? Dajing Pass draws water from the Jingyang River and has a moat. It is a pipe dream to try to break it in at night, said Xiao Jianjia. He has a moat and I have a ladder, do you understand? Li Yuan smiled mysteriously and did not explain. Xiao Jianjia felt itchy, but no matter how she asked. It's getting dark. The nights in Biaoyang County are even more lively than the days. Xiao Jianjia stood in Li Yuan's office, looking at the bright lights below. Is it time to leave the city? What's the hurry? Li Yuan pointed at the food in front of him. Only when you are full and well-fed can you have the strength to fight. Xiao Jianjia thought so too, and sat opposite her, eating heartily. You eat so lavishly every day. Is there enough for the common people to eat? Meat is cheap in Biaoyang, but vegetables are expensive. The people have no shortage of meat. After this year, we will even be self-sufficient in food, Li Yuan said with a smile. Although this place is desolate, natural disasters cannot spread here. Instead, it has become a paradise. Xiao Jianjia put down his chopsticks. I still want to discuss a business with you. I believe you also know that His Majesty has been attacking Zongshu recently, but due to the lack of siege equipment, there has been no progress. I know that Biaoyang's firearms are unrivaled in the world. Can you sell me some? This is not for sale. Li Yuan shook his head. Is it not possible to raise the price? Xiao Jianjia frowned. This is not a matter of price. I won't let others use Biaoyang's firearms to hurt our own people. Lu Yuan said, but some insignificant weapons can be sold to you, but the price is quite expensive. You also know that the weapons produced in Biaoyang are of unparalleled quality. Xiao Jianjia agreed with this point. The weapons she brought directly crushed the equipment of the Imperial Guards. Like what? Arrow. Xiao Jianjia said angrily. Are you kidding me? Don't look down on it. Everyone can make arrows. Are your Biaoyang arrows several times better than others? Xiao Jianjia thought it was a crossbow, or armor or a knife. Biaoyang's arrows are different. Are you sure you don't want them? No, do you think I'm a fool and will be fooled by you? Li Yuan shrugged. Forget it, don't regret it. I will never regret it. Xiao Jianjia was very depressed. She couldn't get any benefit from being with this bastard. After dinner, Li Yuan found a thick coat from somewhere and asked Xiao Jianjia to put it on. Looking at Xiao Jianjia, who was wrapped up like a ball, he said with satisfaction, you won't catch a cold now. Li Yuan, I'm not a 3-year-old child. I know the difference between hot and cold. I'm dressed like a ball and it's hard for me to walk. How can you let me participate in the battle? Either you wear it or you stay in Biaoyang Prefecture. It's that simple. Li Yuan said, turned and left. You bastard. Just wait for me one day, I will make you admit your mistake. Xiao Jianjia hurriedly chased after him. But she was wrapped up like a ball and walked like a penguin, which was indescribably funny. But, the warmth is also real. Even though the wind outside was as cold as a knife, she didn't feel the slightest bit of chill. This time, Li Yuan led 20,000 people to siege the city. But it was freezing cold, not a good time to attack the city. The people of Dajing Pass poured cold water on the city wall, forming a thick layer of ice. Even with explosives, it would be difficult to blow it up, let alone break into the city. Moreover, this time, there were relatively fewer people in the firearms battalion. And the cold weather put a great strain on the firearms, causing the failure rate to rise sharply. So in order to make up for the lost combat power, Li Yuan improved the crossbow and arrows. Whether it is infantry or cavalry, the combat effectiveness will be greatly improved when fighting alone. In close-range combat, the improved arrows are even more lethal than firearms. In the carriage, Li Yuan was pressing arrows into the crossbow one by one. Xiao Jianjia asked curiously, "Is this the arrow you mentioned? Why is it different from ordinary arrows?" "Don't ask if you're not going to buy it," Li Yuan snorted. Xiao Jianjia felt bored and sat aside sulking. Soon, the team arrived at the designated location. After waiting for a while, Xiao Jianjia asked impatiently, "How long do we have to wait before attacking the city?" Li Yuan smiled faintly, "The siege has already begun." Chapter 101. Teach wife. Li Yuan, stop lying to me. Xiao Jianjia frowned. "I didn't lie to you," Li Yuan said. "Any war is not a decision made on impulse. As the saying goes, even a lion will use all its strength to fight a rabbit." At that time, the Xia and Jing dynasties assembled an army of more than 600,000 to attack Biaoyang Prefecture. However, our Biaoyang Prefecture is one of the few high cities in the world. Although they brought siege equipment when they came, they were all short and had no way to climb up. Since we can't climb the city wall, there is naturally no way to attack the city. You know, the city gate of Biaoyang Prefecture is an embedded iron gate, and it is almost impossible to open it from the outside. So, they built a temporary ladder, which gave me the opportunity to launch a night attack. They thought that the two countries sending troops here would scare me. But I didn't. Instead, I created a time difference. Are you showing off yourself? Do you think I'm such a superficial person? Li Yuan shook his head. If you want to learn how to fight, you can't just learn the art of war. Any simple art of war will be different in the hands of a commander. Only here is the key. Li Yuan pointed to his head and said, "Thoughts and ideas are the key to success." Xiao Jianjia did not ridicule Li Yuan this time, but just said stubbornly, "Do you think my thoughts and ideas are not as good as yours? There is no good or bad in thinking, but there are different patterns." Li Yuan sighed. This is only Xiao Jianjia. If it were an ordinary group of people, he would not bother to speak. His wife is spoiled by him. I am taking the route of elite soldiers, so I know that I can't compete with others in terms of military strength. And I will take advantage of the inferior weapons and win by surprise attack. Defeating the minority with the majority is nothing, but from the beginning to now, Biaoyang Prefecture has won every battle with the minority from the initial casualty ratio of 3:1 to the current 10:1. The casualty rate and death rate have been reduced by 30 times. But our gains have increased tenfold. 100fold. Do you think thoughts and ideas are important? Important. This time Xiao Jianjia did not deny it. My idea is to send out the least number of soldiers, with the least number of casualties, to fight the strongest enemy, to insist on flexibility, autonomy, information dominance, precision strikes, and high-tech arms, and to regularize the people's army. My philosophy is to despise the enemy strategically and take the enemy seriously tactically. All enemies are paper tigers. This is what I learned from a great man. Even if I only learn it a little bit, it will benefit me for the rest of my life, Li Yuan said. Xiao Jianjia chewed over Li Yuan's words carefully. But you still didn't explain where your first attack team is. If I say that my people are in Dajing Pass, would you believe it? Li Yuan smiled faintly. Xiao Jianjia looked at Li Yuan deeply and said, "I believe it. The stronger Biaoyang becomes, the more they will covet it. Sooner or later, there will be a war. The city was not designed to defend against a million-strong army, but the armies of the three kingdoms. You are really afraid of death." Xiao Jianjia said this, but she was indescribably shocked. So Li Yuan was planning to fight against the whole world with the strength of one city. Who in the world is not afraid of death? Why do you have to measure me by the standards of a sate? Li Yuan sneered. And then got back to the point. I know very well that only strength can make everyone shut up. Therefore, I made arrangements very early on. I had people everywhere in the Xie and Jing dynasties, as Dajing Pass is one of the most important passes in Dajing. I had already simulated countless siege wars there. The only way to achieve the greatest kill with the least amount of troops is to take the enemy by surprise. Look at the examples in history of how a smaller force defeated a larger one, which one of them wasn't a divine soldier sent down from the sky, unexpectedly attacking the enemy and catching them off guard? An 18-year-old champion marquis of 800 cavalrymen dared to sneak into the western wilderness dragon court. This time, Xia Jing and his two brothers pretended to attack Xiao Pass and raided Bae Jingji, fighting to support the war. What happened in the end? When they reached the city, those people who were just sitting there doing nothing had no time to react. And the city was breached in just 1 hour. It's really a disgrace to our ancestors. Xiao Ji and Jia nodded silently. Shamlei and Zhang Xian were indeed amazing in using their troops. Half of Jiangnan was under the iron hoofs of the two dynasties. So, my people dug a tunnel inside the city that leads directly to the outside of the city, said Lu Yuan. You can hide it from them? Xiao Ji and Jia was puzzled. That's a military town, how can your people hide it? That's not something you should worry about, Lu Yuan said. Diaxia Pass is very steep and the ground is all granite, which can't be penetrated at all. But Dajingguan is different. It is surrounded by rivers and has moist soil as long as the tunnel is reinforced. Digging is not difficult. Moreover, it is freezing cold in Biaoyang now, although the main stream of the Jingyang River has not frozen yet. The moat has already formed thick ice, which is passable for horses and men. So, now is a good time to attack the city? Lu Yuan snapped his fingers. Bingo? Although she didn't understand what bingo meant, Xiao Ji and Jia began to think carefully about Lu Yuan's words, and suddenly felt terrified. It's so scary to be targeted by you, Xiao Ji and Jia said, gritting her teeth. This is called preparing for a rainy day. Lu Yuan smiled complacently. In fact, your empress is really stupid. The geology of Tongshu Prefecture is soft, so we can fight an underground war. Why not find someone to build a chariot that can protect people and dig quickly? You are not allowed to scold His Majesty. Xiao Ji and Jia felt his fist harden again. Lu Yuan sneered. This was not just his fantasy. There were various siege vehicles in the northern Song dynasty, including ones that were specially used for digging tunnels. They could not only protect against arrows and fire, but also transport soil. They were extremely awesome. In ancient times, there were only a few ways to attack a city. This silly wife of his has too little experience and needs to be properly disciplined. If she goes to the battlefield and gets hurt in the future, he won't even have time to cry. After we return this time, I will draw you a chariot specifically for digging tunnels. You can have it built and test its effect. If the Empress asks, just say it was your own idea. But this chariot, digging through Tongshu Prefecture shouldn't be a problem, Lu Yuan said. Xiao Ji and Jia's eyes were a little complicated. How much is a blueprint? It's free, Lu Yuan said. You have been living without a fixed place with the Empress now. It seems that you have conquered a large territory, but it is open on all sides and there is no high city to garrison. If you encounter a large group of cavalry, it will be a dead end. It can also kill you. If we take Tongshu, you and my father will be safer, and I will feel more at ease in Biaoyang. Xiao Ji and Jia couldn't understand Lu Yuan, and said that he was greedy for money and gave him 5 million taels of silver without hesitation. It is said that he was afraid of death and followed the soldiers in their advance and retreat. They say he is hypocritical and always thinks about his own safety without asking for anything in return. No, I don't want to owe you a favor, Xiao Ji and Jia said awkwardly. I gave it to you willingly. I don't owe you anything as long as you are well. That's more important than anything else, Lu Yuan said sincerely. Xiao Ji and Jia looked into his deep eyes and was instantly attracted by them. Chapter 102, Don't be fooled by the thieves on land. This bastard is bewitching me again. I must not fall for his trick. Xiao Ji and Jia suddenly realized that this man was a traitor and all the kindness he showed her was for ulterior motives. He kept asking about his position in the women's army yesterday, no doubt just to get information. Thinking of this, she said, I didn't ask you to give it to me, but if you want to, just consider it as a favor I owe you. It's up to you, Lu Yuan smiled. The atmosphere in the car suddenly became a little subtle. Xiao Ji and Jia was inexplicably flustered. She asked, how long do we have to wait in the cold wind? Wait for a big fire. At the same time, inside Dajing Pass, Fang Zheng he tossed and turned in bed. As the year drew close, he still couldn't go back to Shengjing, and he became increasingly anxious. 300,000 troops are stranded here, and there is not enough food and fodder. Fortunately, Zhang Xian is his man as long as he forces Lu Yuan to open the door and release the people. And he takes Princess Xia Changel back, he will have made a contribution without any fault. But Lu Yuan didn't make any moves, so he was wondering whether he should send someone to negotiate. At this time, the success rate should be very high, right? Thinking of this, he sat up, put on his cloak, and called Wang Bai. Prime Minister Fang. What do you want me to do? Wang Bai was woken up in the middle of the night. Although he was reluctant, he had no choice. Ever since Fang Zheng he came here, he felt uncomfortable. I don't know what those people in the court are thinking. They insisted on provoking Lu Yuan. Now they are in a difficult situation. In the next few days, Li Yuan should have responded as for the problem of insufficient military rations. I have also thought about it. When the time comes, I will first dispatch food from the surrounding states and then supply them. The imperial court only gave Fang Zhenghe 1 month's worth of food. Now almost 2 months have passed, and the food is no longer enough. All they have to eat is the food that the military households in Da Jingwan had worked so hard to store. It would be strange if Wang Bai had a good look on his face. Minister Fang is wise. Wang Bai was delighted and quickly flattered him. Fang Zhenghe waved his hand. That being said, we still need to strengthen the city's defenses. Recently we must be careful of Li Yuan's desperate actions. We must not follow the old path of Diaxi. Don't worry, the number of patrol soldiers in the city has doubled recently. We will never let them have any chance to take advantage, Wang Bai said, adding his chest. It's getting late, you should go and have some rest, Fang Zhenghe said. Wang Bai was cursing in his heart. I was already asleep, but you all think couldn't sleep and had to wake me up to tell me these things. Can't you say it during the day? But on his face, he still looked respectful. I'll take my leave. But just as he reached the door, he heard hurried footsteps outside. Bang! The door was suddenly pushed open, hitting Wang Bai squarely. Wang Bai screamed in pain. Damn it, you are in such a hurry to reincarnate, where are your rules? A person who came was none other than Lieutenant General Meng Yang, he said in a panic. General, there's a fire outside. Wang Bai started to scold him. If there's a fire, you can't put it out. What are you doing here? The fire is too big, one piece after another. It's impossible to put it out. It's freezing cold. And the water has frozen, Meng Yang said with a look